Oh, we are live, back in action, attacking your speakers from the field to the bleachers. This is the Power 32 podcast, and it is NFL Draft Night.
Woohoo!
For a long time, boys and girls, here we are. It is finally here. We got the smart ass Kenny Colt, Kenny 49ers, aka Kenny Pickens. What's going on, brother?
Who knows?
Kenny and I, as 49er fans, eagerly awaiting, anticipating who was going to draft at number 11. If they move up, if they move back, who knows what they're going to do. And who knows what prime times, Giants or Lions or both, or what's going to happen with them. Giants, very intriguing pick at number 3. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into all of it. It is NFL Draft 2025. Here we are. We're ready to go.
Let's do this, baby.
All right.
Hey, you know what? Since Primetime has declared 2 teams, I would like to declare 2 teams too, because I have a second favorite team. They're in the AFC, and they are the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh.
You never said this to me. I did not
I've
know
never
that.
told. No, some guys know from like my other shows and stuff, but no, I've never told you guys.
So you're a closet Steeler fan. You behind the curtain.
I do I like to have a team in each division.
All right, because my team is the Colts in the AFC.
in each conference.
I like the Colts in the AFC.
There you go. I think
That's
we
my
should
team.
You know what? We should cover both teams then, all of us.
Why not?
Absolutely.
Why not? There's a good guy who covers the Colts. It's called Touring the AFC South. Mike Patton, known him for like 15 freaking years. He does a really good job. What up, Alexander George in the house, man? He runs the NFL League. It's a great fantasy league where we get to do
What's going on, Alex?
It's awesome, man.
What's up, Alex?
Glad you could join us, bro. What's up,
AG
man?
in the house. What's up, baby boy?
Another Giant fan over here. So let's see who he likes. Does they pick at number 3, or do they? We got a lot to get into before they actually make the pick. As Roger Goodell is
Goodell's
taking the
up
stage now.
He's up
Yep.
there. He just rode in on a bike. He rode in on a bike. He's got Lil Wayne up there, and
Yep.
and
I knew Lil Wayne was going to be there because he's a Packer fan. I knew Lil Wayne was going to be there because last year who did he bring out last year?
Eminem.
Was that the
Eminem, that's
it
right.
was in Detroit. Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's right. So he was going hip hop again, and he definitely did. I love Lil Wayne. That's awesome.
I do
That's
too.
great. So Alexander George, he wants Abdul Carter. How about that, Prime? That's
All right.
interesting.
Well, and it's funny you say that. As we get deeper into the show, there's been some talks. So
Yeah.
I know I had, as far as our mock draft, I knew who I picked, but there's a lot of talk that Cleveland is going to throw everybody a curveball, and
Ooh.
Abdul Carter might fall into the lap of the New York Giants. But there's also little rumor too that a proposed trade that the Detroit Lions may trade a couple of picks or a pick or a player for Kayvon Thibodeau. So, you break up that duo of Burns and Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence, that trio of Dexter Lawrence, Burns, and Thibodeau. So, but that's all, the 11th hour before the draft is absolutely crazy with rumors. So we'll
It's,
see.
it's all hearsay right now.
No doubt. That'll be interesting. All right. Well, we got our draft. We've done our mock drafts. I actually do have Abdul Carter going to the Giants at number 3, but I did make a little bet on Hard Rock Bet that Shedeur Sanders would go number 3 to the Giants, or number 3, or to the Giants in general. Actually, he could be drafted at 29 to the Giants.
What was that, like plus 350, wasn't there? Something like that?
I got mine. Yeah, it was up there. It was a good bet, so I took it. I got a few more I'm going to run with you guys, but here was the first thing going through my mind before Tennessee goes ahead and makes their draft pick, before they take Cam Ward, is what we think they're going to do. And Prime, you alluded to it real quick off air, but I wanted to save it for on air. I'm not down with this Cam Ward pick 100% all the way. I keep hearing that if it was last year's draft, and it's not last year's draft, but if it was, that he's like the 7th overall ranked quarterback, that's not great. So if Tennessee is reaching on a quarterback, not a good idea when you got a once-in-a-generation player like Travis Hunter sitting there. You know what? The more I thought about it, the more I said, you know what? They should go with Travis Hunter and wait till next year when there's better quarterbacks and they're a better team and they have more players coming out.
And I couldn't agree with you more. I honestly think this is probably one of the weakest quarterback drafts. We talk about it being a weak linebacker draft, but this is one of the weaker quarterback drafts that we've seen. And I think a lot of teams are, naturally you start talking about quarterbacks because that's the darling of the draft. But I think when you're in a desperate situation like the Titans are, and there's a few other teams out there that are desperate for quarterbacks, it creates it creates possibilities for people to reach and do things that they probably wouldn't do in any other draft. Cam Ward, like you say, he'd probably be the 5th or 6th. If it was the Caleb Williams draft, or if it was next year even, he might be the 4th or 5th quarterback, ranked.
Yeah, they said behind Drake May is what I heard.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, but they're as we Tennessee now is officially on the clock. They extended it to 10 minutes between picks now. That's
good.
Insane.
I thought it was 15.
It used to be 15, and that was torture. That was torture. Now it's 10.
That's
it's a little
too
bit
long.
better. And some teams go a little bit faster. We'll see. Tennessee, they know who they're taking. Obviously, everybody in the world thinks it's Cam Ward, but Kenny, would you go a different way?
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Cam Ward. I've said that since the summer, and I can't pass up on Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. For me, I got to get those guys. I get them for 5 years. This guy may not work out, but I could have Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter for 5 years.
Yeah, and again, I understand you need a quarterback to win. You need a quarterback to get to the Super Bowl. You need a quarterback to win the Super Bowl. But you need a lot of other stuff too. I mean, you need a full team. The Philadelphia Eagles are a perfect example of what a team was last year. I mean, they had contributions, from every which way on that entire team. That's why they won the Super Bowl. That's why they beat the crap out of Kansas City. And they're a team. They're ready to go. Like, they're a team that can move up and draft, maybe one of the better wide receivers if they really wanted to. Because Philly is, again, right there, ready to go, one piece away. So I wouldn't be shocked if they moved up in the draft. There's some other teams, like the Rams are looking to move up. The Broncos are looking to move up. And that would be probably offensive players, you would imagine.
The Bears are looking to move up. I've heard a lot of talk about the Bears potentially moving up because they have this huge interest in Ashton Genty all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson's got, he's got a boner for Ashton Gentry, and but there's a lot of teams, and on the flip side of that, Jay and Kenny, there's a lot of teams at the bottom of the draft, the bottom 22, 25, that are looking to maybe move out of the first round because it's such a deep draft for defensive linemen and offensive linemen and some of the other positions. There's a lot of teams at the bottom of the draft too that are looking to potentially trade out of the first round, acquire a couple more picks, or because they feel that the guy that they want will still be there, maybe either at the end of the first round or the second, maybe even third round. So it's going to be interesting to see how much movement there is as the draft progresses tonight. It's going to be a long show, ladies and gentlemen, so strap in.
Well, you guys know Moneyball guys, so I would have traded Bosa, I would have traded Debo the first time, I would have traded Brandon Ayuk, and I would have a ton of kids on rookie contracts right now, and I could have gotten any free agent I wanted because I would have had a shitload of money.
Well, the 49ers have a ton of picks, so they're going to have a ton of kids on their team, a lot of 20, 21, 22-year-olds, no doubt. Let me go. Guys, I made a few bets on Hard Rock Bet here in Florida. It's the only one that you can freaking bet on. So, look, I took a flyer on a few of them. Plus 4,000 for Travis Hunter to be the first overall pick. I had to throw a couple of dollars on it. I'm like, let me do it. Why not? But then I also have him possibly going third overall pick, which is a lot less, but because 2 is where people expect him to go to Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I have as the first wide receiver off the board, which is okay odds. It's only plus 200, but instead of McMillan, I think, Kenny, you're going to like this. I got Matthew Golden going off first.
I like Matthew Golden a lot. I like that speed. You know how important it is in the NFL. It's not everything, but it sure helps when you want to get some separation.
Yeah.
And when you want to get those soft spots in those zones, you hit that real fast, you got the timing down, you're going to have a lot of 15-yard catches. You know what I mean?
I can envision Matthew Golden. Remember, you guys probably remember this very well. Alvin Harper against the Niners. Remember how you would just, back when in a play, would he just catch those slants, man, and just go? He wasn't the fastest guy in the world, but I can picture Matthew Golden in a situation like that. I'm surprised, Jay, that you're not throwing a few chips on your boy, Luther Burden. I know you've talked a lot about him, as we've had these shows the last few weeks, but Luther Burden's a guy. For some reason, man, Jaden Higgins just stays in my head for some reason. And I think it's a me thing because I like big receivers. He's 6'4", he's about 215 or so. But there's we look at Trey Harris. You got of course the Emeka Buka from Ohio State, who all of a sudden there's a few people out there saying too he could end up being a top 10, top 12 pick. Right now on my board, I got him as like maybe late first round. Maybe the 29th.
Me too.
29. 28, 29, 30, somewhere in there.
I got him going to the Commanders at 29, man.
I got him as my second best wide receiver in this entire draft.
Do you? Really? You see, that's interesting where a lot of people have him. And then there's Ted McMillan, which a lot of people think that he's the best in the draft. But then you have Luther Burden, who I do like, but I'm not hearing a lot about him. So I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be.
Well, you know what? Last year, if you don't, some people may not know this, Luther Burden, Missouri. Okay. Last year, Brady Cook played the entire year with a hurt wrist. And Theo Weiss Jr., I think his name was, or the third or the second, or I can't keep track anymore of the names. But he's not drawing much attention out there. And so I believe Luther Burden would have had a way better season had Brady Cook been healthy. I have him at number 3 in my all wide receivers.
I dig it. Well, I got my mock draft. I got the Chargers moving up to get him just a few
Tennessee guys. The pick is in.
Yeah, the pick is in. It's probably Cam Ward, but let's see if Jay can win some money and let it be Travis Hunter. That would be, man. Talk about shaking up the draft right away. That would be freaking great. I would love that.
Yeah, first pick overall, Mason Graham out of Michigan. That would be awesome.
Holy shit.
That's crazy because I heard he's fallen to us.
There's a lot of guys, man. These last couple of days with the rumors and stuff, there's been a lot of guys that we thought, and a lot of people thought initially were going kind of high, that in a lot of these mocks and stuff, they're starting to fall. So I think it's just because there's so much depth in the draft. That's my opinion. But let's see, folks, who Tennessee picks. This is probably one of the most least suspenseful first picks since last year.
Man, talk about a guy going into a bad situation right now. Jesus Christmas to the Titans. They are not a good team. So it's going to be pretty tough to get the job done.
A 3-win season last year, they just said.
What's that?
A 3-win season Tennessee had.
Yeah, that's.
Alex is like Mason Graham. Yeah, he's fallen a little bit off the board, but here comes Goodell. He's ready. And I don't know. It's funny how they boo him all the time. Leave the freaking guy alone.
I would.
The owners love him. The owners absolutely love Roger Goodell.
He does everything for the owners.
Man,
that's it. Everybody gets points here, right?
Well, we would all get 10 points if it's Cam Ward.
Cam Ward. Oh, man. All right.
All right. So I'm not going to say anything because I use Antenna TV and I get it immediately. So I'm ahead all the time. That's why
it is Cam Ward.
Yeah.
It is Cam Ward, which sucks. I don't like it. I wish it was Travis Hunter because I would have won some money.
Based on his facial expressions, it doesn't look like he likes it either.
Yeah. I told you, he ain't going to be happy. He don't want to go there. Who's he throwing the ball to?
Tyler Lockett and Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley, yeah, okay. All right.
Tyler Lockett's not terrible, and I guarantee you they're going to go get a wide receiver.
I don't want to hear about no Tyler Lockett, though. Tyler Lockett, that's ridiculous.
He was number 3 on that team last year, and DK wasn't even doing great.
He's like ancient by now, so forget. But yeah, they're gonna have to do some things. Maybe Tennessee drafts back in, gets another wide receiver. But
Cleveland traded their pick.
Oh,
unbelievable!
Their pick to Jacksonville.
Wow,
Jacksonville moving up for Hunter. How about that? That's what they're gonna do.
Wow, that's fantastic for them.
That's crazy, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, Cleveland bypassing both Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter to get more picks.
But
you sure they're going to take Hunter?
I'm pretty sure. I don't think you do that unless it's for Travis Hunter. I'd be surprised. Look, who else? I mean, Abdul Carter, I guess, but I mean,
how about Ashton Genty? You think they would have had to move up? Thinking the Giants
to number 2, that would be that. I mean, I'm all for drafting a running back in the first round. I think number 2 is
that's
a bit
hard.
Much. That's a bit.
Well,
that's a
you
bit
know how much
reach.
some people like him. I mean, people love this guy.
Yeah. Well, I had him going 4th to the Patriots. That's
you
right.
did. Yeah. You're the close. Would you get points for being the closest to the draft pick? Or?
So one of our rules is if you're 1 pick away from the actual pick, you get 1 point. It's only
so you just missed it then. So you're 2 away, right?
Yeah. So okay. I would. Yeah.
So, but we all scored on the first one, right?
We all got 10 points on the first one, yeah. And
we're all tied at 10.
Are we going to tally the results and have those on next week's show?
Oh, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think we could do the points today, right? That's a bit.
Well, make sure you guys are writing yours down also because I don't have everybody's picks in front.
Dude, honestly, I would have to go watch the show because I left it all up. man. I'm like, you know what? Jason got this shit.
All right. You know what? I'll try.
You don't have to do it for today. That's definitely something we could do next week. But
Well, I'm not going to go back and listen to the whole damn show.
Okay.
I'm going to keep tally.
all
I'm
right,
going to keep tally. So we got the.
Cam Ward. He's got some shoes to fill. I don't know whose shoes, but he's got some shoes to fill. What? Steve McNair.
See, that was the last best quarterback that they've had. I mean,
So I guess you guys didn't like Vince Young either, huh?
I think Vince
what
Young,
a bust, huh?
Man.
That turned out to be a major bust. Remember when he said that he was going when he was on the Philadelphia Eagles that they were the dream team and he was like the third string quarterback? I don't know what the hell he was talking about.
You need a third string quarterback on the dream team.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. Unreal. I mean, so do you guys think that it's Travis Hunter? And if the Jaguars know, and by the way, this trade has been in the works. It's not like Cleveland and Jaguars just made this trade. They've been talking about this for days. That's why it happened like that. So do you guys think it's for Travis Hunter or do you think it's for Abdul Carter or Ashton Genty? What do you think?
No,
They could use the wide receiver and the cornerback.
Right?
So,
Okay.
I would think, I think it had to be for Travis Hunter. I know
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Travis Hunter's the number one overall player on a lot of people's board.
So
if it was for anybody else, I'd honestly be a little bit shocked if it
So
was
you
for
got-
anybody else.
Now you got Liam Cohen, BTJ, and Travis Hunter, ATN,
Liam
Tank
Cohen.
Bigsby. Oh, wow.
you and Liam Cohen. When are you guys getting married anyway? Am I invited to the wedding?
He's too tall for me, man.
Yeah, he's too cool. I love it. So if Travis Hunter goes here, because you, Kenny, had Abdul Carter going second, right?
I did, yeah.
And me and Prime have Travis Hunter.
No. I had Hunter going to the Cleveland
I
Browns.
think all three of us.
Oh, is that right? I could have sworn you had Abdul Carter. All right. So then if that does happen, we'll get 7 points.
I don't know who I picked, so I couldn't even tell you, bro.
So Jacksonville
I
gets
couldn't
the
even tell
second.
you.
Yeah, listen to this. Go ahead.
They get the second overall. They get the 4th round pick, and then they get the 6th round pick, and then Cleveland gets number 5 overall, 2nd and 4th round picks, and their their 1st round pick for next year.
Wow.
They're going for Travis Hunter.
They had to do it.
If you're giving up all that, you're not going for anybody else in the draft. You know, you're not going to pick Tech McMillan and give up, especially your 1st round next year. That throws me off a little bit.
That is a lot to give up for them to move up to get. And look, again, he could be a generational type player, no doubt. But Cleveland had to make that move. I totally agree. As you say, what's up to McNair?
Sorry, Jason. I honestly couldn't tell you who I picked in that draft we did. So I'll go back and watch the show tonight if you want, and I'll write everything down and I'll send it to you.
I'm telling you, man, I could have. Look, I don't give a shit, but I could have.
No, I just took Hunter because Andrew Berry always takes the best player available. That would have been Travis Hunter.
Could have sworn it was Abdul Carter, but either
and then
way,
I did Carter to the Giants. I did.
Why? So what is taking so long? Just say who you're picking.
Exactly. The pick is in. He's got his pink jacket on.
Right? Go on. Go flashy.
What's up, McNiner? What's going on, big fella?
Yeah,
they're doing. Who do you want us to pick?
So
McNiner. I want to ask McNiner who he wants at 11.
I think he had last week on the show. Well, I'll let him answer. But yeah, last week.
Well, he's live right now. They're covering the draft. Him and Levi.
Oh, I think last year last week he picked your guy. What's the offensive lineman?
Membu.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'd be all right with that. I'd be fine with that.
I picked Kelvin Banks, which I know is not going to be there at that point now. I heard he's going to the Raiders at 6. That's what I heard.
Yeah, with all these new mocks coming out, they had the Jaguars taking Ashton Genty at 5, and now they move up, which we're waiting. The pick is in. We're waiting to hear what the name is.
This is a giant mess now.
This is what happens. This is the NFL draft. And again,
leave it to Cleveland to mess everything up, either by giving a guaranteed contract to a sex offender or trading up giving a 1st round pick. And they actually, 4 picks this year's 1st, the 2nd and the 4th, and then the 1st for next year. That's a lot, man. They're really high on Travis Hunter.
And for Jacksonville, who's going to have at best a 500 record, so you're going to get a pretty decent draft pick out of that.
You see who's on the stage right there?
Eric Armstead, right?
Yeah, from Sacramento, baby.
He's a big
Eric
dude.
Armstead, former 49er, on the stage right now next to Roger Goodell, making him look really small.
If I was there, I'd have a huge Aaron Rodgers head that I'd be holding up.
Aaron Rodgers.
There we go. We could.
Appreciate
There we go.
Alexander-
The
Alexander
streak
Force
continues.
in the chat, bro.
Of the
Appreciate
Aaron Rodgers mentions on this show, the streak
Yes,
continues.
I know.
Do
It
we have a
keeps happening.
counter? Do we have a counter for Aaron Rodgers?
Pitch-
Well, no.
Pittsburgh.
Who was that giving us crap a couple weeks ago about the way we mentioned Aaron Rodgers on
Somebody
the
said
show?
something. That's right.
It was
Somebody said-
one of our viewers. Jacksonville got Hunter to get off.
to get off. So we had this in our draft in this league. We had this guy named Abe, and he was drafting second for the Cleveland Browns. And now that they drafted out, it kind of fucks up his
It
entire
really
draft.
does everything. Yeah.
It just screws it right up. Eric Armstead making the call over here. How about that?
That's pretty interesting, don't you think?
I kind of do. Like, they usually wait till the second round for that, but he's the Walter Payton Man of the Year, so give him some respect, right?
If
Yeah.
he wasn't before, he probably was nominated like every year.
Right, no doubt. I mean, we're talking about a good man and a good football player, and
He does
right
a
now-
lot here in Sacramento for the community for sure. He still does.
Yeah, that's great, man. I love hearing shit like that. You know, we don't get enough of that. We only hear the bad stuff. We don't get enough of the goodies. All right, what's taking him so long?
They have a trade.
Oh man.
Oh, he's mentioned in the trade. That, okay, I
Now,
thought it was-
Look at these swole dudes, these bro dudes. Travis
ding,
Hunter.
ding, ding.
So this is the second pick, and we all said Travis Hunter.
They
so it's
select
the
Travis
same guy
Hunter.
on the pick. Is that points, or is that not how it works?
Travis Hunter's
There
in
you
North.
go.
Was that North Florida?
Remember, Jason, I took Abdul Carter in the draft we all did together with McNiner and Levi. That's when I took Carter second.
I believe either way. I believe you, brother. So we have the player in the correct spot, but for a different team. So that gives us 5 points each.
Oh,
Yeah, man. I
next
still
so far,
writing
2 down, 30 to go.
Yeah,
Look at-
right. I hope they don't take this freaking long with the other ones. Come on, let's go.
He looks jazzed, bro. He's like,
Make
I'm
me
going to
sick.
Liam Cohen, baby. It's me, Liam Cohen.
He's stealing your man, Kenny.
Yo, look
Definitely
at
what he's saying.
this tunnel is like a line, a great adventure, bro. Did you see that tunnel? It's like a mile and a half. You got to go through this tunnel to get
That's
to
like a WrestleMania type.
yeah.
Yeah,
center.
really. Wow. My goodness.
It's sweet though.
gracious.
I like.
Whoa.
What's
I
that
like what they did
cameraman
with
on
the place.
freaking roller skates over there? I was getting back there so fast.
He's dancing.
Well, you see, Godell came out on a bike with Lil Wayne and all them, so they
Yeah.
probably
You
go
know
be
what
on
amazes me?
segways and shit.
You know what amazes me? How they get these jerseys done so fast. I mean, the freaking.
You know they
Asians-
have the picks, and there are people who have sources, and they already know everybody that was picked, man. I'm telling you.
it's
They have to because
Conspiracy
how
theory.
does this even happen?
Yeah.
Penny
it's-
conspiracies. The Giants only have 4 minutes and 15 seconds right now to make a pick.
You think they
Make-
got like probably multiple like jerseys for different situations, like the most likely things you get?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's a psychic if they saw the trade coming with Cleveland of all people. I could see them maybe
Wow.
figuring it was somebody else, but Cleveland.
Man,
I'm kind of shocked Cleveland traded out of that number 2.
they
that
need a
number
lot
2
of stuff
position.
though.
Yeah,
But you know what? That first overall next year, man, that does it. Is that the icing on the cake right there?
that's probably their quarterback. That's
Dude,
probably.
I'm loving on
Yeah.
Travis Hunter's
Cleveland's gonna
clothes here, bro. This guy's got some style. Look at this.
Well, you
Cleveland's
guys
gonna
know
suck
I'm
this
not.
year.
You guys know I'm not extremely high on him or Sanders, but we'll see.
Oh,
I'll give him more of a chance than Shador.
Cleveland still
To be
gets the 5th pick. Cleveland still gets the 5th pick.
Oh, that's right. So they can
They can
still
take Shador.
They could.
Oh
They
wow.
really can. That's
Yeah.
still in play.
I'm one of those people that has Shador going in the second round, man.
Yeah, he's fallen dramatically. I actually had him going. I think in our draft, our contest draft, I had him going to the Giants. But
I didn't even take him.
I've heard
didn't
there's
send
so
anywhere.
much. The Giants are so all over the place. Brian Dable, from what I've heard, is very, very high on Jackson Dart. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a trade where the Giants trade down and maybe acquire another pick or two and maybe take Jackson Dart in the second round.
Hopefully not with the Rams.
What's that?
Hopefully not with the Rams.
Oh, as far as trading with the Rams?
Yeah.
At this point, man, with the Giants, I'll take whatever I can get at. Alex thinks Shador's going to the Steelers. I've heard that a lot.
Listen, what if for the Giants, man, their offensive line keeps sucking and sucking and
Every
sucking.
year. Decades, Jason. Decades.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe they should trade back. Well, they're making the pick. I mean, maybe they should have traded back a few picks and
You can't
got
ignore
the
that
offensive
offensive
line.
line. Man. You're
They
taking
should take their first 5 picks and draft offensive linemen.
I wonder what they're going to do here. If it's not Abdul Carter, would they go Will Campbell? Would they go Armand Membu? I mean,
I'll say it's either going to be an offensive lineman or Abdul Carter. I
This
think
well, if we all
it could be Kenny's boy. It could be Calvin Banks.
I mean,
Wow.
that
It
Dang
could
it.
be. Now, I could live with that. I don't know what Alex feels about that. Being a Giants fan, I could live with that if it's Calvin Banks. I really could. Like
You get
Jason keeps
yourself
throwing
a-
the stat up every week. The guy's allowed 2 sacks and
Yeah.
like 900 and some snaps over the last
Yes.
couple of years. So I would not be upset at all if they picked him. But
no doubt,
Um,
man.
Yeah, he's
Again,
pretty much-
it's go ahead, Kenny.
he's pretty much taken care of every first rounder he's ever faced since he was a freshman, except Jalen Walker, where he gave up a sack because Quinn Ewers doesn't know how to be mobile.
right.
Jalen Walker, I took a flyer on him going number 5, and Shador Sanders possibly going number 5. Those are my 2 little.
I
bets
took
there.
Milrow to the Steelers at 21, and Shador didn't get picked in my draft.
Oh yeah, I remember that because I was shocked that you had Milrow going in the first round, which I don't even have him like a. He's like a 3rd and beyond on my board.
I got
Third round.
Shador, my first ranked quarterback. I had Cam as my 2nd, and I had Milrow as my 3rd. Dart in 4th. That's how I had the quarterbacks.
Power
Dart's still
32
alive.
brought to you by Skittles.
Don't give him no free pub. We want the money.
All
We
right.
want the money. All right. I think it's going to be Abdul Carter. The pick is in. They should call it hopefully within the next minute or 2.
And then we'll all get points again. Right?
We will
Oh,
all
no,
get. That would be a 10-pointer because that'd be a direct hit. That's a bullseye.
I thought Prime took Sanders with the 3rd pick.
I did
You
Yeah.
did?
because I had Carter going 2nd.
Yeah, Jason, don't even bother tracking this thing. I'll watch it tonight. I got all the time in the world now that the draft is over. I'll tell you everyone we picked. I'll send it to you in the morning, bro.
Wait, Prime. You had Carter going 2nd. I thought you had Hunter going 2nd.
You know what? You might be. I can't argue with you right now.
No,
I
I think
think
he
you're
had,
right.
he had Hunter going 2nd, and
did.
it's Abdul Carter's the
I did.
pick.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
man.
think he had Hunter going 2nd, then he had
Abdul Carter.
Shador 3rd.
Abdul Carter. There you
Abdul
go.
Carter. Alex, what do you think, man? What do you think?
What do you think, Alex? You got yourself another, hopefully, great
Man,
defensive lineman, edge, linebacker.
Oh,
there's
look
our
at this.
OC. There's
Look
our
at this
we
outfit.
got
This
our
outfit's money.
Strahan already. Now we got our OC. Now we just need Tuck and JPP, and we'll be fine.
I mean, I know he's not a linebacker, but you think that's your next Lawrence Taylor there, Prime?
No, I think he's probably. You look at it. He's not that big. That bothers me. He's not. You know, you look. He's not. They'll probably put. I'm sure they're going to put some weight on him.
I don't know, man.
Um,
He came looking like Neo from the Matrix. I'd be
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, like, damn, he looks like, but he I'm
He's gonna
happy
break
with
his
that pick.
freaking back wearing that chain, man. He's gonna need to get
Yeah,
surgery.
that's why he's leaning forward. I think.
My goodness.
But guys, we talked about it on the show before. It's hard to go back and forth. We want to be a good offensive team, good. Sometimes you just have to buckle down and say, look, right now, especially if you're a team like the Giants, who it would take a miracle for them to really be like a prolific offense. So
Wow.
go with defense, build up that defense, hold teams to 16, 18 points a game, and then hope with Russell Wilson working with the young receivers, because I still haven't given up on Jalen Hyatt. They picked him last year too out of Tennessee to go along with Malik Neighbors. So I'm excited about this pick, what it could potentially be. But if I'm the Giants right now, I might spend my first 2-3 picks on defense just to create that identity, because Kenny's alluded to this too, that there's it's pretty deep when you talk about wide receivers. I don't know where people make, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Where do people keep saying that this is a deep running back draft?
I mean,
I
I don't
haven't
know
heard
about-
that. I know there's like 2 or 3, but
You know what? There's going to be in the 2nd and 3rd round
Mhm.
probably about 5 running backs that go, and a couple of them could be significant when you talk about Travion Henderson or Quinton Judkins. I know that you like him a lot, Kenny. What's interesting to me? I don't know. Maybe it was the competition, but Scatterboo just not getting the love I thought that he would. He put together a great season. So
he's got me.
you know who else isn't getting any love at all? And I think I've looked at about 5 different boards, and he's the last running back on the board, and that's Donovan Edwards out of Michigan.
Let him
He's not
fall.
getting-
Let
he-
somebody
I'm
get
s-
a ticket.
If he's there in the fourth or fifth round, if I'm the Lions or if I'm the Giants, I swoop him up. If I'm the 49ers, I swoop him up. If he's there, because he probably will be. There's some people projecting him to be, like a fourth at best. But I'm just kind of shocked. But he didn't really have a great year last year, and outside of those couple epic runs that he had against the Buckeyes the year before that, he went into last year with all these expectations. I think he might have even been on the preseason Heisman watch, and he just kind of crapped the bed, as did the entire Michigan offense. But
it's funny that Michigan's got maybe 4 first rounders and they suck. Doesn't make any sense. You know what? New England may take one of those Michigan guys. Maybe they do take Mason Graham. They're up right now. They haven't made their pick yet, but you got to think that they knew it was going to be Ward, Hunter, Carter. That's exactly how it went. That's how it's been mocked pretty much over the past week or two that way. So you got to think that New England had their guys on the board. To me, it's offensive line.
Will Campbell.
Will Campbell is the guy that they have going, but I still say surprise them all and take Ashton Genty. Alex agrees with me. It's not a deep draft. Are you going running? You taking running back for the Giants? Or are you talking about Patriots? I wonder what he's talking about. Either way.
He's saying it's just because I was saying it's not a deep. In my opinion, it's not a real deep running back draft, and that's what he's. I think that's what he's alluding to. If I'm, you may have a comment. You might be a comment ahead.
Yesterday, Levi and I talked about this for a minute, and we were like, "There's 5 incredible running backs in this draft, and then there are good running backs. So it's a deep class, but not for elite.
There's going to be a couple of them that come out and start and surprise because other players get hurt. It happens every single year.
Every year.
And I had Donovan Edwards 17 out of 20 of my favorite running backs. 17.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. He's not that high, and it's kind of surprising because I think Khalil Mullings is out too. So he might end up being like an undrafted free agent or something like that. But the thing about running backs, guys, and let's play a little. What do you guys think here? We talk a lot about running backs and how talented they are. Are they a product of their offensive line, or is there a outside of like a Saquon Barkley or a Barry Sanders? We know that there's talent when it comes to the running back position, but is it all about the talent of the running back, or we look at guys like Lawrence Phillips from back in the day, or are they a product of just having a really good offensive line? Because sometimes I get split, and I know a lot of times it'll depend on the running back that we're talking about. But what do you guys think? I guess what I'm trying to say, long story short, is the running back position a plug and play position?
No. And here's exactly, Kenny, if you don't mind, let me jump in over here.
Yeah.
As far as running backs go, look, there's a lot of different ways that you can go with this, but offensive line, if you don't have one, you have to be Barry Sanders.
Right.
That's the answer. So you know what? Jerry Jones, of all people, who is just, thinks star-stricken with guys, he admitted in an interview, I think yesterday it was, that he was talking about the run game. And he's like, I don't think it was our running back. I think it was our offensive line. And he's right. It's the offensive line. So I think that is more important overall to a team than the running back. But you got to have a good running back. You can't just throw a DeAndre Swift in there and think that everything is going to go well. You can do that with Saquon Barkley. You add him to Philly, that's a whole different story. Mm-hmm. So, Kenny, I do believe that Derrick Henrys and guys like that can change teams. They're few and far between. But
yeah, if you're a game-changing running back, then you can do a lot by yourself. I will elaborate on what you said. Offensive line is important. So is the scheme. So is how many points you put up per game. Because if you're up 30, they're just going to keep feeding you the ball. You're going to get yards after yards after yards after yards. If you're down 20, you're not going to see that ball. You might get some wheel routes here and there, run right up the middle to get the clock going and to get a couple yards. But so, yeah, definitely offensive line. And then coach, scheme, how many points you put up on your offense, all that stuff matters.
Mm-hmm. What up, Simon?
That's my guy from the General Motors in the house, baby. That's my guy. What's up, Simon? What's going on, big fella?
Who's he a fan of?
He's a chess grandmaster. He comes down on his breaks, and he comes in and he dominates everybody. And he used to work in my department. They transferred him out. He comes down now still, comes down, kicks everybody's ass in chest, and then goes back to his department off in the sunset. He's a cool
There's
dude.
few things I like as much as like those park chess players that are like click, go, click.
Yeah, he's
click,
really good.
click.
He's really good. What's up,
Yeah,
Simon?
I need to take my time in that game. I'm a decent chess player, but it doesn't sound like I beat this guy. Who's this team? Who's
I'm
he
mean
like?
at
He's a Lion. He's
Connect
a
Four.
Lions fan.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
He's
right.
a real.
Yeah.
He's real big on fantasy football too. He almost got me back into fantasy football this past season, but yeah, he's real big on fantasy football. Real
Ashton
knowledgeable dude too.
Ashton Genty will be one of those high fantasy picks this year, probably, depending on what team he goes to. I mean, New England, they're up right now. We're waiting for this pick to come in. Who did you got? Do you remember who you guys had, or who do you think they should pick?
I took Membo here, I think.
I think I took an offensive lineman too. I either took Campbell or
And
Membo.
the pick is in, and I see it. It's Will Campbell.
It came in already?
You guys want me to tell you before you guys see it? or you
Oh,
want
yeah,
me
of course.
to?
If you did it
Absolutely,
first, let
yeah.
us know.
I had
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
seconds ago. Will Campbell,
Will
LSU
Campbell.
offensive tackle.
His arms don't look that short.
The analysts and like the people on TV before doing the pregame, they were laughing at everybody talking about short arms. They're like, "Come on, man."
Simon says he's got crazy. Yes, Simon. What is it? What's your crazy Jets fact?
And then we'll get into this pick. We'll talk about this real quick before he puts that up there. Obviously, it's a good pick. It's a Vrabel pick, and you want to build from the inside out. It makes sense. Yeah, I can't say I don't like it. I wish they would have went with Genty.
Guys,
But
I think I picked the first 4 picks. Or I don't think I picked Campbell to them. I think I took Membo to New England in our draft.
I guess you're gonna have to go back and listen to a whole.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Oh,
and
that
listen to it.
sucks.
I'll tell you who everybody picked by the morning.
Well, I get no points for that one. There's nothing that can happen.
Yeah,
there.
I don't.
I got the position though. I got the tackle position.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
now-
I got that. I think I got the position, but not the player.
And so
boring
what happens
pick, but
with
it's a
the,
good pick.
What
Now,
happens?
Cle-
Because right
Cleveland
now
is-
I've gotten the Ward pick, I've gotten the Hunter pick, I've gotten the Carter pick, and I've gotten the position on the 4th pick. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I got 3 out of 4. I didn't get the position on the 4th pick.
I think everyone picked these players to go first, though. It's been like this for months.
He says they
Well-
were the only team in all 4 major sports to not make the playoffs during Pope Francis's time. that is such a Jets fact right there.
Yeah, well,
Thanks a lot for that, Simon. I love it.
I think the Jets are first, but
That's
without
funny.
the Jets, we don't have the NFL, so
It's
I'll
am-
always appreciate the Jets.
It's amazing they even track that sort of stuff. That's crazy.
Let's play. Hey, Jason, you forgot to lead off with a trivia question.
I did. I
man.
know.
What
I was
the-
so into the draft. I know.
But I have one.
All right.
What's the one Super Bowl matchup that can never happen again?
That can never happen again.
There's
Somebody-
one.
The Saints
team-
who switched conferences. or
Exactly. A team that switched conferences. It's got to
Yeah.
be that. Which team did that?
There's one Super Bowl matchup.
Oh, the
that-
Rams. The Rams did that.
As things sit right now, we will never be able to see it again.
Seattle against no, not Seattle. Shit.
Oh, Alex with a spoiler.
Oh, we got it.
Yep.
Oh,
Alex, way to go, Alex. He hit it right on the head.
that's
right on the
really
head.
good. All right, let's put it on the board for him. There you go.
Yeah.
Colts versus Jets.
Yep.
That can never happen again. That's right.
Yeah.
They-
Yeah, and that's why
Baltimore, Indy.
we have the NFL. So never forget that matchup.
Joe Namath.
I was trying to think. Seattle, they used to be in the AFC, but they only been to that one. They've been to 2 Super Bowls, so no,
The
it wouldn't work.
Pick is already in. The
They
Browns
never
pick is
went to the
already
Super
in.
Bowl in the AFC, so no, it wouldn't work out. So
Let's
yeah,
see
that's a good one.
let's see who Cleveland
Is it Shador?
Please
If
don't
it is,
mess
I get
this up.
points. I
Please
had
don't mess
Shador
this up.
going. I had Shador going 5th off the board when I did this mock draft a while ago. Obviously, I probably would have changed it based on everything I heard, but I don't.
Who
That's interesting. I mean,
Who are the Browns
Did
going to take?
Did they take their quarterback, or do they go with Tyler Warren,
Dude.
Armand Membo, Jalen Walker? If they go
Oh my
Jalen Walker
God.
5th, I'll make a lot of money. I had Jalen Walker going 5th.
Do they go
Barbara.
Banks?
Do they go Genty?
No,
They move back. They pick
And
up
what
Walker's
Well,
first.
I'll get to my question after the pick, but I got a little something that's been
I only
bugging
say
me
that,
a
but
lot.
isn't Chubb a free agent? They don't have a running back.
Who's that?
Yeah, Chubb's gone. Yeah, he keeps
So
getting
they don't
hurt.
have a running back.
Oh, gotta say what's up to this guy, Michael Nelson. What's up, my man?
Hey, Michael
Look
Nelson.
at that profile picture, man. Jeez.
Yo, he does big things, bro.
He's
I'm
a
not gonna
scholarly.
call that his business, obviously.
How you
He
doing,
looks like
Michael?
a professional. He looks like a professional.
Yeah, man, check him out on LinkedIn, bro. He does some real good shit. I known him for, oh my God, I've known him since I'm like 5 years old. I swear to God.
Hey guys, Gronk, smash that like while you're here.
All right,
Right.
so I put $5 on Jalen Walker going 5th overall.
Wow.
That would be 155. I did the same thing with Shador Sanders going 5th overall. I put 5. That would be 155. So if
Good
either
luck.
of those two click, you're going to be looking at a happy man right here.
All right,
I wouldn't mind winning that.
I'm gonna go Genty with the Cleveland pick.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking it's Genty because now you've missed on Carter. Now you've missed on Hunter. You don't have Cam Ward, and you're not going to get Tyler Warren. I'm saying you better get Tyler Warren, or you better get Genty, in my opinion.
This might be the draft, guys. I don't want to interrupt. This might be the draft where Cleveland makes the trade to Atlanta to get Kirk Cousins.
Oh, geez. I wouldn't
And
be shocked.
Kevin Stefanski reunited, and it feels so good. This might be. They might use one of those extra picks in a
That
package.
better than Joe Flacco? I don't even know because he's back there with his 40-year-old ass. I
Joe
don't know.
Flacco had like 6 good games and exploded or
I know,
imploded
no
in the
kidding, right?
playoffs.
Then he goes to Indy and he's like,
Mason Graham to
son
the
of a
Browns.
bitch.
Are you serious?
And it's still, dude, I got the position again.
Wow, that is a terrible
Wow,
pick.
that's not a good.
That's a terrible pick. I
So
don't
you
like
line them up alongside Mason Garrett or Miles Garrett. I get it, MG and MG, but
Oh,
he poor guy.
I got him 1 pick away. I'll take my 1 point for that. But
Yeah, I got him. I think we all picked him. Well, I picked him at number 5 going to Jacksonville originally, but yeah, that's Cleveland with Mason Graham. I'm interested to see what the chat feels about that.
Hold on. Is that what they told Miles Garrett? Yo, we're gonna trade back and take Mason Graham.
Right.
And then we're going to get Shador Sanders at like 15, 17, something like that. Wow.
Bro, I don't know about this one.
Well, yeah,
Dude,
because they
now-
still could trade those picks.
They
The
can
picks that
trade
they
the
haven't
first
put in the
rounder
package.
They can trade the picks that they
That's
just
that pick that's going to Atlanta. No, I don't know. I take that back because Kirk Cousins isn't worth a first-round pick. But they got a 2nd and a 4th. They could package that to the Falcons. I think either way it goes, I think Kirk Cousins ends up in Cleveland. I feel that with all my heart.
That makes sense, but it also makes sense that he waits during the season and waits for a team that may be there who's a quarterback away.
Who's the receivers?
And we're in
They-
Cleveland, Jerry Judy. That's all they got.
Jesus.
No, they have Moore or somebody.
That's exactly Elijah
The-
Moore. When you don't know his first
yeah.
name, then there's a problem.
Well, but
Yeah.
he was our.
It's
he
the
was
who's
he
who
was
of
the
who's
third
that.
Yeah.
one. I like Moore and I like Judy though. If they get another guy, I think they're in good shape.
You know what I love on this one? Adam Schefter, who's always right, said that Mason Graham was going to fall and he wasn't going to go number 5. Now, he did say specifically number 5 to the Jaguars, but he ended up going number 5 overall. But he
The
was
Raiders
very-
pick is in already. They're not fooling around.
Oh, they're going for Ashton Genty.
They're running up to the podium right now,
Well-
They're loving Ashton Genty.
figuratively speaking.
I
Yeah,
told you what I heard Todd McShay say and his sources. He said we're almost 100% they're going Kelvin Banks with their first pick.
Nah.
Spytek and Brady with their first pick together, they want a high character guy. That's what they said to him.
Pete Carroll's got 2 or 3 years over there before he decides to retire. He needs playmakers right now. They're going to Genty. Tell me when the pick is in. You get
They can get Travion Henderson in the 2nd round.
Take them both.
The Raiders need so much
Yeah, they're not going to
When
do
you really-
anything this year.
Yeah,
what are they
they're-
going to do?
because you got the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Chargers that are still light years ahead of you in that division. There's no way that the Raiders. I don't think anything they can do in this draft, and with what's left in free agency, or when the cuts come, June 1st or whatever, when the salary cap casualties start happening. for
Wait,
the
but you
summer.
know what would be sick though? If they drafted like Tyler Warren and had the 2 greatest tight end, had like the greatest 12 personnel of all time.
Why not?
Sick.
It worked for New England before, your boy got convicted of unaliving people.
It sure did. Now, they don't have Tom Brady over there, but Geno
Unaliving.
would be accurate enough to get those guys the ball.
I think Geno's better with a running game. I would be surprised if it was Calvin Banks, but kind of would, but I wouldn't. But I don't know. I don't know, Jay.
I think they go Genty here. I mean, he's been mocked here forever. I mean,
I think when you
got mocked here.
I think when you invest in your offensive line, you go to Super Bowls. That's what I think.
Yeah, the Raiders, I don't think they'll ever go to a Super Bowl again. Not
Their
just because
defense wasn't bad. Well, defense
they're just not run well. They're not a well-run team.
They need a cornerback. CB1 is what they really need.
They're not going to take one here. I'd be shocked if they take like a Barron or something here. That'd be insane. Or
Jalen Walker, maybe?
They could go Will Johnson.
Anchor that defense?
Oh, no, they play in a dome. I wouldn't take Will Johnson.
Will Johnson, the only reason he fell is because of the injury. Otherwise,
he missed 7 games because of turf toe. I don't want him in a dome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think, like I said last week, I think a lot of that, and they were even speculating about that up here.
What if it's
he missed those games because he was trying to prep for the draft? There was a lot of people down on him because they thought he wasn't injured that entire time.
All right, get up there now. Yeah, well, he also hurt his hammy. He hurt his shoulder. He hurt his... he's had tons of injuries, Will Johnson.
But in his career there, he's only allowed, I think, like 2 touchdowns.
The pick is in.
He's got more pick sixes than he's allowed. There you go.
There you go. That's what I thought was going. I mean, they just kept saying it and saying it and saying it. So it makes sense that it happened. Ashton Genty is not going to help them win more than even one game than they were supposed to win this year. He'll be good, but
Pete Carroll loves his running game. He loves his, he loves not to hand the ball off to people in key situations. But
he looks like he's going to the prom right now. Look at this guy.
He does. He's a little dude.
Yeah, he's only 5'8". He's only 5'8", but he is a rock. He broke. I think he had something like 1,700 yards after being cut.
1,702, I believe, or something like that.
Sick. Are you kidding me?
You just don't have to worry about him.
2/3 of your yards, 66% of your yards were after contact, and you're only 5'8", 5'9".
That's amazing.
How many yards did he have receiving?
I think he had
not that much. He was under 200 yards, but he ran.
He had 138 yards.
Can't catch,
receiving.
and he also
they didn't throw him the ball. They didn't have to, but he actually can. When they talk about him, they say that he's got the capability. But you know what, man? If you're a running back, if you could do that, and you only have to catch maybe 1 or 2 passes a game. And look, Derrick Henry is I'm not calling him Derrick Henry. I'm not going crazy, but Derrick Henry don't catch passes.
Remember when we did our top running backs and we had in the top 5, we had a lot of guys that also catch the ball, and that's important.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm not putting if they were the top players of all time.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I'm not saying Ashton Genty is the greatest running back that ever lived or anything.
He's also not a super great blocker. He also has fumbling issues. I mean, there's problems. I also don't like that he wears a blue uniform and their turf is blue. That shit is like camouflage, bro.
Well, maybe the Raiders need to change Allegiant Stadium. Maybe just have the black turf. That'd be kind of awesome, actually.
Oh
have
man,
have the black turf with the Raider logo right there in the middle.
Yeah.
That'd be with the silver end zones.
I just want to say this real quick. I picked Genty in our draft, so I'm 6 for 6, guys.
I thought you didn't have your draft. Where did it come from all of a sudden? Now that you're 6
the draft
6? All of a sudden, Prime, he's 6 for 6. He didn't have his
right. But and then yesterday we go back and forth in the text. I didn't have Genty that high at all, and now you had him number 6. Come on, I knew it. I knew the truth would come out. No, I'm just pulling.
I don't have Genty at number 1. I didn't have him. I said that he would be picked by the Raiders in our mock. That's all.
I know. I'm just pulling.
I didn't say I liked the guy.
Oh my God.
Who's on the board now? The Jets. Alex says Shedeur. That is such a. You know what?
I think the Jets go with Tyler Warren. That's my pick. It's the tight end from Penn State.
Yeah, it's that or a lineman.
What do you guys think?
I think there's some people, and I heard. Want to say Mel Kiper maybe had him as like the 4th best player in the entire draft.
Who?
Somebody high up. It was somebody.
Tyler Warren?
Yes. Had him as like the 4th or 5th best player in the entire draft. Now Mel changes that every time he gets on a show. Like this guy comes out here. He's got all the tools. And he's probably top 4. He's got like 9 guys in his top 4. That's awesome.
Well, he should do number 1 for 3 months.
This is why I don't like this website, this app for betting, and it's only in Florida. What a hot mess, man. I can't even make, like, there are so many other sites out there that I can go through right now, whether it's FanDuel or DraftKings or BetGM or any of these other stuff that probably have bets that you can make right now on who's going to go next or who's going to go 10th or who's going to go 12th. I can't do that online. It's all gone. Everything was pre-draft. They can't even keep up with the times and get like on-time betting. This is pathetic. I don't like this at all.
Wow.
Pathetic. Get with the program over here. Come on.
So this pick, I think I went Membo is what I picked for the Jets in our draft. Pretty sure.
I definitely picked Tyler Warren. I mean, I'm looking directly at my draft, so I know who I picked. I went Warren here. So I think that's where they're going.
Yeah, I would.
They need another pass catcher. They lost Devontae Adams.
Well, and I mean, he had a. Oh, okay. I thought it was something important.
These picks have gone the way we've seen them go in mock drafts for 3 months.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, actually, this is chalk right now.
That doesn't happen.
This is a hell of a lot better than your boy, what's his name, Joe Lenardi, who tries to pick the NCAA brackets every year. First 4 in, last 7 out, first 2 in. It's like, come on, man. You get the number 4, the 4 number 1 seeds. You get those right. Everybody else is speculation.
AI is out there now, boys.
Yeah.
Who do you have, Prime? Do you know who you have who the Jets are taking? Who would you pick?
Oh, I think I had him picking an offensive lineman. I think I had Membo. I think I either had Membo or, but right now I agree. They're probably going to pick Tyler Warren. Alex says they're probably going to pick Tyler Warren.
I think in the draft that we did together, I took Membo at 4, and then I took Campbell here or Banks. I think I don't know. I think it was Campbell to the Jets. I think Jason took Warren.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have my draft in front of me, so I mean,
okay. Oh yeah.
There's no way I would remember everybody I picked. It's not a shot.
I thought you were writing everyone's down, but like I said, Prime, no. I'll watch it tonight. I'll watch it in ×2, and I'll write down everybody that we all took, and I'll mail it to you.
I thought you guys made your mock. I thought you guys had your mock, and it was all ready to go. And
I did, but it was on my computer, but I've shuffled some things around, and
dude,
now
I go from I don't think I.
That's what I'm doing. I keep trying to find where I save the document to. That's why I keep looking over here my laptop.
Yeah, well, if you find it, let me know. I'll just go look at who I picked. But I don't prepare for that shit. I just feel it and I pick it when it's time.
I still don't. Cleveland, they made a good trade, and then they went and took Mason Graham with the 5th pick. I mean, it was just
that's why they're Cleveland.
Better players.
Maybe that's when they talked Cleveland and the Jacksonville were like, because they want to know who are you taking, who are you targeting. They'll ask
right.
that.
Yeah.
So they knew.
I'm really surprised. Wow,
that is such a Cleveland thing to do, though. And I mean, I don't know.
I'd like to hear the reaction from Cleveland right now. I should go on Twitter and see if Cleveland.
I don't hate it though. I mean, we kind of all had at one point. I think we all kind of thought Abdul was going there, so it would be Miles and Abdul Carter. I think Mason Graham is pretty decent. You know, they talk about that guy being in this league for a long time, like Will Campbell. So,
but he's also not the second coming of Aaron Darnold either. So, I mean, he's good, but there's, like I said last week, there's a lot of people that thought that he was a product of having Kenneth Grant next to him, which.
That's what.
That's like Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea, who knows? But we'll see. We'll see now because they don't have, these are. He's probably coming into the organization as their second best defensive lineman. So you can't. I don't even know who their other 2 guys are.
The sad part is Grant's probably going to go in like the 40s, which is what's crazy about that.
But that's a value pick, won't you think?
I think it's a great pick. I'm saying, like we just said. I mean, I think Mason. I mean, that whole D was really good, and so
he did get overshadowed, Kenneth Grant, but he's a good player in his own right. The Jets did make their picks, so you guys
70-yard rundown, man.
The Jets pick is in. They're waiting. They got their hands up.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Walker either.
They picked Membo.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
who'd they pick?
Oh, they did pick him.
Yeah, they took him.
They did take
I'm
Membo.
just saying, I don't think.
On Membo. Wow. Look at. Oh, I'm off. I was okay. I get 1 point. I was 1 pick away. I had Membo going to the Panthers.
Yo, and it's because that's a right tackle right there. That's who they need, a right tackle.
Yeah, that's your anchor.
Right tackle.
Because Fashanu's on the left, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And so that makes sense not going with Banks. Banks is not a right tackle.
No, he's a left tackle, and yeah, I mean that's interesting. All right, so they're spending a high pick on Armand. They definitely trust in this guy. He's got 30 starts in the last 3 years, I think, and so you can rely on him that he's going to be there and he's going to play. He doesn't get injured. He's a tough guy, and seeing some highlights on TV right now of what he's been doing. But yeah, usually right tackles don't go this high, but he's got something special in order to make that pick.
Listen, the Jets, Aaron Glenn, I think he might have picked up a thing or two from Ben Johnson, right?
Yeah, I think
so.
he's.
And when you,
that's what I was saying. He's
you
trying
invest in that offensive line, you got a lot of fucking options, guys.
Right,
Yeah.
Penei Sewell was a right tackle, and look how that worked out pretty damn well, right, Brian?
Pretty good, huh?
Absolutely. So, and I talked about that last week. I think Aaron Glenn is going to create the Jets in the mold of what Dan Campbell and what they did in Detroit. So this pick isn't overly shocking. I don't think they, they could have even went like Gray Zabel this high, a guard. But
he could be a Niner. Don't be surprised.
so I mean, he could be right. He could be one of the few
Chicago
guards
takes
that go top 10, top 15. So we'll
if
see.
Chicago takes Banks, it's a very good chance the Niners like Gray Zabel.
I think that's so high for him, though. I mean, but whatever. You know what?
What about Josh Simmons? What about Josh Simmons out of Ohio State and Josh Connerly out of Oregon?
I hear that they're going to go a little bit later.
Josh Connerly is one of my top 3 offensive tackles in this draft.
I have both of them going a little bit later in the draft, but offensive tackles, man, I mean, you need these type of guys on your team. So if they get drafted higher than where I have them, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, I have Kelvin Banks going to Miami at 13, but he'll get drafted by the 49ers before then at this point, I'm sure. So I kind of wish I switched my mock around a little bit, but I'm having fun with this, just picking on the fly. I think that maybe Carolina, the pick is in. Maybe they go with Jalen Walker.
It's McMillan. What do you think?
That would be a bad idea.
I think they might go Tyler Warren here.
Guys, so
that's a good idea too. I like that.
They might go Tyler Warren here. They need something for Bryce Young to be able to occupy the middle. They haven't had a good tight end really since Greg Olsen. And
True.
they need, you got the young quarterback. If he can build off of, and we talked about it before, build off of what he did the last half of last season, you got to start getting them some weapons. You got to start building that offense because their defense wasn't really bad. They just got a lot of guys that you never heard of. I think they were top, maybe top half of the league, and their defense wasn't total trash.
Well, they were on the field a lot, so the stats were kind of skewed. I mean, the offense wasn't exactly putting together stellar drives. So come on.
What have you guys heard about? Where am I here? Kelvin Banks' running mate, Cameron Williams. He's 6'5", 317. He was the other tackle at Texas.
Wow, that's a mountain of a man.
That's a huge dude. So I mean, right now on my board, I got him like 99th. I got him like a third, like a late third, maybe early 4th round pick. I think there might be some. I think there might be some value there if you can. If he played 15 games last year, I think he gave up like 2 or 3 sacks. But there's some, as I'm looking over like the top, offensive or tackles, I should say, top offensive tackles. There's a lot of guys in here that I forgot about. That Arianti Ersere from out of Minnesota, they got him like a third or late second round pick, and he's a 6'5", 331. Josh Simmons and Connerly, as we talked about. There's some players that there's Ozzie Trapillo out of Boston College, 6'8".
And as we get down, more towards like the 17, 18, 19, 20, we're talking about better teams, and
right.
We'll see who they take. Maybe they just think, hey, we need another offensive lineman, but we could see a run on these guys. I mean, and I wouldn't be shocked. So we got Carolina. The pick is in, waiting to see who they're going to pick.
Yeah, they went to commercial.
I think it's going to be Jalen Walker, but Tyler Warren is a good one, and Ted McMillan is a good one. I wouldn't be mad at either one of those picks, at any of them, because they have a lot of needs, and they're far away. And Bryce Young is still a project. Let's not – he made progress, no doubt about it, but there's still a lot to go over there, and need to give the kid weapons, no doubt. So whether you're going to protect him or give him somebody to throw the ball to, that's the way to go in this draft, probably.
Right. So Simon says, don't disrespect Tommy Tremble.
Tommy Tremble.
Now, last night I dug deep. I told you I had to do a couple more categories for my official end rankings before the thing, and I dug deep, man. Josh Connerly went from being like the 7th best offensive tackle to me to the 3rd best. And
I think
Cam,
last week in our draft, I had him going like first round. I know
I had him in front of Simmons and Membo, and I moved Ariante Ursary to the back of the line, and Cameron Williams was 9th out of 10 for me.
That's still pretty good though for Cameron Williams to be
good.
ranked 9th, considering how many. Because I'm looking right now at like 15, maybe 16 offensive lines. So to be in the top half, give or take a couple spots. I think he's going to be one of those guys that he's going to be a sleeper. I think somebody who gets him, I think, is going to be. They'll probably be pleasantly surprised when they swoop him up.
Yeah, it wasn't a knock because I didn't even think he'd make my top 10, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maybe.
Connerly, I was going to put way in the back there. He was like 10, 11, and I was like, what's going on? And then the more I read about it.
Maybe they go with one of those guys, Kelvin Banks or a Connolly or a Simmons. Who knows?
That would make sense too because I think if they had a glaring weakness, it was their offensive line.
All right, here we go.
and their weapons. So I'm going Tyler Warren here.
With the 8th pick in the NFL draft, the Carolina Panthers take.
It's almost like they can't go wrong.
Tetairoa McMillan.
Oh, wow.
All right. Give them somebody to throw the ball to,
Yep.
man. I mean, they really don't have anybody over there to throw the ball to.
No, they don't.
They don't.
Well, they got Thielen and they got Leggett. They're hoping Leggett works out.
Yeah, Leggett, last year as a rookie, I mean, he did not do that well. Again, we're talking about the Carolina Panthers, but he didn't even have 500 yards receiving.
Well, did he miss some time? I don't remember.
I think he did. I think he missed a few games. Yeah. So, you wonder about him. Second year in a row, they're going wide receiver with their first pick.
That's awesome, though. Then somebody had Tyler Warren going to them. I thought it was you, Jason.
I had him going to the Jets, actually, believe it or not.
Okay.
So, with the Panthers, I had Membo, but he had already been picked. So,
And the Saints are on the clock.
This is where it gets real interesting now with the Saints. Like, do they take Shador over here, or do they trade back?
I think they should go cornerback. I think they're going to go defensive line or cornerback. But
They want a
we'll see.
cornerback. All right. So
There's some mocks. There's some people that actually I had Will Johnson going to the Saints, I believe, in our draft.
I think you said. You know what? That rings a bell. I think you did say that. Alex over here thinks it's going to be Mikael Williams. Very possible.
I think so too. I think
maybe Jalen Walker's ranked a little bit higher on most boards.
Yeah, but the thing with Walker is he's little. He's a stand-up edge rusher, and he doesn't have the instincts to start at linebacker right away. Is what a lot of people
I don't rank these guys, man. I don't.
Right.
And listen, I don't like go by what the people say on the analysts say on TV. I go by
They're
what
doing pretty
tons
good
of
today.
different scouts say about them. So the scouts is what I look at. I don't look at like the analysts.
Well, the scouts are the ones who are in charge, basically, of this whole entire process. They're the ones who have been checking it out for not just this year, but for the past 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, and look, scouts are fired all the time, but these guys, they know what to look for. They're trained from other scouts, and that's more than I know. So
They think Ted's a sure thing over here with this guy. So you know what? Look, give the kid somebody to throw the ball to. I like the move. I got no problem with him taking Ted McMillan.
Dude, are all the draft hats like that? Because they're awesome. I want one.
I like the
ivy, like the Roman ivy on the top here, like it's Rome.
Interesting.
I like you're just watching some highlights now. I watched a couple Arizona games. He reminds me, and I know I'll get crushed for this. He reminds me the way he strides. He reminds me a lot of Calvin Johnson. How he can cover. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but the way he can cover yardage, with each straight. They just showed the highlights here, and like I said, I've watched him play Arizona State, and I forgot who else I watched him play this. I watched 2 games, but his strides, man, he's got that gazelle. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but you see him slowly just separating from guys because he's eating up, 4 or 5 yards of stride, man. He's going to be. I think he could end up being special, even if he is on the Carolina.
The large mammal.
He's an instinctual type of player, and when there's, a 50-50 ball, he's the type of guy that you want over there. He's got great positioning. He knows how to use his body, his big body. So that's a really good pick right there. When you get down to the red zone,
Bryce Young too, he could really use the help.
Yeah, you get down to the red zone. It's hard. They don't really run the ball that well. So you know what? If you got somebody who's big like that, and you could throw the ball up to on a 50-50, maybe it turns into a 70-30. I don't know.
Family's beautiful.
What do the Saints do? Do they take quarterback right now, or do they take the best player available? What do you guys think?
They tell you.
I still think they need to go defense. I still think the problem with the Saints is that they made so many dumb moves. They already had limited salary. I think they were like 48 million or something like that under the cap going into this offseason, like 30, 40 million under the cap going. And then you do deals like we talked about with the Chase Young deal. They need to do something smart right now. So you go. They could. There's not really. I don't think they'd reach up for like Hampton.
Tyler
like
Warren,
a running back, but they could go Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
They could also go edge rusher here.
Yeah,
You know
I
what?
got them taking Walker. I got them taking Jalen Walker. That's my pick at number 9.
That would probably I could see that, but we talked about Jalen Walker potentially being like a Micah Parsons hybrid type player. But I do agree with the fact that he's little. He's a small dude, man, and I think a lot of times he can get eaten up. He gets in the thick of the rush. And he can get eaten up really quick. He's not, he's 245. I don't know how, his bench press and all that other stuff, but just looking at him, he had a good game against Texas. Most of his sacks came like in the last couple games of the season.
If you guys want to know any of that stuff, just let me know. I'll find it immediately.
So
Alex again, he thinks Mikael Williams, same school, both went to Georgia as Jalen Walker. But again, they could go another direction. They need a lot of help, the Saints. And we just don't know what they're going to do with quarterbacks. So do they take one, man? I don't know. At number 9, this is where they say it gets really interesting over here.
But do you almost have to? Do you almost have to now that Derek Carr is hurt? And do you almost have to take a quarterback, or do you just say you're not gonna win the division? You're not going to be a player in the NFC this year anyway. So do you build up the defensive side of the ball, or maybe get a couple weapons and then concentrate on maybe something more high profile next season?
With the 9th pick NFL draft, the New Orleans Saints select Kelvin Banks Jr.
Kelvin Banks Jr. All right, so they went with the safe pick.
Smart, thinking about the future. Smart.
They went with the safe pick. I don't know who's going to throw the ball yet, but we'll see. But there you go. Shedeur Sanders officially now dropping, unless
I knew
somebody's going to jump up. Is Pittsburgh going to jump up? I don't know, man. So
they might not have to. I mean, because now you look at the rest of the upcoming teams. San Francisco doesn't need a quarterback. Dallas doesn't need a quarterback. Miami doesn't need a quarterback. The Colts, maybe. The Falcons don't need a quarterback. The Cardinals don't need a quarterback. The Bengals, the Seahawks, the Buccaneers, the Broncos, which leaves next would be the Steelers. And on my board, I will show it to you if you can see it. I have Shedeur Sanders right there right now going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And I had Jackson Dart going, actually, so that's interesting to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought Shedeur would have been off the board already.
I did too. But
based on what you just went through, and I'm looking at other teams who would trade back in. Maybe, you see, that's the thing. Do the Giants trade back in? Do the Browns actually trade back in? I don't know. The Bears have made their pick. They're ready. I picked Colston Loveland to go to the Bears, but that Tyler Warren is still on the board.
I think I picked Warren because I was also talking. I was like, because they could be the dual threat, him and Cole Kmet. You can never. We talked about the running back thing earlier. Is the tight end position a plug and play position? I think it is. I think if you get a big body, a guy that can catch and run a little bit, the middle of the field is always open. And that's why when we're debating about keeping Sam Laporta here in Detroit, do you really need to pay him, or do you, in another year or two, just draft another tight end in the 3rd or 4th round, plug him in, and kind of go? I think tight ends are the ultimate plug and play position.
They totally are. There's no doubt, because if you're a solid tight end, you come into the league, because they're not about running the full route tree. They don't have to run all these routes.
Seam routes.
They get open over the middle. That's it. And you got to be tough and break a few tackles. You got to be able to block. I think that's one of the positions where you plop somebody in, you're good to go. Where you were talking about running back before, they're more reliant on the offensive line. Interesting. What's Alex saying? Hey, guys, have to get going, but we'll be back later in the draft around the Denver Broncos pick. All right, Alex, we appreciate
you dropping by, man. And yes, New York could trade back into the 1st round. I would take Dart over Sanders, but I already picked Sanders to go just because of the profile. But I think I'm already in negative points right now, is the way we're sitting right now, because this draft did not go the way the way that I
It
thought
was
it
kind
was.
of good in the beginning, right?
Yeah, it
And now
was.
all falling apart. Well, the Bears, again, I had Warren going off the board already, but now I think they take him. I think that's a great pick for them. He's a stud, man. I mean, they can definitely score points with this kid. Caleb's
So-
second year.
Let me ask you guys this: Who do you think is a projected third and beyond that could jump up into the first round? As we have about
Whew.
20 picks or so left in the first round. Is there anybody out there that kind of jumps at you guys and say, you know what, this guy he's graded as a third or beyond, maybe even a late second, but could be a surprise pick in the first round?
That's a tough one. It's
Jalen Milroe, 21 to the Steelers.
Who's that?
Jalen
Jalen
Milroe.
Milroe.
Yeah, you
Wow,
already,
that's really
you
good.
already.
I like
yeah.
him going in the late first, early second round, possibly. I don't know, maybe a Trey Amos. Maybe, no, I mean he's projected pretty high actually. No, this is still pretty good on him. I don't know, but that would be.
It's going to be, actually, you know who it's going to be? Olufemi Oladejo.
I can't even pronounce that.
Niners might be the Niners' second pick in this draft.
Jeez. Well,
That's
the
it.
Niners' first pick. I'm waiting for that one, but we're waiting.
Yeah, I'm
for the
scared to
Bears.
death
Yeah.
it's going to be Walter Nolan or Mike Green, and it's going to
Oh.
ruin my night.
What are they going to do? The 49ers?
The Bears pick is in. Who are these foxes on stage?
I feel like the 49ers might go with
That was
Will
Laura
Johnson.
Rutledge, and I don't know who the other one was.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
you know what? I looked down. I thought I saw Laura Rutledge. And
So the Bears are all standing up, and the Bears fans are going nuts.
So they probably.
they made the
Nope.
trip over to Green Bay. Look at
It's going to
them.
be Tyler Warren. What do you guys think? All the offensive linemen are gone.
It almost has to be.
I
Yeah,
think
the
it's
O-linemen
Tyler
are gone.
Warren. They stacked up this year. They're looking at
Or-
make the playoffs, man.
Yeah, because you already did your diligence with the linemen.
Yeah.
The Packers.
You really got a solid receiving core. You could use an extra running back because Swift is long in the tooth, and we don't know how much
Yeah,
but
how
he's got
effective he's going to
offensive
be
line
next
now.
year. But I don't
Hopefully
think.
they get Genty.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll reach up this high to get Hampton. So
He's got an
No.
offensive line now, though, Swift. He's been in this league forever. He should be
Yeah.
okay.
and their defense is pretty good too. So this is almost, I hate to say it for the Bears, it's almost a luxury pick.
Yeah,
It
Steve
feels like
McMichael.
it. It feels like it. That whole Ben Johnson thing is making things feel a little bit more comfortable too. Like they finally got their coach in house also. So
They
let's
lost
see what
another
he decides
offensive
to do. You know, he's very influential in this pick. There's no doubt about it. And
He's
again,
he's
offensive
Ryan
line,
Pohl's boss.
Would he go off? He's Ryan Pohl's boss here,
He's
right? No
right.
kidding. Would he go
Right.
offensive line again? But all the good ones feel like, well, not all the good ones. There's still some left. I mean, but damn, this is an interesting pick right here. What is he going to do? Because if he can get it, he was part of getting Sam Laporta in that draft a few years ago. So you know, you wondered, do you go?
Yeah, he actually had to, well, not had, but he convinced Dan Campbell to make that pick for Sam
See, there you
Laporta.
go. There you go.
So
Laporta's a good player. I mean, I feel like he could be a little bit better, but again, they throw the ball around a lot in Detroit, and they run the ball a lot too. It's a lot
Right.
of mouths to feed there, a lot of mouths to feed. But I think the Bears need more offense. Look, Caleb Williams had 20 touchdowns and 6 picks last year, so it wasn't the problem like him turning the ball over. The problem was getting down the field and scoring points. So
and how many
they-
games did they lose late?
A lot. Yeah,
That Washington game was just oh my god!
Oh,
You talking about a
man.
kick to the
It's like that turned
Oh, yeah.
around their entire season, that
Yep.
game. All right, if the pick is in, then freaking say it, man. Jeez.
With the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan.
Oh,
Well,
I
we
nailed
got
that
the
one.
position.
Holy
I got the position.
I actually nailed that one. Wow.
They're not happy.
Wow. I can't believe they didn't take Tyler Warren.
Top 10 though.
That was dumb.
I had him go. I had Loveland going to the Chargers.
That's not a good
Oh,
pick.
wow. Okay.
That's not a good because the way that everything's been graded lately, he's probably the third best tight end in the draft behind Harold Fannin and Tyler Warren. I thought I actually had him going to the Chargers to be reunited with Jim Harbaugh. I'm shocked.
Man,
That's a
they
bad
see
pick.
something they like. They see something they like there. I knew they were going up. I can't believe I actually nailed that pick. I'm shocked.
I had Colston's second best tight end, but I have Fanning way later.
This is an interesting pick right here by the Chicago Bears. I mean, they're
This
going to
He's good though. He's good. I mean, I'm not but the offense in Michigan, Michigan's offense sucked so bad last year, man.
Yeah.
Guys,
So
a
you're
wide
kind of,
receiver.
you know, so for him to even
place.
have 500 yards receiving, almost what he had, like almost 60 catches, almost 600 yards.
Yeah.
For he's really good. But he just the offense was so bad last year, and
But-
I think a lot of people. I think that's one of the reasons why the Bears fans right now are booing, because they're basing what they saw last year. But he's going to be. I think he'll be quite effective. Now you got him and Kmet occupying the entire middle of the field.
Yeah.
You got DJ Moore. You
DJ
got
Moore, Rome Odunze.
Rome Odunze, and
Sure.
like I say, now you can go running back in the second or third round. Now your offense is pretty much set, and I'm getting the Bears are making me a little bit nervous as a Lions fan.
Now it's on Caleb Williams, like for real. Now it's like, all right, it's his second year. You got weapons over here, time to go. And I do agree with you. I think a running back is coming later for them. Kenny, our pick is coming up right now. The 49ers have made their pick. I'm getting the feeling that it's Will Johnson. What are you thinking?
I'm scared to death it's going to be Walter Nolan, and I'm going to walk out of this
Oh,
draft.
You guys need your secondary got just.
yeah,
You guys even have a secondary right
Yeah,
now.
You don't need a secondary when you can rush the quarterback.
I would take Nick
Right.
Amenwari right now. I mean,
I think that's what
Or
I
what-
would do.
James Pierce, Mikael Williams.
That means we're just waiting for them to throw the ball on our DBs.
Jade Barron. I know you guys were,
Yeah.
or I know Jason, you were kind of high on him.
I had him.
Um,
I had him going to the Cardinals. at
I'm sorry.
17. I had him going to
Jahad
Arizona.
Campbell still on the board.
Jahad Campbell's on. Yeah, they're
Kenneth
not going-
Grant. Kenneth Grant could be a stopgap. Malachi Starks is still out there.
I think they
wouldn't be
Derek
surprised if they go D
for
line.
Grant.
Derek Harmon's still out there, but I think
Kenny,
I had
did you-
him going to the
I
Ravens.
have them taking Nolan or Green. I guarantee it. The Niners know how to screw up everything.
Would
You'll
you
watch-
be pissed if they took Josh Simmons or Connolly? Would you be pissed?
I
off?
don't mind Connerly, but I don't want Josh Simmons. No, I don't want a guy with a patellar knee injury anchoring anybody. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Drake Jackson has a patellar injury. Richmond Westberg, remember him? He had that. Those people don't play, don't come back. They don't come back.
The 49ers pick is in. Boy, I've been waiting for this for a long time. Not that it's going to do anything because we're far way away of being a good team again. We need that guy right there on the commercial, Christian McCaffrey,
Yeah.
to be freaking healthy. That's what we need. If he's healthy, we would be good. But that's the thing. A lot relies on him.
What do you guys think of the state of your offensive line right now? How do you guys feeling about that?
That's
We
a
got our
mess.
next
offensive
season.
line.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a hot. That's why we
It's
need
a
to
mess,
draft
but
the
we
line.
have our starters. Nobody's breaking into that O line this year. You can count on it.
Yeah, we have, is Trent Williams going to give us 17 games?
No, 13 to 10 probably. But what's his name? Shanahan ain't putting no rookie on the O line unless he absolutely has to. And it's really hard to learn our system.
Here, Shanahan and I'm one of his biggest critics. I think Shanahan, this is it for him. I think he may have this year, maybe next year. He's got to do something because, the talk about how great he is and all the things he's accomplished, this, that, and the other. And his biggest claim to fame is choking away a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl.
He wasn't a head coach, though. And he wasn't
I
a
understand,
defensive
but
coordinator.
he's still, for all of the hype and hoopla that he gets, he needs to have something. They're not going to win the Super Bowl this year, so you're probably looking at next year. Like I said, I predict the Rams already to win the NFC West.
As long as
And
Stafford stays healthy, or else they're done.
Most likely, yeah. And the Rams.
But that's a lot of teams. That's the Lions as well. They're a Jared Goff hand injury away from being 6-11.
If the 49ers draft Shamar Stewart, like McNiner is saying right now, sorry to jump in, I'm going to flip out. Because
That's another guy they'll take, too, and ruin everything. Here's the thing. Andy Reid got 13 years with the Eagles, did absolutely nothing. Kyle Shanahan's been here for less than 10 years. He's been to 2 Super Bowls and 4 NFC championships. If you can't accept that. I don't know.
But Andy Reid went to 5 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so
when he was 70 years old.
Yeah,
But no. I'm talking about with the Eagles. With the Eagles, he went to 5 NFC championship games and 1 Super Bowl. So you're talking a difference of 1 Super Bowl, and
The
neither
Super
one
Bowl
of
is
them
the
won.
important one. The Super Bowl.
I get it, but I'm still, and now I will give him credit because he did it without like a rock star at quarterback. So I guess
That's a
you
big
can
reason
give
why.
him, you can give him that.
He also
credit
made
there.
Matt Schaub look like a fucking star, and Trey Johnson look like a star, and Matt Ryan into
he added
MVP,
probably another year or 2 to Matt Ryan's career at the time. So he's got, he's done some good. He's not a dog by any chance. I'd still, if Dan Campbell was to walk away tomorrow and the Niners would fire Shanahan, I'd be on the Shanahan bandwagon.
It's not the same thing, obviously, a head coach and a scientist, but scientists, the reason they do what they do, it's trial and error. They got to get shit wrong before they get shit right. That's just how it works.
Yep.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm still stuck on the question, what if Daniel Jones, man, beats out Anthony Richardson for the starting quarterback? I think he's gonna. Yeah, I think he's gonna, man. That's gonna be, if you're Anthony Richardson, if that happens, you're done.
I think Daniel Jones wins the job. I really do, because I think that he's more put together, more of a ready quarterback. He's been in the league. He's been at one playoff game, for God's sake, or two playoff games, won. But Daniel Jones is probably better than Anthony Richardson, even though Anthony Richardson's ceiling is sky high. Daniel Jones is a better quarterback at this point. But where the hell is Indy going, for God's sake? What are they? I think they may take Tyler Warren if he's still around. Indy. I mean, but the 49ers?
I'm surprised. I guess I'm not too surprised because it's still relatively early, but that he's Tyler Warren's still on the board.
You may be right, Jason, because look, you got George Kittle. Supposedly he's getting the deal done, but I don't know, man.
Yeah. What if the Niners take Tyler Warren?
That's what I'm thinking.
I would be all right with that. George Kittle's only got 1 year left, and he wants more money. He wants an extension. Maybe he would stay and take a hometown discount.
No, he's not going to do that.
Nah, he ain't going to do that.
So do you give him what he wants? What is he looking for? 20, 25 a year, something like that?
No way. He can't make that much. He's going to get maximum like maybe 16, 17
Dude,
a year.
He'll go to the Kansas City Chiefs for the next 5 years and win 3 Super Bowls. That's
probably. Oh, my God. They would pick him up. That would kill me. I'd probably stop watching football altogether.
That'd be insufferable. Chiefs fans are already insufferable.
But the 11th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.
No.
Take Michael Williams. Great job.
Okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm problem.
Not fine with that, but whatever.
I'm fine with that. I am. That's a good player right there. We need a defensive lineman to go along with Bosa, and we need more defensive linemen.
I mean, we had Floyd, we had Young, we had
over Jalen Walker. He went.
How many free agents that were already developed and good did we bring over to play across from that guy and it did nothing?
Yeah, well, let's see if this kid could do something different, man. I mean, geez. Now my phone's going to start going crazy. Here we go.
Yeah.
Boo. Yeah. Boo earns.
I got one of my boys saying I like to pick another.
Just for the record, I should have waited a little bit because before I should have redone my. Oh, you guys probably can't see it.
No, it's a little.
Well, I should have redone mine too.
Mikael Williams, number 11 to the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, nice job, man! I'll give you 10 points right there. Beautiful.
Jesus.
Excellent. Are you still doing the points? You don't even know who anybody picked.
No, I'm just.
No, this is just something. I went and redid mine after we did ours. I went and redid mine, and now I've probably hit on like 7 of the first 11, or got close 7 of the first 11, and I'm kind of wishing I would have,
Honestly, we're all doing pretty well.
Not really. I mean, we're doing like okay. I mean, our direct hits kind of stopped for a while. I mean,
first picks are usually easier to predict.
Yeah, those were. We continue to make O and D line priority.
Dude, I don't like this guy. I'm sorry, I don't like this guy's face, bro. He's weird, man. I'm sorry, I don't like this guy.
You don't like his face?
Look at his face.
Maybe he's scary enough to.
Why does he have his eyebrows? He's got his eyebrows done by his girlfriend or some shit, bro. It's not cool.
Oh boy,
he's a he's metrosexual there.
Yeah. I wonder what McNider thinks. He's probably going nuts over here.
I already said.
My wife's an esthetician. She does eyebrows and lashes, so he could have called her. She would have, she probably would have gave him a little bit of discount because he's going to the NFL.
That's what I'm saying. So
I would have told her to charge him double what she normally charges, but
they're saying better than Shamar Stewart, and I agree there.
I agree too. He's more polished. Look, he played in the SEC for all those years. Like, he's mad good, man. I'm down with this pick. I'm perfectly fine. The Cowboys got their pick in. I had them taking Ted McMillan. Now I think maybe they may go Matthew Golden. But
I think I had them going Golden. On my redone board, I had McMillan, but I screwed that up because he got picked earlier. But I think he's going to go because remember we talked about that's such a splash move. That's such a Jerry Jones thing to do. But they need to go along with CeeDee Lamb, who I've never thought was that great of a receiver. I thought he was the product of being the best of them.
12th pick in the NFL 2025 draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker.
12th pick.
Tyler Booker. 12th pick in the NFL 2025 draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker. 12th pick in the NFL 2025 draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker.
Ooh,
No
okay.
way.
Smart pick. Wow. They made a smart pick. I'm shocked.
Niners.
All right. Smart. Tyler Booker. Okay,
Wow.
there you go.
On
That's
my
a good
redone
move.
board, I had Booker going to the Lions.
Dude,
Zach
now all the
Martin,
good
Zach
lines
Martin is
gone.
gone, man.
Niners
Nope.
are going to take some scrub second-tier linemen now that aren't even going to start. What a joke. When Trent Williams is out, if Puno gets hurt, then Brock is out, and we're done.
Dude, what do you mean? We can't fix the entire team with one draft. It's not possible. We have way
No,
too
but you
many
can
more.
fix the offensive line with quality offensive linemen, not taking second and third tier guys that you think are going to be awesome, that when I
Sure.
looked at them last night are not even starters.
See, I'm going with Mikael Williams pick. I have no problem with that. I mean, they do need offensive line. I'm with you all the way. I don't know if they can trade back. They have a shitload of picks. Maybe they trade back in and get a Gray Zabel or something like that. If they're able to pull that off, I'd be pretty happy. McNiner doesn't love it or hate it necessarily. He's either way.
He's kind of indifferent.
I don't know what
that's-
offensive lineman would be out there, to be honest with you, though. I really don't. But Tyler Booker is a really good pick for Dallas right there. That makes a lot of sense. And Jerry was talking about the offensive line just the other day, as I mentioned before. So there you go.
Hey, you know how
And
many
I think the
penalties?
problem with what's that?
Do you want to know how many penalties Tyler Booker has had in the last 2 years? Want to guess?
25.
20-5.
That's crazy.
I
I think
don't
the
know
reason
how
they
I
didn't go.
guessed that. What's even crazier is that I guessed that. I had no idea. I just
I say
Uh-huh. That is good. Good shit.
under the helmet.
under the
I don't know
helmet.
how I feel about Mikael. That's another one of your
that's for sure.
49ers guys? Is that
Yeah,
another-
man.
You guys, I got to get some more Detroit and New York guys on
You
here.
roll
man. You
deep.
guys-
You roll
Jeez.
deep.
Hey, Carcast.
I'm assuming you guys are all Warrior fans. Oh, you probably not, Jason. 'cause
Not
you're
me.
actually-
No, I'm from New York. I got born into this 49er thing because my father was a front runner, and I was born in 1980, so he made me a 49er fan. That's basically what happened.
Oh, I'm a Pistons fan, so.
Good. Yeah. What's
Oh.
that? What's the?
You
You know
too.
what?
Oh,
What
God.
the hell is that game?
Playing my
I got-
Knicks right now.
I hate it.
What's the? I gotta check the score. I can't
Yeah,
believe
the Knicks
we've been
were
out-
winning last time I checked. I need to look at that now. I did throw a couple of dollars on them tonight, which I'm not doing so well in. Yeah, they're up 99-91 right now.
Eh,
Looks like that game's probably going to go over.
Only thing I'll say about that pick is at least it's not Walter Nolan or Mike Green.
I think it's a good pick.
I think they didn't go like somebody like Josh Simmons because I forgot Josh Simmons only started 6 games last year. So I think there was a lot of, and the year before that, Ohio State's offensive line was they were kind of deep, and I think he might have got lost in the shuffle. But the fact he only had 6 starts last year, I think that might be shying some people away. But there's a lot of people that still have him graded as a first round offensive lineman. I like Gray Zabel. I thought that's who the Niners might take. I mean, to be 6'6" and a guard, that's pretty. That's pretty formidable. You put him next to Trent
That
Williams.
means Brock Purdy will hit him in the back of the head. That's what that means.
Oh yeah.
If they could trade back in, I don't know. Well, now the Dolphins going, man, pretty much the best players have been Tyler Warren's still out there.
I can't
Sanders.
believe it. Well, I think
Yeah.
Tyler Warren might. I think now because
Yeah, this
Tyler Warren
might
might
be
go to the
spot.
Colts.
This
Either
might
here
be
or
the
the
spot.
Colts.
Either
Yeah.
here, I agree. Tyler Warren's not getting past pick 14. It's
No.
either Miami or Indianapolis. I'm with you.
So
Miami, look, they could go defense. They need help there. Maybe they get a James Pierce, or they lost Javon Hollins, so maybe a Nick Amenwari or Malachi Starks, whoever you like. I don't know. But Miami needs a lot of help. And you know what? Here's the thing. Tua Tagovailoa is that quarterback. And I'm sorry. I like Tua. I really do. But he's just not gonna get them over the hump. To me, he's like Brock Purdy. They're really, really good in the offenses, but if you rely on them to win for you, it's not going to happen.
I
Miami's
agree
gotta
with
move-
that.
Miami's going to move on eventually. It's not going to happen this year, but they got to move on.
And I guess the biggest question mark with Miami going into this next season is Tua going to stay healthy? His next concussion, he's done.
Yeah, man.
You
gotta think so.
can't play him in good conscience if you're the
It's
Miami
not
Dolphins organization
him.
and he ends up with another. I get it, but you can't in good conscience. I understand there's still money involved.
He's got to feed
But-
his family, dude.
Yeah, but he's made a nice little chunk of change over the last couple of years, so it's not like he's starving. But
Yeah.
I think in good conscience you can't. But the thing is, I think if he keeps this, if he's hurt and the Niner or Miami cuts him, he still gets the rest of his contract or something like that. If I read that correctly, so it's not like he just medically retires and then Miami's off the hook.
You think that
for
the
any
pick
money?
against the Dolphins? I thought it may be a candidate for a trade.
They would be smart to trade back.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah,
can,
because
if
they
they
don't
can,
need
they
it.
should.
Especially
made
when
it
you
work.
look at a lot of the best, well, not a lot of the best players, but some of the best players that you may have pegged for Miami originally are already off the board. So
Yeah.
I could see them trading back, even if it was to maybe the Packers or the Vikings, maybe
Well,
23-24, or
they're
completely
not
trade
now.
out of the first round.
They didn't. They
Oh, their
did
picks
make a
in?
pick. Yeah. So
I had them take
Will Johnson.
safety. I think.
that's I think they. I
Will
think they're
Johnson
going
or-
defense.
Yeah,
I think defense and I think secondary is where they go.
Will Johnson because it's on grass and that makes everyone feel better.
Jesus.
All right. Fine with me.
Hey man, a guy with listen, turf toe. Talk to Dion about it. That shit.
Yeah.
One of the few people
Oh,
that
yeah.
back on that shit.
Dion played almost his entire career with turf toe.
Yeah, and nobody does that.
He
shit.
was the best
Turf
player
toe's
in the
no
freaking
joke.
world.
Yeah.
Still dominated. Unbelievable. As we get closer to the halfway point, the pick is in, but they go to a commercial. What a bunch of jerks. Real freaking
Got to
smart.
pay them bills because they're not
Yeah.
making any money any other way, because
Really.
there's a lot of people unsubscribing to their app. There's a lot of people that are just
Oh, yeah.
ditching ESPN just for their
Okay.
political, just for the way that they've treated a lot of their talent, and plus they've gone too, they're too political, and they're too. I think ESPN's biggest problem right now is that they're full of themselves. But I'm not going to be out here bashing them. But I think they have a lot of issues that have, Disney's not helping the cause at all.
I think I told you guys that ESPN is on life support. They cannot compete with YouTube. NFL has NFL Network, and that's okay. They actually do well on NFL Network. But ESPN is coming out with their own app, and they're going to ask you to pay $30 a month for it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Not going to happen. Will not happen.
I'll bootleg it or
Jalen Walker's still there, though. What do you think about him to Miami?
Yeah, really. I mean, yep, he's still on the board. Wow. Shador, Tyler Warren, James Pierce still on the board.
Jahad Campbell's still on the board.
Yeah.
I kind of
All night for
dig
Mike
him.
Creek.
Some good players out there, man. Very interesting. Miami can go a whole bunch of different ways. They
Kenneth
almost can't
Grant.
screw up. Kenneth Grant's there.
Mikhail Williams is a good defender. Our run
Walter
defense
Nolan
sucked
wasn't even
last year. As for pass rushing, he needs to put in some work. Mikhail
So
Williams.
McNiner said Michael. It's Michael Williams, by the way. Is a
Oh,
good.
yeah.
No, it's Mikel. It's Mikel.
Are you sure? I've heard
Yeah,
people say.
I'm almost positive. I've heard Mikel quite a few times. What do you say? He's a good run defender. Our run defense sucked. I think he was trying to say sucked last year. As for pass rushing, he needs to put in some work. Huh?
Yeah.
He'll get coached up. Robert Sala's back, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yep. I
I
like that.
forgot about that.
Maybe they'll get somebody to protect Tua. We'll see what happens. If they're smart, they will. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, remember, it helps to have a
Man.
nice O-line if you want
A
to.
lot of these good O-linemen have been taken off as usual. I should have known better. These drafts always go that way. The offensive linemen go in the top 12.
Kenneth
15.
Grand.
There
Wow.
you go. I just called it.
Kenneth
He-
Grant.
He outplayed, he definitely did better than his rankings were supposedly going to do.
Kenneth
Look at
Grant going to South Beach. Look at he's
Oh.
happy.
Oh,
Going
God.
to South Beach.
this. Fresh.
Wow. All right. Okay, this is a
Oh,
I
big.
think our drafts are all gone off the
How
freaking-
many D tackles have been taken already? Holy shit! Look at this.
Which
D
is
tackles.
crazy in a super deep defensive tackle draft. I think, what, 2?
Yeah, two. I thought 3. Yeah, it's been.
Well,
two.
just
It
him
feels
and
like more.
Graham.
Yeah.
It feels like more. Maybe just because we're talking about them, I guess. But no, man, big guys are being taken, man. Still, we got some good
Oh,
players.
I got to
on
go
the
look at
board.
this.
So that means the second round is going to be a run on receivers and running backs
Absolutely.
and the rest of the
You guys want to see?
offensive linemen.
Look at the guys I have, my top defensive tackles. Who's Mason? Then Kenneth Grant. Let's
Yeah.
go.
That's
Yes.
They're my top 2. I mean, you guys want to see my stupid list? Jesus Christ, look at this stupid thing. Have fun looking at that.
I Snapchatted it or fucking screenshotted it, whatever you call it.
he said Snapchat.
I
That's,
Snapchat. I only,
that's
Showing your age, buddy.
I only
right. Jesus, right.
What's with these tic tac faces and these snap
The Facebook, right? The
Oh Lord.
hustling guys downfield. Look at that. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, all
Wolverines,
right.
baby.
Michigan is definitely doing pretty well in this draft so far. All right, who else? Who's gonna
Oh,
draft?
Colts
Mason
pick is
Brown.
in. Colts pick is in.
Who do they take? They take Tyler Warren, right? And why is Tyler Warren falling?
I'm something.
Well,
Does he have-
something
does
he was
have
hurt.
domestic violence. They're going to take Nick Scourton out of Texas A&M.
Oh wow,
No
I haven't
way.
gone 30 seconds.
Maxwell Hairston.
That's a good player. I got him going to the Rams, actually.
But that was a lot of hoodie right there, man.
The
I'm
Colts
just-
pick is in. Mike McDaniels is shaking hands, and he's got his little.
McNiner's on you a little bit.
Yep,
He said- he said-
McNiner probably can't hear me, but that's my second-ranked defensive tackle, baby. I'm all over this shit this year, bro.
no, he's brazzing you about. He
Kenny's
says
got
you know
every
what
pick right
Snapchat
so
is?
far.
That's why you got to put out the receipts, bro.
Kenny's got every pick right so far. They don't
No,
call
not
it
the picks.
pick,
That was.
it's
I'm just saying he was the second best type
Who am
defensive
I
tackle that I said in the draft.
That's who I'm missing. I'm JT Tuamalo from Ohio State. I knew I was missing some. He's edge rusher. Yeah, I
All
didn't.
right,
He
comes
had 12 and a
Goodell.
half sacks last year.
I'm waiting for the next trade that's
The
coming
Colts
out. I
are
smell a
making
trade
their-
coming real soon,
With
man.
the 14th pick, and they're going to take Tyler Warren. You know it.
Yeah,
In-
they better. Let's
Drafting
see.
up his coach Tyler Warren. We all got that right.
Yep,
I
there
got
you
that.
go. Tyler Warren, bada bing, bada boom. That makes sense for them. Look, one of quarterback's best friends, other than a running game and a great offensive line, is having that really big tight end over the middle. And this kid could play, man. I'm surprised he fell to 14, but I think Indy is really happy with that pick right there. That makes a lot of sense for them.
Look at Grandpa over there sleeping. He just woke up. Oh, the pick is in. The pick is in. Grandma laying there on the chaise.
Oh my goodness, that's great! What a shot right there! I can't believe they go in all these family homes, man. What an invasion of privacy! Terrible.
6'5.5".
My gosh! Wow.
And he can run. He had a couple 100 yards rushing this season too. So look at that, man.
He's a monster. Look at the
Jeez.
size of this guy. He's like George Kittle on steroids or something like that. I don't know, man.
I mean, Colston Loveland before Tyler Warren. And we said this, or at least I'm pretty sure I said it in one of our drafts, that there was word that Tyler Warren was hurt and Colston Loveland was moving up. Now, I'm not saying I took him before, but that's what I said because that's what I heard. I heard those rumblings. So something might be wrong. with
There
Tyler.
were, yeah,
Look
there
at
were
him
a
running
couple
the
of
jet sweep.
I mean,
Look at
he's
that.
skinny as hell, bro. He's not doesn't look like a tight end to me.
He's like a Dalton
Wide receiver.
Schultz.
He
He
looks-
puts me in the mind of because Dalton Schultz is kind of lean and mean like that. And Brock Wright for the Lions, their second tight end, he's like 7 feet 3 inches tall and like weighs like $110.
This guy looks absolutely legit. No doubt about it. He does.
And he played in the Big Ten, so you know that there's
Yeah.
there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, it's not like Penn State is known for their passing game, for God's sake. I mean, really.
Well,
Jeez.
especially with Drew what's his Aller.
With the quarterback.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
They haven't had a. I mean, I was a down low Penn State fan back when they had Kerry Collins and freaking Kajana Carter and Freddie Mitchell and all. You know, they came into the Big Ten their first year and they just destroyed everybody. I was happy and sad at the same time because they whooped everybody in the conference. That was
What do you guys
that was a
think?
hell of a team.
Derek Harmon, the next D tackle off the
Well,
board.
yeah.
You know,
Maybe so, but I think before that, I think we're going to see Atlanta take, at least I have Atlanta taking James Pierce Jr. from
Jalen
Tennessee.
Walker is still there.
Yeah, he is. Jalen Walker is still there. Maybe you guys are talking about his size. Maybe a lot of other teams had the same thing in mind.
Yeah,
And we also talked about this, which I heard. I'm not a scout. I don't know shit, bro. I admit it right now. But they were talking about Atlanta doesn't like to take Georgia Bulldogs. But if they pass on Jalen Walker, I think you're crazy. I had Miguel Williams going to the Atlanta Falcons.
I think they go D line, whoever it is. I think they go D because Atlanta. Remember, Atlanta has been trying to fix their defense for the last 10 years. We're going to shore up our defense every year. That's the narrative in Atlanta.
They may go in the secondary. They may go in the secondary because they're really not that good over there. As they thought they were going to be by making the picks with Simmons and then the other defensive. What's their?
Didn't they lose Grady Jarrett?
Yeah, he's on Chicago now.
Yep. So. Man, Chicago scares me. Jeez.
Well, it's up to Caleb Williams, man. He's got to make plays. He's going to have to step it up this year.
Because you got to remember, too, Aiden Hutchinson's not going to be 100% right off the bat. Aleem McNeil's not coming back until probably Halloween at the earliest. So there's still, even if they draft a defensive lineman, even if they were a miracle and they get Trey Hendrickson, there's still, it's like a work in progress on that defensive line. So they're not going to be 100% on that defensive line until, like I say, Halloween at the earliest, and it depends on how long it takes Aiden to kind of get back in the flow, because remember, that's his second injury like that.
That doesn't look good for the future, man. That could be a problem going forward, and the Lions may want to think about that. And you know what? Maybe you want to trade the guy when his stock is high, because if he's got an injury history and he's that young, you might want to do something about that, because otherwise you're going to be paying a lot of money for a guy who's not going to be playing ball.
But the problem with that is that by him being a hometown kid, basically, it would take, his legs would literally have to fall off before I think they traded him. I agree with you 100%, though. I mean, if he has a good year this year, I think his contract extension is year after next. So I think you go ahead and at least entertain the thought, at least take some phone calls, because you could probably, if he has 10, 12 sacks next year, you could probably get, a nice haul for him going into next year's draft.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea, man, because Detroit is going to be drafting low for a while, I believe. I think they're a really good team that's here to stay for a while. They got a lot of good young players. Yeah, you're going to have to start paying people, which is going to be a problem. But if they're smart about it, they can do really well. What do you think about your new offensive coordinator in Detroit?
Not really overly familiar with him. I know they were saying that he's got a lot of like Ben Johnson type tendencies. So, but the thing that I like is that people forget that that's Dan Campbell's offense. So I think he'll give the coordinators kind of their leeway a little bit, but I think for maybe the first half of the season, or until Dan Campbell gets comfortable with the in-game decisions, I think Dan Campbell's still going to have a huge influence on what the Lions offense does, because remember, he took over the play calling year before Ben Johnson came into his own. Year before that, I think 3 years ago now, Dan Campbell took over the play calling. When they went on that last eight of the last 9 games and almost made the playoffs. So
and not just him, but Aaron Glenn also. He's gone to the Jets. He was both coordinators. That could be a problem. I mean, that does happen when Philly lost both their coordinators a couple of years ago after that loss to Kansas City in the Super Bowl. 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it was. They took a hit the following year, but bounced back with Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore, who is now the head coach in New Orleans for the Saints, who drafted who was their draft pick again? The Saints. Who'd they take?
They took the Saints took Calvin Banks. They took Calvin Banks.
Oh, Banks. Okay, right. They took Calvin Banks. Yeah. Smart pick, but they're still far away.
The Niners, I'm sorry, man. Jalen Walker's on the board, and you go Michael Williams. I'm sorry. That's just stupid. Stupid.
I thought you were down on Walker, man, because of his size.
He's small, but I still love him. He's my number 1 linebacker in this draft, hands down. Dick Butkus Award winners don't usually play badly in the NFL.
Second behind what? Abdul Carter?
No, because he's a linebacker. You're talking about Ed. I had him at linebacker, number 1 linebacker, Jalen Walker. He's not an edge for me.
Well, we'll see what he is for some teams.
He's an outside linebacker, in my opinion, like a stand-up 3-4, could rush, could be your edge rusher on third down. He could rush the quarterback, but linebacker number 1 was that what I had him at. I think it's.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm thinking out loud. Go ahead.
Well, I wonder if maybe the Chargers might be interested in them, because they're going to a 3-4 defense. Not the Chargers, I'm sorry. Where did Brandon Staley go to? New Orleans. I'm saying New Orleans. Brandon Staley is now in New Orleans as the D coordinator over there.
Reuben Foster and Patrick Willis were Dick Butkus Award winners. I thought it was an easy one on that, but
I'm just looking over
like this, man.
I'm looking at the Lions coaching staff. I forgot they went out and got David Shaw for an offensive assistant. Does this name ring a bell? Bruce Gradkowski.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's an offensive assistant. Tashard Choice. They got Hank Fraley. I'm just looking over there since you brought it up. Yeah, he's their offensive line coach. I think one of the keys might be a little bit underestimated is the fact that they believe they were able to keep Mark Brunell. So that's going to help out a lot. But yeah, that's just some Detroit shit. So, but yeah, that's it. Like I say, the NFC North is going to be pretty exciting this year. A lot of people are down on the Packers. They don't believe that the Packers can repeat what they did last year. They think they were a fraud. They think that after that Dallas game, that Dallas playoff win, there's a lot of people that still don't believe in Jordan Love. I know, Jay, I don't think you're too high on Jordan Love. I'm not either. But you know, they're winning double digit. You know, they're winning double digit games, and
they got a really good coach.
Yeah, they didn't fall off. They haven't fallen off like everybody thought they would when Aaron Rodgers left. So,
right.
Atlanta's pick is in. Defensive line is probably going to be freaking Mike Green.
Mike Green, James
Jalen Walker.
Jr.
There was the obvious.
Jalen Walker.
Good for you, Falcons. Good for you. You made the right pick.
They made the right pick. Good job. And somebody from Georgia. How about that, Kenny? There goes that theory.
Still true, but it says they usually don't take Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, well, this time they did. So they took Jalen Walker, and maybe it'll be a steal at number 15. Not bad. As we get to the halfway point officially. What are we? Holy shit! What time is it?
It's an hour and 45 in, and we're just now halfway through the draft.
My goodness! All right, these guys got to speed it up a little bit.
I'm going to be the Walking Dead tomorrow at work.
No, right? No, oh man, I got a big day tomorrow too. Hey, boy, I don't even want to talk about it.
Right?
Right?
My day started 3:50 a.m. every day.
Oh gosh! Yeah, listen, man, if you got to jump off early, which I'm thinking about doing, do it, man. You got to get your sleep, bro. I understand. Believe me, I understand that. This thing goes on forever. Last year, the draft was on until midnight, and it was horrible.
If you guys got to go, I understand.
I'm going to hang in there for a little while, man. I think I'll probably be able to make it to the end of the draft. I might take a break or something like that. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom at some point.
I can't believe that we had the chance to get Jalen Walker, and we take Michael Williams, and it's a classic Niner thing, bro. They always think, you got to get that edge, because D Ford, and we went to the Super Bowl 2019. No, you fucked up, bro. Sorry. You fucked up.
D Ford. Well, all right, let's see. Michael Williams, look, he was highly ranked for a reason, so there's got to be some sort of reason why they took him. I don't know. Let's hope that it works out for the best, man.
Because they were running away from fucking Jalen Walker. That's why he had so many stats.
So are a lot of teams, man. Jeez, he fell all the way to 15. How about that? And he was going pretty high, man. He was mocking like the top 10 for, a shitload of teams. All right. Jalen Walker.
Look at that.
And they need it, too. They need a player like that.
And then you have people out here saying that Kobe Dean isn't good. I think you're crazy.
Oh, he's a good player. Another Georgia guy. Yeah, he's a good player.
The problem with people and their perception of certain players is that they expect everybody to come in and be Lawrence Taylor and Orlando Pace. And, they're coming in, and if they're solid contributors to their team, there's a reason why they're still on these rosters. The Kobe Dean probably, a lot of people probably thought he may be this super duper star, coming out of Georgia, but he's still a pretty good player. And no, he's not the ultra guy that everybody thought he was going to be. But there's reasons why these guys are still on rosters, because the coaches know more than we do as fans. And, not everybody's going to be the second coming of every great player in the league. As long as the guy can come in, and we say it all the time, that's the mantra of this show. Can he play football? Everybody's not going to have 15 sacks, 17 interceptions, and 15 pass breakups.
Come on.
He can cover his ground. He's a good linebacker. He's still got speed. He's still physical. He's still getting the job done. So I think a lot of people need to, it's not like Lewis Cine, who everybody, a couple years ago thought was going to be one of the best defensive backs coming out of the draft, and he kind of amounted to nothing. But I like the Kobe Dean. Isaiah Simmons, people are ripping him. Oh, he's a bust. He's not quite a bust. He's not the superstar that everybody thought, but he's still a pretty solid player.
Yeah, he was a top 10 guy, I believe he was drafted. Yeah, so he had a lot of expectations on him, no doubt about it.
We got to stop aligning player performance with numbers, because if you were to just reach in a jar and just blindly pick these guys, I think a lot of people's opinions would change. You look 2-3 years after the draft and he sucked because he was 5th overall. But if he was performing at that level and you picked him in the 3rd round, 4th round, oh, he's the greatest thing since pants with pockets.
Right,
so
exactly.
It's all about perception. Man.
Perception. We talk about that all the time. And what is the perception now in the Arizona Cardinals? A team that
this is my perception.
Let's see. I don't know. Maybe Barron is the pick here for the Cardinals.
Sorry, guys. I'm chewing candy, and I don't want everybody to watch me looking like a cow chewing on cud.
No problem, buddy.
I'll be right back. I just got to get this salad taste out of my mouth.
You do what you got to do.
I'm gonna leave that one alone because I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Too easy, right?
But oh man, you just put it on the tee for me. Why don't you? But yeah, I'll leave.
That was a layup right there.
This is a PJ. This is a PG-13 show. So
or set them up, you knock them down.
Right.
Well, they're showing.
I think they go Mike Green.
Who's sitting? Who is that sitting there like that? That's so stupid. You look like an ass. Get up, bro. Stand up straight,
thinking, man. He's big.
Stand up straight. What's wrong with you?
He's wearing dark glasses, man. People with dark glasses, they're cooler than us. They get to sit down and with the bling.
It's Jahdae Barron laying there like he's pissed off, bro. That shit looks bad, bro. Get real.
Barron, I don't know. That was my guy for this pick. I'm not.
Everyone else is in suits and stuff, and this dude's here with ripped jeans and a sweater, bro. Come on.
See what Matthew Golden. They go with Marvin Harrison and Matthew Golden, and Kyler Murray is a still future quarterback. That's the thing, Kyler Murray. Are you going to win big time with Kyler Murray? I think the answer is no, and you got to find a way to move on from him, man.
Get him.
How though? How do you do that and still keep your fan base relatively happy? And
Walter Nolan. I'm so glad he went there.
Oh wow.
That's a bad. What were you going to say, Prime? That's a bad pick.
No, I'm just saying Kyler Murray is probably one of the most polarizing quarterbacks in the league because people have such very, they're at either end of the spectrum. Either you love them or you hate them. I agree with you 100%. Though I don't think you can win the big one with Kyler Murray as your quarterback. And it's not that he's not good, but I think there's too many intangibles that he doesn't bring to the table. That you look at some of the better quarterbacks in the league. Statistically, he's as good as anybody.
Yeah,
but there's just something, I don't necessarily call it the it factor because that's cliched, but there's just something he's lacking as when you look at the other top quarterbacks in the league. And that's why a lot of times when people start ranking their quarterbacks, he's never mentioned in the top 10 or 12 quarterbacks. People are putting Dak Prescott ahead of Kyler Murray, which is insane.
And you know what? I don't even have really. Kyler Murray is a spectacular type of player, but he isn't the greatest quarterback. He doesn't always make the best decisions, and he's a shorter guy. So, yeah, it's harder for him. He's got great ability as far as running the ball, no doubt about it. And he does have a cannon for an arm. He's got a really good arm, and he can be accurate. But I mean, part of it you can say is, well, give him some more weapons and let's see what happens. Well, he got Marvin Harrison Jr. last year. Had a pretty decent rookie season, nothing crazy or anything like that. But I just don't know. Again, Kyler Murray is a guy that you're actually going to go ahead and win with. So maybe you try to find a way to move on from him. And I don't know, with the Arizona Cardinals now, and they tip Walter Nolan to go next to Josh Sweat. What do you think? You think that helps out? Because they picked up Sweat this whole season.
I said they'd go Mike Green here to go with Hendrickson.
You're talking about the Bengals. I was talking about the Cardinals. Okay, Bengals. I got them taking the safety, Nick Emenwari.
The Cardinals, I think I went defense or offensive line in our draft. I don't remember, but I wanted them to. Remember, I said I wanted to take Egbuka so that the 2 Ohio State wide receivers could be there.
All right.
I think I went with you, Jason. I think we picked Barron. I think I picked Barron in our draft to go to the Cardinals.
I took Barron for the Cardinals, which was way off. I don't get any points for that one.
But yeah, I think the Bengals need defensive help, and everybody's so wrapped up with what's going to happen with Trey Hendrickson. They got a lot of other holes to fill on that defense because, as we all know, that defense was probably the single reason that they didn't make the playoffs last season.
No doubt. There was some talk about trading Trey Hendrickson on draft day, maybe for like a second-round pick if a team was interested in paying him $36 million, but that's going to be hard to find, man, for a 30-year-old, and his name isn't Myles Garrett. I don't know about that.
That's just what people say when they want more money from their own team. I'm going to go here. You guys suck. TJ Watt leaving, Hendrickson leaving, Myles Garrett. Remember Myles Garrett was leaving? I was like, he ain't going nowhere. And he should have no say in where he goes. Zero.
$40 million. Where are you going? Nowhere.
Yep. He wanted a Super Bowl. Remember, it was important to him.
It was,
Yeah,
it was
very important. And then that big deal. Yep, Mason Graham is what made him stay. That number 5 overall pick.
Yeah, that's the game
Mason
changer.
Graham.
So what did he know? He actually said that he knew something. Oh yeah, I know.
I think he was full of shit.
No,
Totally
he may have
full of
known
shit.
I
about
think he
the
was full of shit.
may have known about the trade.
He was full of shit.
Or maybe he knew about the trade, but really wasn't informed about who they were going to pick. I think he may have been misled. You know, he was bamboozled a little bit, maybe. But you're making $40 million. I can tell you whatever I want to tell you as long as your check doesn't bounce.
Well, I don't believe a thing
Line
like
up and play football.
Unbelievable.
I don't trust that guy as far as I could swing a helmet at him.
Not now. And then not only that is that he jacked up the market. So now when the Lions have to pay Aiden Hutchinson, it's not going to be $30 million, $35 million a year. Aiden Hutchinson is going to want $45 million a year. Thanks a lot, Myles Garrett. You schmuck.
Yeah, you can thank the Browns again for resetting the market twice, quarterback and defensive end. Great job. What is Garrett's getting a bowl? All right, it's where the Browns go.
That's why every team, that's why every organization in the league hates the Browns. They already hated you for the Deshaun Watson thing, and now you go out and do the Myles Garrett. It's like you can't get out of your own way right now.
No. And they're gonna hate the Bengals too when the Bengals pay Jamar Chase $40 million and they make him the highest paid freaking player.
By the way, speaking of small hands, Jamar Burrow has more hands. So
yeah, that doesn't really seem to matter too much apparently.
Doesn't matter that.
Well, Kenny Pickett had small hands, and look what. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, now he's the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns.
Kenny Two Gloves. Oh my Jesus, Lord help them.
You know, you can exercise this to stretch your shit out. I just want you to know.
It's insane. I don't know. Yeah, there are little. You know, you can gain a couple of millimeters on you.
Right. And you know it comes down to those millimeters.
Probably, yeah. I was gonna say probably the bad thing is it only works on the hands.
Well, yeah.
You know, it is what it is.
Or you could just soak it in water for a while.
Oh my God!
Warm water.
Here it's the rails. I see the wheels starting to.
Yep,
the wheels starting to wobble.
They're coming off. That's exactly right.
Those first two lug nuts have come off the tires.
Remember, OJ's glove didn't fit because he wasn't on his anti-inflammatory.
Oh my God, he
just
played that.
Eat inflammatory foods for the rest of your life.
Right, McDonald's and Church's chicken and shit.
Church chicken.
Unbelievable shit.
Where are these guys camped out? That looks like it's Green Bay. I was gonna say that's got to be Green Bay or like Pittsburgh, right? Who else parties outside in the cold like that?
What are you watching on? What I mean,
it's on. It's probably you were probably still on commercial.
I'm on.
What are you? Yeah, I'm watching. I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch and see what the NFL Network is.
So am I. I'm gonna do.
I guess they're in Cincinnati. I'm guessing, but I think it was just outside of the Green Bay facility where they're doing the draft. I think people were just sitting outside.
Jamar Chase.
Oh, Adam Schefter's on. I don't know. Oh, damn! I turned it too soon. But yeah, I'm on the NFL Network right now. The pick is in. T. Higgins, 115 million. Well, that was a dumb move. 4 years, 150. That's ridiculous.
All that money into wide receivers, and again, what did you do last year? Nothing. You didn't even make the damn playoffs. God, if they don't go defense here, then just kick him out the league.
Here he comes. He's out there with his little white sneakers.
I was just gonna say Roger White shoes. He's out there.
Let him moonwalk to the freaking microphone.
Right.
All right, with the 17th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals take Shamar Stewart. Edge.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, they had to go defense, and they went with talent over stats, apparently.
Bro, I'm going to tell you right now, whoever did the mocks and thought they knew what was going on this year, we didn't know shit, man.
No, but it's like that every year. It really is. Every year we get thrown off. It's like, all right, we know picks 1 and 2, and then it gets screwed over.
I'm just going to say, I think the best anyone's ever done has picked 8 picks out of the 32.
Maybe. A green suit. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I think the most successful people are like 35%, maybe 40%
yeah,
accurate.
You know how hard
at
this
best.
is?
It is.
So
they try to make it seem like it's an exact. It's not, because
like
you don't know if you're unless you're in the room, or unless you're even Adam Schefter, if for as great as he is, and we all believe pretty much everything that comes out of his mouth. Yeah. You know, McShay and Kuiper and Peter Schrager and all these guys that do these drafts, as great as they are, man, they're like baseball players. You know, you can go 3 for 10 and still be a great player. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what these guys are with these drafts.
There you go, man.
Dude, I'm sorry. I laugh at these guys when they show them playing basketball. Bro, you're 6'4", 6'5". Yeah, anybody can play basketball when you're fucking 6'5".
Right.
Stop showing that shit. Show
Right.
me a guy that's 5'8" and playing basketball. That's impressive.
Give me Muggsy Bogues, baby.
Yeah,
Right,
Muggsy
Spud
Bogues.
Webb.
Exactly.
Nate Robinson,
D Brown.
Shamar
Remember
Stewart.
D Brown.
green suit.
Shamar Stewart, plenty of talent. Didn't really have the stats, but yeah, all right. So it was 40-yard dash for just 4.6.
No stats in his entire college career, and
Yeah, nothing.
Texas A&M. Scouting was able to get stats. Scouting, whatever his name is.
Somewhere Richmond Webb is very happy right now. Shout out to Richmond Webb.
Yeah.
Richmond Webb for the Hall of Fame. Remember that
Yeah, there
hashtag
you
on
go.
Twitter. We got to
There you
get him
go.
in the Hall of Fame.
Yep, no doubt. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. Richard, really, honestly, I mean, he is a friend of ours, but Richmond Webb absolutely should be in the
How
Hall.
is he not?
That doesn't make any sense to me.
There's
He's
no
the best
love
left
for all
tackle in the whole
Like,
decade.
love for them.
It was Larry Allen and it was Richmond Webb. Those were the two best left tackles that entire decade. Nobody was better. I'm sorry. I don't get it.
He knows we're pulling for him on this show, and I hashtag him on Twitter all the or
Damn
X.
right, baby.
Nice.
He knows we're a
Listen,
big fan.
we talked about it, even though we've been watching offensive tackles and offensive guards, whatever, go a lot in this draft for once, but people don't care about offensive line. That shit is not in anyone's sexy pick pile.
They don't care about them until they're bad. They don't care like the Lions. Before Penei Sewell and Tyler Decker and all these guys for years, the Lions offensive line was bad. So nobody cares about them until they suck. And then it's like, well, you need to go out and get an offense. You need to go out and get, the entire draft and go out and, get the highest paid free agents like the Chicago did and go out, But you're right, though. Nobody gives it that. They're the unsung heroes, man. You can't do anything without them.
Here, can I read you a comment from some jackass? Kelvin Banks lost himself a lot of money this game. Think he went from top tackle consideration to a late first-round pick. Ass munch.
What was that, after the Georgia
4
game?
months ago, ass munch.
That was after the Georgia game?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
And it wasn't even exact. I went in there. I'm like, that wasn't even on him. That was on Ewers. Ewers is not a mobile quarterback, bro.
And what
And then
people
if
don't
you
understand,
Happened. Banks is like, what are you doing? He's like, what are you doing?
You guys might not even get drafted, for God's
right?
sake.
And what people don't understand, Kenny, and I'm sure you guys agree with this. Scouts have their mind made up. So Kelvin Banks was going to be high on the board. That one game wasn't. I mean, unless he gave up 17 sacks and broke one of his legs, he was going to be. He was still going to be a top pick in the draft. So a lot of people don't realize that when they start running their mouths and making comments like that. These scouts and these general managers and all these people who predict all this stuff, they have their minds already made up that these guys are going to be high draft picks. So one game here or there is not going to make or break.
What do you guys think happens here? You think they go Gray Zabel or below it?
Seattle?
Yeah.
I think they go Matthew Golden.
I think they go Matthew. I got Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden. That's where I think he goes. It makes perfect sense to me. Give Sam Darnold somebody else to throw the ball to, for God's sake.
I say Buka and Jigba. That shit just works. Selling is like that.
If they have him higher up, look, I think whoever the highest pass catcher on the board is, that's who they should take.
Yeah.
All right. And also, Sam has a 1-year deal, really. It's really a 1-year deal.
It's like a 1-year deal.
Out when they replace him.
Question. Since we're on the subject of Ohio State wide receivers, where does Jeremiah Williams go if he comes out next year in the draft?
Oh, wow. Okay, next year. I was going to say, I don't know if he's eligible.
Actually it would be the year after next because he's a freshman. You got to stay in 3
He was
years.
quietly very, very good. Who knows by then, dude? I honestly, I don't know. Maybe right outside the top 10 wide receivers, I think.
What if Jeremiah Smith gets picked?
Gray Zabel.
All right, good
Gray
pick.
Zabel to Seattle.
They went, everyone's doing smart things except the Niners. What do you know?
Yeah. All right, Gray Zabel. He could play all over the offensive line. We know that. Guard, tackle, wherever, man. So
Imagine this guy at center. I mean, that would be fantastic.
That makes sense, man. All right. Well, I guess the Chargers are not going to have to trade up in order to get a wide receiver over here. I mean, to me, they got to take Golden or Burden, right? Or Agbuka, whoever they think is top. The Chargers got to get another pass catcher.
The Chargers wanted Warren or Loveland, and I think that's in the can now. So you're probably right. Wide receiver, or possibly they go defense because their defense was really what saved them last year, don't you think?
It was mostly, because
I would say a cornerback is very much in play here.
Quarterback's in play, sure. Asante Samuel is gone.
Yeah, but he's still out there.
He's
Well,
still out
if-
there. We
here,
were hoping
let's-
that we were going to get him.
Let's just be honest. If Will Johnson's sitting there at 22,
Oh shit, that's
Harbaugh's going to take him, and he plays on grass.
Michigan
I'm
guy.
right
Yeah.
now.
He's
If
not.
Harbaugh-
Harbaugh is not. Maybe in the second round, whatever. Harbaugh's not going to let a Michigan guy get past him. I just feel
Well,
that
listen,
with all
Ja'Day
my heart.
also out there. Would you really take Johnson instead of
Well,
Barron?
Jahad Campbell's still out there too. I mean, they see. I mean, I'm kind of with Jason on the. You need to give Justin Herbert somebody else to throw the ball to.
I gave Jahad Campbell to the
Matthew
Rams.
Golden. I think Matthew Golden would be a hell of a pick there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I would be shocked if Harbaugh let Will Johnson get away from him like that, especially with Grant and Mason Graham already gone. He was probably thinking he would get one Michigan guy, but with Kenneth Grant being gone already, probably earlier than a lot of us expected.
Yeah.
Will Johnson's the only other Michigan guy left on the
No,
board.
that makes sense, man. I mean, not just because he's a Michigan guy. It does make sense because they do need a cornerback now,
Yeah.
and you want to get a guy like I had him falling to the Packers, but that's a really good pick right there. I think they may go there, the Chargers. Yeah, I had them taking a wide receiver, Luther Burden, but I think they may go Matthew Golden. But I like that pick.
There's a lot of good players still out there right now.
There are, man.
There are,
This
yeah.
draft is, I
Derek
think,
Norman.
as you see guys get off the board, you still realize, man, there's still a lot of good players
Yeah,
out there.
there are.
Corey Malachi Starks.
What
Yeah.
and is Pittsburgh going to draft Shador Sanders at number 21? I can't wait to get there. That's going to be fun.
I don't know, man. I think that they.
I'll DoorDash you a steak
like
dinner
that.
and say yes, they will.
Who was the coach that came out and said before the draft that they didn't like Sanders? He had a huge attitude. He walked in there like he was hot shit, and they were.
Yeah, I don't know who said that, but yeah, that somebody did say that. I didn't get that from him. Every time I see him, he seems very respectful and
I just get the guy. He's a smart ass. He's cocky, and that doesn't bother me. I'm
Hey,
not
his
offended.
father was
talk
the cockiest person on the planet.
Ever.
I don't
Wonder where he gets it from.
Yeah,
You can't
really.
be intimidated by that. That's just like, that's a guy. That's just his style. You
Yeah,
can't.
he's his father's son, man. There ain't no doubt about it.
Hey, I'm gonna step away for a hot second. I'll be right back.
All right, man. So Tampa Bay.
So who's the only people off the board here at wide receiver? Hunter and McMillan, right?
Yeah, Tampa Bay. I don't know why I said Chargers. Tampa Bay is picking. I'm sorry about that. Tampa's picking
Oh,
right now.
yeah, it's
So
Tampa.
I had Jahad Campbell going.
I sent Jahad to the Rams.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to think who I think this is where I put Pierce, maybe.
That would
Yeah.
make sense.
I didn't write. I'll like I said,
Tennessee?
I'll check that shit tonight. I'll write what we all took, just because like I'm doing it, not just what I'm saying. 'Cause I'm going to be doing it anyway, so I'll just write what we all.
Hey, man, if you've got the time, that'd be great.
Yeah, I always, whenever I watch shit on YouTube, Jason, I go to X2. I watch shit twice as fast because I can't watch everything at fucking slow motion. So, like,
Yeah.
I put the captions on and I put the times too. So everything is, so if a 30-minute video becomes 15 minutes, and that's huge.
Nice. Good deal, man. That's smart. Good thinking. Good
I
freaking-
can't wait till next year now because I really only got into this draft like the last 2 months, but I'm gonna be on this shit as soon as like the college season is over next year. I'm gonna get right on top of these drafts.
Hell yeah, man. Time to know what's up.
And it's
Oh,
good to know for fantasy too, because guys are gonna be fantasy players.
That's right. That's right. We gotta know who's the guy. No shit. Make some money in fantasy, baby. All right. So what does the Bucks do? Tampa Bay. The pick is in. Pick number 19. Defense. I'm with you on the defense, man. And Pierce is still around. I got no problem with that.
You took wide receiver, right?
No. I was talking about the Chargers. I made a mistake. I had them taking Jahad Campbell.
You had the Buccaneers taking John Campbell?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was thinking about that because I have Devin White, Levante David, obviously a little bit older now, even though there's what do you call it? Devin White's still very young, obviously.
I love watching this shit in the I'm getting a bunch of like notifications. They're not comments that I made. I made other comments in these threads, but like how people have been waiting all year to like get you, not me, but like get other people.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting all this stuff like, oh, good job, LOL, and like all these laughing emojis for people that said stupid shit like 2
God.
months ago, and everyone like was just waiting to come back and like yell at them.
It's so hard to get this shit right. It's
That's so YouTube, man.
March Madness is way easier than the first round of the NFL mock draft. No freaking doubt about it. No question. All
This
right.
was fun, man. This definitely threw me for a loop. This is some wild shit tonight.
Oh, it always, that's the thing, man. We don't know. Like, these guys are on a different planet, man. They live, breathe, eat, sleep, shit football. Everything is football to them. That's all.
No,
they
I would
do.
love to do that.
They don't care what Tom, Dick, and Harry had to say. It doesn't make a difference to them. They do what they think is right, and they go back. That's why they're scouts, and they all year long they go to college games and they watch tape, and that's their fucking job, man. It's crazy.
I also, you get to learn shit. Like, here I am. I'm like, Todd McShay. Todd McShay knows his shit. I know he does. He always gets shit right. And, like, I lived by what he said, and now it was wrong. And now I know.
Yeah, man.
Not Todd McShay or anything, but, like, yo, you were off 99%.
Anybody. Look at any of these mock drafts. I mean, who did I have up? Daniel Jeremiah before. Everything was going fine. For like
Pete Prisco, you got Mel Kiper, and they're all over the place.
Daniel Jeremiah. He did good in the beginning. Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell.
Egbuka. They picked. Buccaneers took a wide receiver. I swear that you took a wide receiver at some point or talked about them taking a wide receiver at some point.
I don't know.
Or maybe it was Prime. I think it was Prime, maybe.
I don't really understand why they did that.
I don't either. Because
you got Mike Evans and
solid
Godwin. Wow. That's
actually a good pick.
You like that pick? I feel like they should have gone defense.
You're in there with a couple of veteran wideouts. 30 seconds.
I mean, it's not a terrible pick, and I know you like Egbuka, Kenny. So that that worked out in your favor, right there.
I do, and I'm not too far off because I had him ranked as my second best wide receiver. Tet was my fourth. Now we're just waiting on Luther Burden and Golden right now, right?
Yeah. I thought Golden would have gone a little bit higher, but okay. Wow, this is interesting with the Bucks over here. All right, I thought they would have gone defense.
Really hard for the Bucks to not win the NFC South. They're gonna have to really blow it.
Man. They're gonna own it.
Bucky, you know who I want as my fantasy quarterback next year now, probably, right?
Oh, Baker?
Baker Mayfield.
I won the championship with him this year, bro. I won the whole thing with Baker.
I had Jaden Daniels, and I lost my championship. I told you how. His interception, 2 points.
What a killer.
We tied. The other person and I tied until that interception was the only. That's wild, man.
Bad. That is pretty wild. Talking about coming down to the end. Damn.
Yeah.
1,000 receiving yards in 2 of the last 3 seasons for Egbuka. All right, kid from Ohio State, man. I mean, a lot of people talk about Jeremiah Smith as being like the better guy, but
I don't know that he's better, but he's very good, and he
is very good.
For another 2 years, he's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. So, David, I really like the headphones, man. Now you're making me envious of the headphones.
Well, actually, I was I went to Best Buy right after I got off work, and I had a microphone.
I will be right back.
That I was going to get, but when I got there, they didn't have it. And he says, "Well, I have it at another store, but I didn't have time because I had some other stuff to do. I had to get back home, get my wife off to work. So I'm probably next week I'll probably have my Yeti microphone, and then I was gonna get another webcam." But nice. I like this. This is the built-in one on my computer. I got one of those all-in-ones. The problem is that up here on the ridge, it's so thin that I don't have anything really to clip it to without it hitting, clipping to the screen.
Yeah.
So I don't really know if I want to do that, but yeah, I get a microphone.
A little tripod might not be so, or you could set something up and clip it to there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I'll probably run both, because what I want to do is I'm gonna get the microphone. I'll probably have a boom, very Colin Cowherd style. That's my. I love Colin Cowherd. I know a lot of people don't, but I love Colin. But yeah, I'm gonna give him a microphone. I actually had a podcast bundle that I was gonna order. It's got a little sound card and everything too. But for now, I'll probably just grab this mic. It was like $160, and Best Buy has it right now for like $99. And my wife got me a gift card when I got my computer fixed, so I still got money on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a microphone and kind of jazz it up. I like these headphones. I just the red cord kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, but
no, I you can't really tell. And if you're wearing Giants shit or Detroit shit, it kind of just works.
Yeah, I had to switch jerseys. I went from Saquon to Eli.
So were you talking about Colin Cowherd?
Yeah, that's my guy. I know a lot of people don't like him.
No, you either love him or hate him, and I used to hate him, and now I love him. He is a one-man show. He is unbelievably entertaining and smart and in the know. He
Why
is
has his
really
own
good.
show?
He is really good at his job, man. I give him I love listening to him when sometimes in the afternoon I have to drive for work or whatever, and I put that on. Great show, man.
I don't think I've ever disliked the guy, but if I dislike someone, here's what always happens. I wind up liking them because I'm there and we're talking shit back and forth, and eventually we just become friends. That's kind of just what happens. Yeah, that's what the guy, remember I told you the guy who said Calvin Banks was trash and that Todd McShay said he was trash and that. I went back yesterday and now we're like friends. So
There you go.
yeah. I feel like that's a great opportunity, you know? You can't make up with someone like that you're already friends with, right? You can
Right.
only like yeah.
The fact that Pittsburgh hasn't traded up makes me think they may not take Shador. Now they're 2 picks away. We got the Broncos first, and
Well, let's say they don't go quarterback. What do you think happens?
if they don't go quarterback,
They have to.
they would have to probably go offensive line. But
They did that 3 out of 4 first 4 picks last year, though. Remember they took Frazier,
Mhm.
they took
they got to
Fowler,
hit eventually.
and you know what? Sadly, they didn't have the best offensive line, but he had 3 rookies on the line last year, so it'll
Yeah,
get
man.
better.
Oof, it's tough. Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
in a tough spot. But Denver first. I like Omarion Hampton to go there.
I could see
I do
that.
too. That's why I got him right.
I think
my
we all
revised
picked
board.
Omarion for them, didn't we? Or no, I went wide receiver 2 in our draft, and I gave them Golden.
Now that would be a good pick. That would be a really good pick.
Yeah, it would.
I would be fine with that. Yeah.
See what happens if they stop playing commercials.
Yeah, forgot enough of this. The pick is in. Tell us already. Got to wake up in the morning for work.
Yeah, I mean,
Man, you got to
they're
feel
all-
bad for like the people who do the morning shows, like the 6 a.m. morning shows, who've got to watch this whole entire thing and they freaking wake up in like 2 hours and go to work.
Right. Well, then and then they got to review it, and then they got to do all their notes, and then
Right.
they got to So Mike Greenberg's going to be a walking zombie tomorrow
Oh
when he
my
does
God,
get up.
These guys ain't sleeping. Forget it. They're all on Adderall right now. Forget about it.
Oh my God! You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Mike
That's how they
Greenberg
keep it
addicted to
going.
Adderall. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. No slander. I love
We
Mike
are
Greenberg.
kidding, of course. We're just joking. We are
All right, Denver, give me Omarion Hampton. Give Bo Jackson. Bo Nix a running game.
Bo Jackson would be nice. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it would.
Hey, no more Javonte Williams. Let's see what they do.
They're happy about it.
Offense makes sense. Well, 100%.
Peyton's lost a lot of weight, man.
Oh, what are you on ESPN?
No, they just show. Remember, I'm like 15, 20 seconds ahead of you guys.
Yeah, you are ahead. But yeah, you say it when the pick comes in. Say it, man.
Okay. Yeah, I always read it as soon as because I have the captions on. I'm not listening.
Gotcha. Yeah,
If
no, I'm
you're
not
looking
listening.
up-
to you.
When I minimize my screen, do you guys see when I'm
Copyright.
about to minimize? When I minimize it, do you guys still see me on camera?
Yeah, fully.
Okay.
Yeah, you're all there. Well, the pick is in, so let's make
Omarion
it.
Hampton. Who's that little guy with the Justin Bieber windswept
He's
hair?
the GM
Yeah.
for the Broncos.
Is he?
No, but he probably in 10 years we'll probably see something like
Maybe
that.
his son. I don't know. This is Make a Wish, so it's
Oh.
probably something important, which we all respect 100%.
Jeez, yeah.
But we have the volume off, so we're going with what we can see.
Yeah, I don't even want to have it on a little because they'll do copyright on us.
Yeah, that.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, because I actually have my volume on. You're right. I forgot all about that.
Luckily, couldn't hear it.
Oh
Yeah, we couldn't hear it though.
The background music.
Kid's
drowned
gonna
it out.
read it off, and
So
he's
is it-
gonna do it right now
Is it Golden? Is it Hampton?
with the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Denver Broncos select Jahdae Barron. Holy
Wow.
shit! They're Shannon Barron.
Wow,
Wow.
they are beefing up that defense, man.
Yo, they're
Okay.
not fooling around with that defense. Now they look at him. There he is.
Wow,
He's pumped.
they really beefed up that defense, man. They Barron, huh? Okay.
He's
He could
shushing.
play a lot of Nickelback, from what I'm understanding.
Bro, man.
Wow, that's a surprising pick for me.
Bro, they made sure that corner is going to be impossible to throw on them if you're Mahomes.
That's what
they
they're
just
trying
did.
to do, man.
Yeah,
Denver's trying to really compete.
Yeah.
But man, they're going to have to spend a lot of time on offense in the second and third rounds.
Wow.
Man.
I love it. I love it.
Because right now,
So now,
their offense is anemic. They scored 7 points against Buffalo in the playoff game, and they
Yeah.
scored in a minute.
But
And
that's
then-
like when the Redskins went up against the Eagles. You're not in the same league. You're just not there yet. Just wasn't
No,
time.
that's the thing. They're not there yet. But if they want to get there, they're going to have to start making moves. And
Well, listen, you got a lot of good running backs that are still there. So
I was just going to say,
Absolutely, yeah.
so now when we look at the rest of the teams, does Hampton fall out of the first round?
I believe so. I believe.
I like the Vikings may take him.
Oh yeah, the Viking, maybe the Packers, maybe.
I got the
That's
Vikings.
possible. Well, they got Josh
on
Jacobs.
L.
They got Josh Jacobs, Green Bay, so probably
Yeah,
not.
they got Josh. Yeah, you're right.
The Commanders.
The Commanders, I think they're going to go either wide receiver or defensive line.
Okay. Wide receiver, I see. I had them taking actually Emeka, but he's gone already. So I could definitely see wide receiver with Washington. All right. So now Pittsburgh, the one we've all been waiting for over here, does Shador Sanders finally get taken? This is it. You go now.
I think
or-
it does. You have no quarterback right now, and even if you sign Aaron Rodgers, you still 1-2 years at the most if you're lucky.
Oh yeah.
Come on,
And-
Jalen Milrow. Come on, Jalen Milrow. Make me look like a genius.
I have
you know what?
Jackson Dart. I have
Yeah.
Jackson Dart, so I don't know. But I've been hearing that he may go ahead of Shador. But they got to take a freaking quarterback.
Look, we all hear this shit second, third, fourth, fifth hand, right? But what I heard was Tomlin fell in love with Milrow, man. That's what I heard.
I'm not.
No, people do not like him. They don't like him.
He's
I
so
just-
raw.
He's
So raw.
what a lot of people, when you're looking at the Mac Jones and all these quarterbacks that have come out of Alabama, they're throwing the receivers that are like 17 yards wide open.
Yeah.
You know,
Like-
a lot of times, and a lot of people don't realize that. It's like, okay, yeah, it's not the Bo Nix or the those types of guys that are throwing in the tight windows that are making every single throw on the chart. These guys are throwing, their receivers got 5-6 yards of separation, and it makes them look better than what they actually are. That's why a lot of times you see the Ohio State quarterbacks, other than C.J. Stroud, don't do that well. You see the Alabama quarterbacks don't do that. They're throwing these, you got Calvin Ridley and Amari Cooper, and all, it's like, come on, you should look good when they're 15 yards ahead of everybody else. But
No doubt.
Pittsburgh might throw a curveball. There's still there's a lot of good players left.
Maybe they
They
like
might go
Jackson-
Eminori.
Maybe they like Jackson Dart over Shador. It's very.
Oh, that would
possible.
be a curveball because
Man,
I think the Giants want him.
I think the Giants want Shador. I think the Giants really want Shador, and they're going to trade back in the first round somehow.
Yeah,
I
they're
really
around
do.
too late, the bastards.
Unless they trade back in, they got to find a partner. Maybe the Rams. Maybe the Packers. I don't know. We'll see.
What do the Rams?
With the 21st pick in the draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers take Derek Harmon, defensive.
Whoa!
Wow.
Whoa! Whoa!
Wow.
Derek Harmon. Wow. So they're just trying to beef up the defensive line with T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward, and now Derek Harmon and
actually not
Hightower. Highsmith. Excuse me. All right? You're gonna have to deal with that. That's not going to be fun for Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and whoever the freak the Cleveland Browns are going to put out there.
And I'm glad you said that, Jason, because another thing that fans don't realize is that you're not just picking for what you think your team needs. You're picking for the opponents that you have in your division. And when you're in the AFC North and you're going up against all those good quarterbacks, or in Denver's case, the NFC or the AFC West, it's not just about this is what we need. It's about what can we do to surpass or to make life miserable for the other quarterbacks and stuff, in that division. And I think this, now you get, look at that. They got, look at the defense that, they're showing Harmon and Hayward, Watt, Joey Porter Jr., Minka Fitzpatrick. Pittsburgh's got some studs, and that's what they do. They got some studs on defense. You'll figure things out as you go on offense, but I'm not mad at that pick.
Yeah, you see, to go along with what you said, your first job when they get into camp, what is your first priority? Win your division.
Yeah.
So yes, you have to match up with the teams in your division and do what's right. That's why Denver got another guy in the secondary to deal with Mahomes and to deal with Justin Herbert, whatever's going to happen with the Raiders, okay? And it just makes sense why Pittsburgh would go ahead and do this. They're not in love with the quarterback yet. If they're going to roll with Mason Rudolph for a while, fine. They're not going to win a Super Bowl next year anyway, probably. So maybe next year's draft, they do it. Or maybe they get lucky in the second round. They draft back in. I don't know. But this pick, all right, more defense. And the guys like TJ Watt, who do go out quite often, you're going to need as many bodies in there as possible.
That's right. They're thinking about hanging some drapes, and it might be a steel curtain.
Yeah.
Bang. Look at this sound. That's
he's here all week, ladies and gentlemen.
So now with the Chargers, man, Matthew Golden's still on the board. Omari and Hampton, would they do that?
Interesting.
Harbaugh likes to run the ball. I wouldn't put it past him.
They took a guy last year who was supposed to be a good running back. He didn't play much. I forgot his name already. But remember, he stepped in for a little while.
I'm trying to remember who you talk. I do remember. I think his number was 23. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Not a funny name, but it's like a different name. Like, I just can't remember it right now.
I'm not sure either, but I do. Yes, I do remember. Yep. Damn, what was his name? Shoot, should look it up.
Well, do they still have Dobbins, or is he gone?
No, he's a free agent. He's still a free agent.
They do need a running back, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They also lost Puna
they picked up Najee.
Najee Harris,
oh,
right.
Okay.
But are you really good with that guy being your starting and like that's it, Najee Harris?
Well, him with the other guy, maybe.
It was Kamani Vidal, by the way.
Yeah.
Kamani Vidal.
Yeah.
Because he's like a fast scatter guy, right? And so Najee's going to go with his head down, right? Is that those guys? Is that what we're talking about?
Najee's 3 yards in a cloud. It does.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Well, here's the thing with Najee. He's kind of polarizing, too, because he had 4 straight years of 1,000 yards. But a lot of people are going to say, well, if you look at his average yards per carry and he didn't have any 100-yard games and this, that, and the other. But, if you're basing the success of your running back on 1,000-yard seasons, which a lot of times that's the standard.
In 17 games, that's like 45 yards.
It's 58 yards a game.
But look how many guys don't get to that point though, and they and they start 14, 15 games. So
true.
I mean, I'm not trying to sell anybody on him, but it's just goes to show you how, and we just talked about perception. If one guy does it, David Montgomery runs for 1,000 yards, and people are like, oh my God, he's just totally awesome. And I know he's splitting carries with Jahmyr Gibbs, but Najee Harris does it for 4 straight years, which is still a big deal. Not a lot of running backs do that, but it's just, they start breaking it down, looking average yards a carry, not, average yards per game. He doesn't have a lot of 100-yard games, but, he fit well in their system, and, we'll see what he does in San Diego.
I was very disappointed in Devin Singletary last year. That's what I'll say.
Devin Singletary?
Yeah, I always loved him, and I always loved Montgomery. And on my fantasy teams, that's who I wanted in the beginning of the year as my running backs, both of them. I didn't get them, but I thought they would have done fantastic, and Singletary kind of didn't work out last year.
Yeah, he was given a couple of chances here and there with a few different teams. And
I heard people complaining about Tyrone Tracy. I'm like, I'll take Tyrone Tracy any day of the week.
He's a good player, man. No, I'm cool with him. Yeah,
and Theo Johnson will be back next year, who I also like. Theo Johnson.
Yeah, that's not what the Giants have to do. That obviously. So yeah, man. But I still got this feeling the Giants are going to draft back in, or maybe they'll just wait until tomorrow and take Shedeur.
You might be right about the Eagles. I mean, they're basically drafting for depth at this point, so why not trade your 32nd pick, get some more capital? This is a deep-ass draft, and knock yourself out on these defensive players, man.
No doubt, man. That's what I said. I said the Browns would trade back in with the Eagles, the very last pick, and take Jalen Milroe. Still possible. It's on the board. But, yeah, for this next pick for the Chargers, to me, you got to go offense, but with Jim Harbaugh, it wouldn't surprise me if they go defense. I mean, he loves defense. He's all about D. So, who could he take?
Mike Green is sitting right there.
Yeah, Mike Green's still there. Jahad Campbell is there. If you want a corner, which you need a corner, Maxwell Hairston possibly.
Well, like I say, and then Will Johnson Starks is still there.
Yeah, Will Johnson. Yeah,
there's still some pretty good players out there.
James Pierce is still around. There's some good guys out there.
I went to McNider's Pat and I said, I think I saw Mike Green on a milk carton.
We were talking about that last week, and when you go to a school like Marshall, you don't get all the love, man.
That's right. You know who else didn't go to a big school? Lawrence Taylor. Max Crosby didn't go play much competition. There's people out there that always, they still make a name for themselves.
They do.
Jerry Rice, by the way. And by the way, Randy Moss went to Marshall, so
that's right. So did who was it? Byron Leftwich. He went to Marshall, right?
Yep.
Byron Leftwich. Remember that guy?
Chad Pennington.
Oh, that's funny because that was a question. Remember that was one of your trivia questions.
Yeah, that's right. Pennington. I loved Pennington. He was great. He used to do this thing where he would fake that he was going to throw long and then dump it off like 5 yards down the middle to his running back. He fooled the defenders all the time that he was going long, and he'd get them to start pedaling back, go back, and he would just dump it to his running back. It was great play. The Chargers going down to the last minute over here, man. Holy shit.
And then the Rams after them? Is that who's after them?
Then it's Green Bay.
Okay. Green Bay, the Vikings, the Rams, the Bills.
Still got the Texans in there.
The Eagles, Texans,
Lions, Commanders.
Yeah.
And maybe
Ravens.
we haven't seen a trade in a while. Maybe
So Josh Simmons is still out there. I think that the Texans pull the trigger. If not, maybe they go wide receiver.
Did we just have the one trade? Was that it?
In the beginning, I think that was it.
Wow. Normally there's a lot more, huh?
I expected a lot of teams to make some trades in this deep draft,
Yeah.
Well, and I thought, and two, we're just now getting into the 20s, so this is where I'm thinking if there's going to be a lot of movement, then this is probably where it's going to start.
Yeah.
Ravens, I forgot about them.
Actually, I agree with you, Ken. I actually got my revised. I had Josh Simmons going to the Texans.
Yeah, no one thought. I didn't think he'd fall there, but if he does, I think that's an easy one for them.
That's where I had Walter Nolan going. I thought he was going to fall to the Texans.
I forgot where he went. Where did he go again?
Nolan went to Seattle, right?
No,
he went to Arizona.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what? That would have been another good spot for Mike Green also. Like Mike Green or Nolan, that makes sense. And I could see that because remember they have the Philly defensive coordinator now, right?
Vic Fangio? Or Jonathan Gannon.
That's it.
Yep.
And then Sweat is over there. Didn't he go there? So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now that kind of worries me a little bit about the Cardinals.
It's not a dumb move right there.
Because,
it's a winnable division. I mean, the Rams are right now the cream of the. But I wouldn't say that they're a great team like people.
It all relies on Stafford. It's all on Stafford's arm.
Yeah, his health, no doubt about it, man.
The pick. Okay, so the time ran out fucking 5 minutes ago. The pick is in for another.
I know.
We're still waiting for the Chargers.
Let's go.
Ridiculous.
Say Matthew Golden and move on.
Yeah.
Or don't. Say Marion Hampton. Say Jahad Campbell. Say Will Johnson.
Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, right. That would be the shock of all shocks, man.
Yeah, Not only they have already.
Wow, that would be strange.
Yeah, but you talk about somebody that is not a Harbaugh kind of guy.
Yeah, right.
That's like the anti-Harbaugh.
You got that right. He loves himself some Justin Herbert, man. He's good there.
I love Justin Herbert coming out of Oregon. I loved Bo Nix coming out of Oregon.
Yeah, you love
everybody wanted to razz me. Everybody, they ain't gonna be okay. Watch, just watch. And now it's funny that they're both in the same division. Hell, Marcus Mariota still has a job in the league.
He does.
You know what I mean? Come on.
He had a perfect passing rating against the Niners defense.
Marcus Mariota, ladies and gentlemen.
The pick is in. Omarion Hampton to the Chargers.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, is that done?
Yep, Omarion Hampton's
okay. I like it.
That was a great pick.
Yeah, I like the pick. I'm all about it. They needed a running back. Like I said, Najee Harris is a good back, but he can't do it by himself.
No.
That's why they added in Jalen Moore into Pittsburgh last year. And here you go. Now you bring in this rookie, Omarion Hampton, who's an all type of running back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Not the biggest guy in the entire world, but he's a damn good player. And yeah, a lot of people had him going in the first round. And here you go, the Chargers. It makes sense, man. I'm with it. Good pick.
Mike Green is another guy I just didn't like. And I saw it, and I'm like, not that he's not going to do well in the NFL, but I knew he was going to fall. I was like, this guy, he's going to have a long-ass night. Another guy's like, he's going 11, book it.
Yeah, but yes, and you never know, man. You just never know. Really. Like Will Johnson.
pass
A lot
up-
of people like Will Johnson in the top 10. I have him going now to the Green Bay Packers. And
I
he's
have.
still-
I think I have them taking a defensive tackle. I think this is where I sent Harmon.
Wait, who? Harmon? Oh, Harmon.
I
Okay.
thought so. Again, I have no clue. So
Yeah, Harmon's already gone.
I think
from
I had a
line.
receiver because I was talking about that might have been the draft we did last week with McNiner, but
yeah,
I
that's
thought
the thing. I'm getting confused because we did the 2 back-to-back
Right,
ones.
right.
Bars. We should switch it up next time and do the guest the week before, and then the one for the draft the week before the draft, right?
Yeah.
Or is that how we did it? I don't even remember.
no, we
No,
did
no,
we
we
did
did
ours first, and then
Yeah.
then the
yeah, I
guests.
think that we should do it the other way next year.
So we let 2 weeks go by without making changes. We
Yeah.
could have done a few different things. There's no
Yeah,
doubt.
we should have done it the opposite way because, with all the shit that could have happened from here on out and all the different things you hear, we should do it the week before next time.
Yeah, we will.
Or we'll do like
gotta
Peter
tell-
Schrager and come out the day before the draft.
Peter Schrager. I can't stand him. I don't like that he's on ESPN right now.
Sadly, I was going on McShay because I really like him, and I always see him as like somebody who like everyone puts on their and they talk about McShay, and so I like pushed him up to the top this year, and I really followed him, and it didn't pay off at all. Pay off at all. Oh man, that looks so good right now. I saw a pizza delivered by a drone before, and it made me friggin' starving. I had a stupid little salad.
That's great. Pizza delivered by a drone. What a world we live in, man. Holy
Right.
shit.
I'm sitting
They
here
put it right down the
nibbling
chimney.
on some fine Italian bread I got going on
There
here.
you go. That a boy. Yeah, I got
You're
a munch on
lucky,
something.
man. We don't have anything fine here where I live as far as food goes. It's terrible.
What city are you in?
I'm right outside of Sacramento, right where
Oh, yeah, you-
Olafemi Oladejo went to high school, right here.
Oh wow. All right.
And you guys may
Oh.
remember him, Fernando Vina. Remember him? He used to play baseball.
Yeah,
He's the guy
I-
that
yeah,
tried.
yeah.
Albert Bell tried to truck. That's one of my boys. He teaches a baseball camp right around here too.
I remember that play. Albert Bella, he was not one to mess around with.
Yo, but
Hey.
Fernando was like, "No, you're out. Sorry, buddy."
Shit.
He was
While
the
on
only guy in the
floor.
league that could go build for build with Frank Thomas. Those guys were
Oh, like,
built like
He reminded me of like Bo
Jesus.
Jackson a little
they
bit.
look like professional wrestlers, man. Oh, Albert Bell was, and I was, being a Detroit Tigers fan, I couldn't out loud say I like Cleveland, but I was always, I love Frank Thomas, I love Paul Konerko, and I love Mark Burley for some reason, but Albert Bell and Frank Thomas, I'd like to see those two guys in an arm wrestling contest.
Oh man.
Ooh. You know
Jesus
Frank
Christ.
Thomas on that Nugenics, man. You know that he's
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
I don't.
By the way, she'll like it too.
I haven't seen the other guy in a long time though. I've seen Frank Thomas recently, but I haven't seen Albert Bell in a long.
Me either.
Oh no, man. Yeah, he's,
I think I saw him like in a softball game or something like that. He was with Ken Griffey Jr. and a couple other guys, and
Oh wow.
Ken Griffey. No, it was no. Yes, no, it was a like a semi-pro minor league type game, and some guy struck Ken Griffey Jr. out.
Oh shit. No kidding. How about that?
Nice.
I almost turned that off. I watched the video till the end because Ken Griffey Jr. is my favorite baseball player of all time.
Oh wow.
But
I hate
yeah,
him because I'm a Yankee fan.
what's that?
I hate him because I'm a Yankee fan.
They weren't really rivals though.
No, but that one series with fucking Randy Johnson pitching,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
pissed me off. Especially because I was at the game where Leyritz hit the home run for us to win that playoff game in overtime. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Him
Well, I what I really remember is Edgar Martinez hitting that double down the line and Griffey scoring. the game winner.
Martinez, A-Rod, that team was stacked. Buhner,
Loaded,
Yeah.
loaded.
Loaded team.
loaded.
And people forget about the Mariners. Oh, the Mariners, they didn't all. I mean, but the problem with the Mariners is that they had a lot of good teams and they still didn't. They won like 105 games that year.
Yeah,
didn't they?
man. They won. Yeah, like 100,
103, 102 games. Yeah.
A lot of games they won, and they ended up losing to the Yankees again. That's what happens. Yeah,
I
they
think the
go.
most disappointing World Series to me was the freaking Luis Gonzalez bloop single over the
Oh,
head
my
of.
God.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come
that was like a
Come
horrible way to end the game, but I was so happy the Yankees lost. I really
Who's
was.
that?
I was happy.
This is my Rams guy. He's got me up on the screen. You got to take Jahad Campbell.
That wouldn't be a bad pick for him. But this
You
is
know,
where I
they're
got.
Really,
Green
their
Bay-
main need, but like you got it. The value right now is insane on Campbell.
How about Will Johnson? The value's pretty damn good on him too. You
I
think?
mean,
I know
they
that
play in a
turf
dome.
Warriors, yeah.
Remember, they play in a dome, and then they're going to play half their teams away. Probably going to be in a dome too.
Well, I'm talking about him for the Packers, but yeah, they'd have
I'm
to go
sorry.
to Detroit twice. Well, not twice. They'd have to go to Detroit once and Minnesota once.
Yeah. If you're in domes a lot, then Will Johnson's your man.
But then too, if I remember, the Lions. Well, actually, that whole division is going to have pretty much the same schedule. They got hold. I think most of their games are outside. I think the only games they have inside are their home games, and then, like you say, the one against Minnesota. So yeah, Will Johnson could be a viable option for the.
I don't understand. You can still have
Packers.
You can still have real grass in a dome. You know.
Of course, Arizona does it. They
It's
bring
just
real grass
lazy
all the
and
time.
cheap. It's cheap and lazy, and it should be paid for by the NFL anyway. They make plenty of money.
And you ain't freaking kidding, bro.
You know what? If you care about these players and them lasting in the league, then make all the fields grass. Come on.
How about it?
Yep.
Man, it's amazing how long they make to take these picks. Packers still have not turned
This
in
is-
their. Oh, here we
No.
go.
There we go.
Oh, they got to milk it because they're at home.
Of course.
Oh yes.
They got to milk
No,
the
are they
clock.
going to make their fans happy or what? I mean, a lot of them showed up, but more people showed up to this thing than people that actually live in the whole state of Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, their tourist thing is booming these last few days.
Man, people are getting to know Green Bay. I'm telling you. Boy, oh boy. So what do they do here? They go defense,
Jeez.
offense. Jahad Campbell, Will Johnson, Mike Green, Josh Simmons, offensive lineman. Malachi Starks is available.
Will Johnson.
That's who they picked?
Nope. That's
Oh.
right. I actually had him picking on my revised. I had him picking Kenneth Grant.
No,
I
they're
didn't
still
think he was going to fall
balling.
that far.
Yeah, dude, there's some really good safeties just sitting there, and I
Yeah.
think the Packers would be
Yep.
crazy to miss on some of these guys.
I think they should go secondary, one way or the other. That would be smart.
Well, Jair Alexander, he's like got one foot in the door, one foot out, right? Or is he definitely?
Yeah, I think he's gone. I think it's a done deal pretty much, unless
So
they
you got
re-sign.
Asante Samuel Jr. and Jair Alexander just sitting there on waivers.
Those are pretty good players, man.
They
I
really
don't
are.
know if they're asking for a lot of money. I don't know what the deal
I
is.
think
but those-
Asante is the injuries right now is the concern.
that's with him.
Yeah, but I'm still shocked that somebody didn't sign him.
He may
I'm
be back
shocked.
to the Chargers probably on a nice deal maybe because of the
he might
injury.
go back. He might go back. You're right.
All right, here we go. Okay, Green Bay, it's your time.
Is that Mark Murphy?
They're gonna make a big deal out of it now too because they're like you said they're here in Green Bay.
Welcome, Packer fans, the home of the best cheese and beer in the United States.
Leroy Butler should have been there tonight.
Our farms are great.
Yeah,
Come here and be a farmer.
Get your curds here.
yeah. Our fans own the team Yeah.
Right.
in theory.
Yeah.
We don't have an owner. We don't know what the hell we're doing.
Yeah, I had a friend who lived here in NorCal, Northern California, and he had his plaque and his certificate that he owned a piece of the team hanging up. It was fun.
Oh, yeah,
That's crazy.
That is true. Take home a piece of the bench, whatever makes you happy.
Nice.
23rd pick, the Green Bay Packers. Who are they taking? Is it Will Johnson? I'll take a direct hit.
All right, he's ready. He's reading. Here he goes. It's our honor and our privilege to host this wonderful event. Oh, come on, guy.
Let's go, Murph.
All I got is the caption, so I just see it coming, and then it looks like he's going to say it, and then he doesn't. The only community-owned team in the NFL.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
That's the way to do it, man. All right, buddy.
Yep,
Spit-
all right. I know.
spit
We're
out.
all. Yep. This is your moment. We understand.
He's still going.
Mhm.
Yeah, you won Super Bowls a really long time ago. Good job.
Right, had two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and you won 2 Super
Well, we
Bowls in
got
the last
two.
75
One
years.
of the best coaches ever back in the day, too.
All right, Murphy. Make that pick, baby. 23rd
And-
pick for the Green Bay Packers.
All right, they're pumped. Matthew Golden is a Packer.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I thought wide receiver was a possibility. There you
Yeah,
go.
I
They got
did
the
too.
speedster.
I think I got the position. I didn't get the
You-
player.
I remember you talked about wide receiver for the Packers, Prime. So I don't know who you picked, but I know you talked about wide
I
receiver.
think I picked your boy. Burden.
Luther
Burden.
Burden. Because
Because we were talking about how I was like, I know how crowded everybody says their wide receiver room is, but
Yeah.
man, he's going to Green Bay. He so doesn't look like a Green Bay guy.
He
no,
does.
he was not.
He really doesn't.
You're going from Texas to Wisconsin. Cheese and rice. Poor guy.
Cheese and rice.
That's instead of saying the other one.
Yeah.
I got that actually off of the movie The Breakup. You ever seen that movie?
I've seen
No, but
that.
Where Jason Bateman is sitting there talking to them and they're arguing back and forth. He's like, cheese and rice, you two are gonna kill each other.
There's a movie, I can't remember what it's called, but it's about this kid who meets a girl in Germany online, and like they take a road trip. They go to Europe to go find her, and they like, I don't think it's Euro. Oh no, it is Euro Trip, I think, something like that. That's where I heard it. It's in another movie.
Oh, the cheese and rice
Cheese
as opposed
and rice.
to Jesus. Then you go to Full Metal Jacket and Jesus H Christ.
Tout beaucoup.
Yeah, I just watched that actually a few days ago. It comes on cable all the time.
It's a great
yes,
movie.
I have cable.
A new toy for Jordan Love and Matthew Golden, who goes to the Green Bay Packers. It's going to be a
The
little
Vi-
silly out
They're
there.
sitting there. The Vikings are like, let's go.
I think the Vikings want Mike Green, man.
I mean, at this point, that would be insane. I had them taking Siobhan Ravel Jr.
Interesting.
That I remember.
See, now that's a guy that wasn't necessarily a first round grade, but he was, like you say, you had him picked. You know, you got him probably going in the first round. So
I did, yeah.
But yeah. So now Detroit, now you got to deal with this shit. Man,
yeah, you're going to need Terry and Arnold to step up. You're going to need another cornerback, maybe that Detroit.
And
They
Will
might wanna
Johnson
think about
still
that.
out too.
Yeah, if
Man.
Will Johnson falls, I mean, that's a Michigan native right there. I mean, that's a perfect pick.
That's insane.
That would be a good pick right there.
The thing about Brad Holmes is that he's really good in the draft, but his free agency pickups suck. He doesn't hit on his free agents like he does in the draft, because that's why he's in the position he's in now, where you got Gibbs and Laporta, Jack Campbell, potentially Jahmyr Gibbs, Aiden Hutchinson. You're drafting so well that now you got to pay all these guys sooner or later, and it's just not. It doesn't leave you a lot. That's why he was so hell bent on not going out and get Myles Garrett, because he's looking long term. Like, man, I keep hitting all these guys in the draft, you know, and now you still got to figure out what you're going to do with JMO. Are you going to exercise his fifth-year option, which they probably won't? You just paid Kirby Joseph. You signed him to an extension. You got to still go with Brian Branch. There's a lot of, you know, when you're it's good to hit on the draft, but when you're doing it back-to-back years, you got to pay all these guys within a 2-3 year period of time.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the salary cap keeps going up, but you know.
Your man Simon chimed in over
that's
there.
yeah. You're telling me that Green Bay grabbed their 12th receiver.
Yeah.
They got more receivers than they got any other position on the
Really?
team. I think, man.
Guys,
They
it's
are
probably not
so
going to
young.
happen, but Spongy's sitting there praying to God that they get Mike Green.
Who, Minnesota?
No, the Eagles. Can you
Oh, the
imagine?
Eagles. Oh, gosh. Eesh, jeez.
I don't
That'd
think
be
he
a nightmare.
falls. I think the Lions take him.
Well, listen,
He's had a visit with the Lions.
This guy had the character concerns, and everyone's like, I looked it up. They're just rumors. I didn't see anything. Well, have you ever watched the movie The Program?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember what happened in that movie? The guy on the steroids. I'm not saying this is what Mike Green did. Okay? I'm just saying a situation. This guy was on steroids. He tried to like sexually assault this chick. 2 other players came in, ripped him off of her. What happened? He was like the dean's daughter, and the dean's like, I don't want anybody to know about this shit. They swept it under the rug, and they said he pulled a hammy or some shit. But they made Green leave Virginia. You don't make a kid leave, and nothing gets investigated unless, like, we talked about this. I don't know. It wasn't on this show, but when something happens, like, I think it was for Shannon Sharp, maybe it was, but like, you investigate it. But when you don't investigate it, it's because you know what happened, and now you're sweeping that shit under the rug. People don't just disappear. And like the person who came out with the allegations, why would he just all of a sudden stop talking? I mean,
Money talks, maybe that's why.
how are you gonna pay someone off unless you get drafted by a good team? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so every time I went on and I was reading stuff about Green, they're like, nah, he's off people's boards completely. Completely.
Interesting. And you still see him going to mocks, man, but he has not gone yet. We're 23 picks in, has not gone yet. It's up to Minnesota if they're going to make that pick now. Are they going to go with it? We still got Jahad Campbell and Will Johnson, Josh Simmons if they want to go offensive line.
Nick them and Warriors out there.
You got Ezra Rock,
James
who's still out
Spears.
there.
James
Connerly's
Pierce.
still out there.
Yeah,
Him and
yeah.
Rory, the Ravens are going to wind up getting.
I
one of
think
the
they take him.
Wow. If they
I got
win-
I got the Bills taking him, but I wouldn't. I see a scenario because we know the Ravens love their defensive backs. I could see a world where they take
Emmett
Warren.
Walker Starks. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I could see it too. Yep. I mean, that's safety university over there when you talk about like Ed Reed. Donovan Jackson. Well, that's interesting. All right. They went offensive line, the Minnesota Vikings, for Donovan Jackson.
And here's another one that necessarily didn't have a first. I'm trying to see where I got him.
He had mixed reviews, basically, whether first or early second. Yeah. All right.
I actually had him second round going to the Cardinals at 47.
So Donovan Jackson off the board going to Minnesota. They liked him enough.
That's a weird pick.
And they made that pick pretty quick, actually. So, the Giants traded back in. The Giants have traded back in with Houston. The Giants now have the 25th pick overall.
Yep. Shador's a Giant.
Is this where Shador Sanders goes? And if so,
yeah,
your boy is a rich man. Well, not rich, but
they didn't even have the capital to do this. It was the Cleveland Browns who should have done this.
Oh, this would be, guys. I'll tell you off air how much money I would make if this actually happens.
Wow, the Vikings.
He's putting it out there. He's flexing. Jason's flexing right now.
I really am right now. Please be Shador Sanders. I will be so fucking happy.
What if it's Jalen Milroe? You're gonna shit a brick?
Oh my gosh!
Stop!
I will. I'll gladly shit that brick for you, Jason.
This is a big moment for Prime right here. You got your Abdul Carter on defense. Now what do you do here? Where they trade?
They're gonna go Mike.
I told you they were trading back in. I got that part right.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
I did tell you they were trading back in. Now is it for Shador or Jackson Dart?
Oh Jesus!
It should be for more defense.
It's absolutely should. It should be for freaking Ezaraku or Emanwari.
Yeah, you got to go defense, bro. Don't screw up this quarterback shit.
Or is that Jackson Dart right there?
But do you
draft
back in to do that?
They're gonna take Daniel Jones 2.0.
I will burn this jersey live on the air if that happens.
It's gonna be one of those two guys, Prime. You gotta think it's gonna be either Shador or Jackson.
It's probably him. They're hugging already. They already talked to him. We traded back in for you. I bet.
It's done.
Yep, we traded back in for you, kid. He's going to New York.
Wow.
You go from dimes to darts, baby.
That's
my.
Simon, my dream is not coming true. Simon and I talked about this a little bit about Jackson Dart. I was actually joking around about it at work. So, oh my God, we go from dimes to darts.
Yo, the Donovan Jackson pick to the Texans. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Jackson Dart going to the New York. It's not official yet, but it looks like after those hugs that he gave, that it's happening.
He had the phone in his hand, and they were hugging. So,
whoa,
wow.
Last year, didn't we talk about how the Texans just got a bunch of people to go there last year? They were stacked, and they didn't do shit. I mean, they went to the playoffs. I get it.
They were 10-7. They were just they weren't that great.
The receivers were.
Their division is complete ass.
Cemeteries most of the year.
Yeah, their receivers are banged up, no doubt.
Their division is horrible too. So I mean, they get six wins every year for nothing.
Terrible division, no doubt about it. And I don't see anything happening this year in that division either. I mean, the Colts, they're not going to contend with either whether it's Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones. You got Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I don't know. You got me, but they did pick up Travis Hunter, which is very interesting.
They're not there yet, but they will be. You'll see.
And then Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
It's a very winnable. That's the thing about certain divisions. They're very, that's a very winnable. It's kind of like the NFC South. It's a very winnable, even without Liam Cohen. It's a very winnable. Well, no, now they go to the other winnable division. I'm sorry, they go to freaking Jacksonville. Ain't that where Cohen? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some sick shit. All right. Well, the Giants did trade back in, but
it's for Dart.
It's for Dart. All right. Well, they're taking their time with this one. I know that they got us glued to the TV, so
they traded
commercials on as they want.
Vikings. I forgot who they traded with. Not Pittsburgh.
The Texans.
The Vikings. Oh, with the. Wait, they just traded back the Giants with who? The Texans?
They traded with the Texans.
Yeah, with the Texans.
So
Yep.
where did Donovan Jackson go? He went to the Vikings?
Minnesota. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Minnesota.
weird. I'm sorry. I said before he went to the Texans. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah, so the Texans with the pick. I don't know.
Wow.
There's still some
You said
stuff.
maybe they want Will Johnson. I don't know. I don't think so, Simon. I don't think you trade back into. You wouldn't have to. The way it's looking now, I think Will Johnson would have fell to. He would have been there with their third pick in the second round.
The Giants must have got wind that somebody wanted Jackson Dart
Yeah.
because they draft early in the second round. They have the second pick in the second round. You got to think that they probably could have gotten him then, but they must have found out through the grapevine, unless somebody was bullshitting them, that Jackson Dart's going to be coming off the board.
Yeah, but who though? Because you look at who's left. L.A. doesn't need a quarterback. Baltimore, Detroit, Washington,
think about
Buffalo,
Cleveland.
Kansas City.
You think about Cleveland
if they would've
trading back
traded-
in,
Yeah. Yeah.
teams like that, even Pittsburgh possibly, even though they just passed on it.
I'm surprised Pittsburgh didn't pick. I guess
I'm a little
maybe the more you
surprised
look-
too.
Nah.
I'm a little surprised too, but you know what? Again, they have the opportunity. They can trade back in or wait till the second round. These quarterbacks, man.
The Giants gave
class.
up 2025 second round, third round, 2026 third round. That's a lot of stuff.
For Jackson Dart.
Yikes.
See, this is
Yikes.
Look at that.
Lord Jesus. Why would you give? You didn't have to give up that much to get
You could've
back
just
into
waited.
the late. Right, exactly. Nobody else was going to take them.
That's
Everybody
what I'm
else
saying,
after you
man.
had quarterbacks, and
You
Cleveland
could have
wasn't.
got Tyler Shuck for that.
Oh my Lord, Jesus! But
Yeah,
you know what they say? He's actually probably. I know some people had him like the second rated as far as like pure passer.
Well, he's
in the draft.
developed. He's 29 years old, so he's
I was going to
developed.
say he's like Chris Wanky for crying out loud. There's a name
Right,
for you.
Chris Matson, that's a good one.
Chris
Florida
Matson.
State. He was like 28 years old when he was a rookie in the NFL. No
Here he
joke.
comes. Here he comes.
Let's
Well,
let me
I-
take the earphones off for this one. Come on, man.
See what they take here.
Second
All right.
trade of the first
Prime time.
round.
Cross your fingers.
If they trade,
Yeah,
if it's Shador Sanders, I'm gonna.
With the 25th pick in the NFL,
It looks like Jackson
the
Dart.
Giants
Yeah.
take Jackson Dart.
Yeah. They didn't. I don't think they had to do that unless
They didn't.
Yeah.
there's some word going around that other teams wanted him. I don't know.
You know what it is? He can air it out, and you got neighbors over there, so I guess that's what it is.
So what do you do now? Do you start Russell Wilson and you let Jackson Dart sit for a little while?
You cut. Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to trim the fat. So Tommy Cutlets
Yeah.
is gone,
Cutlets
Tommy
is gone.
Cutlets is a Niner in 2 weeks.
probably,
Oh god.
or a Steeler.
Right?
I kind of
Um,
like that we got Mac Jones. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like that we have.
No, I've said a bunch of times about Mac Jones that you don't
Wow.
just throw a kid out there and put the whole team on his shoulders. He was a kid, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure, man.
Yeah,
So-
look what hurts in the first year. Look what
There's
the
still a
Giants-
well. Oh my God, I don't.
I think this was a bad job. Sorry, prime time.
I get what Jason's saying, but I still think he would have been there. You gave up all of that for Jackson Dart.
Yeah. Must really like him. Oh, there's another trade. The Falcons are coming back in.
Oh wow.
Traded with the Rams.
Oh
So who
man,
did
see,
they
it's what I
like?
didn't want. I don't want the Rams getting more stuff. This is exactly what I didn't want. I said it earlier.
Yeah, we talked about them. They were a team that were going to move, and they did. They moved back now. See, I had them taking Maxwell Hairston here, and now the Falcons come in for who?
Probably another defensive player. You think?
Dude, I don't like to give anybody. We always say before we end our shows, "F the Rams." Okay, that's what we say right before we end the show. And now I'm getting mad now. Those guys are starting to kill it. It's pissing me
They're
off.
smart. What can you say? They're smart. So what did the Falcons do? They know they wanted somebody, obviously, with this pick really bad.
Well, there's some studs sitting out there, bro.
I can't believe.
There are. I think they need offense, though. I mean, I don't think they would trade back in for a Luther Burden or something like that, but
They
Hmm.
might though because they need something to complement. Oh no, you got Drake London, Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. That's
Didn't
really
they
it.
get
Yeah.
Ibuka?
Mooney. They got Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, so they're off. And you wouldn't trade back in for a running
That
back.
was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So it might be for Will Johnson.
Dude,
That's very
Jackson
possible.
Dart, Tell me his comp right now. What's going to happen to this guy?
He's
Who's he
going to end up. He's going to end up being the second string quarterback. Jameis Winston is going to hold his clipboard. Tommy Cutlass is going to go. Russell Wilson will start. They'll start clamoring for Jackson Dart once. Say bye-bye, Brian Dable. Absolutely, 100%.
Remember, you get to have a third quarterback. Don't we have a third quarterback now that doesn't count towards the roster? So you can have Tommy Cutlass still on your practice squad. You don't think Jameis?
On your practice squad, of course. Your practice squad.
Because Jameis ain't going to run no practice squad. Oh, man, the Falcons might.
They should think about, now that they drafted this kid, they should think about trying to trade Jameis Winston. And
they just got Jalen Walker. What are they going to do? They can get Will Johnson too? Or is that
what'd you say, Jay, like a 4th or 5th round pick?
Yeah.
You almost have to now to try to make up for the draft capital you just blew with oh my God. Unless there's another trade on the horizon where they think they're getting more picks later for somebody else.
Right.
Like that Thibodeau thing. I don't see that happening, but
holy shit, the Rams got a 1st round pick in 2026 for this. A 2nd round pick this year and a 7th round pick this year. That's bullshit, guys.
From Atlanta?
Got a 1st rounder?
A 1st rounder next year, bro. That's crazy.
Wow.
Now the Rams are set, bro. I'm so mad. And our pick, I'm sorry, bro. We blew it. We friggin' blew it, dude.
Wow.
I'm so disappointed right now. We're going back to the days where we don't win shit anymore. You watch, bro.
It's going to be like them early 2000s.
Those Michael Terry days.
Oh, God. I want winners.
I was going to say, you guys had winners.
All right, here we go with the Falcons.
They are who they thought they were.
It might be Will Johnson. I don't know who else they would try to trade up for. That
Simon says they're drafting Penix's replacement already.
They should have never had Kirk Cousins. They just took James Pierce Jr. too.
All right.
And James Walker.
You know what's really funny? I actually get major points for this because I had the Falcons at 15 taking James Pierce Jr. That's crazy.
I think I had them taking Shamar. I think I got the position. Well, no, this probably don't count because I didn't have them traded.
That's crazy. Yeah, correct player, but different spot. 7 points. Holy shit.
James Pierce grew up Carolina, Panthers fan, and loved to watch Luke Kuechly.
So they went heavy on defense with this, huh? All right.
Look at that. They're showing Lawrence Taylor highlights, for God's sakes.
I feel like they need offensive help, man, the Atlanta Falcons.
They're saying James Pierce is the next Lawrence Taylor right now.
Oh, my God, please.
I
don't know,
Jay. If anything, they probably need offensive line help. But like you said, they got Mooney, they got London, they got Pitts, they got Bijan.
Yeah, I concentrated in the offense more, man.
Well,
I probably would have scooped up another receiver. I probably would have went Burden or Jaden Higgins because Mooney's not the biggest guy. Drake London is like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
But
Olave.
But James Pierce Jr. is pretty good value.
Yep.
You got to think.
Is Olave how tall is Olave?
No, Olave's in New Orleans, ain't he?
Yeah, he's in New Orleans. I'm just curious, how tall is Olave and how tall is
6'2", I think.
All right, they're about the same guy, yeah.
So now that puts the Ravens on the clock now. All right.
So Alexander George is saying that Shedeur dropped to the 2nd, and at least I called that. I mean, we're still in the 1st, so you never know. But I also said Shedeur was
possible. The Browns could trade back in. Pittsburgh.
That's true too.
It's possible.
They'll
right now,
Baltimore with the Eagles.
I think the Ravens. I think they're looking hard at offensive line. I think they're looking at the Ohio State kid, Josh Simmons. I think there's a real possibility.
If you're right about the Browns trading with the Eagles for their 32nd pick, that would be pretty fucking insane.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
That's some wild shit that you just pulled out of your ass. Because that's really fucking accurate.
Let's see if it comes to fruition. I'm surprised Baltimore doesn't know who they want right now.
Baltimore's sitting there. I know they're going to take Emanwari or they're going to take Starks. I bet you.
I think you might be right. I think you might be right. Because I've been hearing that they want to get double safety action and let Kyle Hamilton come down in the box a little bit more and play some linebacker.
There you go. They forced him out there last time.
But the thing is, here's the thing, though. Here's what bothers me about that. When they put Kyle Hamilton back to his normal safety spot last year, that's when Baltimore's defense took off. When he went back to his normal spot.
Right.
So why do you want to move him?
No, you don't.
I think sometimes Baltimore, because they're so known for their defense and everything, I think sometimes they try to get too cute. Instead of just like you say, just Let Hamilton do what he does best. Every now and then bring him down, but he was a fixture down in the box for a minute. Just let him play where he's supposed to play. And you see how much better their defense was when that happened. So
no doubt, man. That's what I think. Look, Will Johnson's still available. They can use the corner. They love cornerbacks in fucking Baltimore.
They do. But those two safeties would be insane.
Yeah.
Especially Emenwari because of the size. He's huge,
But here's
man.
the thing. I think Emenwari is he's a strong safety like Hamilton, right? They want a free safety, or is it the opposite?
They want to give what they want more of a free safety so they can give Kyle Hamilton the ability to come down and be a blitzer and be somewhat of a linebacker at times, which I know he can do, but you have players that can do that. Why take a guy out of his natural position who showed you last year when you play him in his right spot at strong safety? That's when your defense is at their best. So even if they do take a safety now, I wouldn't mess around too much. You want to blitz him and put him down in the box once in a while? Sure, fine. That's okay. But I don't want to see it done 30% of the time.
Right.
No way.
Listen, don't be surprised if they don't take like Ezoraku here too, something like that.
That could happen.
Yeah.
That can definitely happen. I'm liking what you guys are saying about the safeties. I think I've been hearing that talk lately. What if they go with Mike Green again, still on the board? How many times are we going to mention him?
God.
Man.
What if they go running back? What if who's their running back right now?
That's the thing. They really don't have any running
Oh, well,
backs.
Derrick Henry. But
Derrick
Henry's
behind Derrick Henry. There's like
55 years old, though. And I love him to death.
What's his name? The quick kid, number 43.
I forgot his name already. I thought it was Priest for some reaon or something like that.
Mike Pierce. That's not it.
Simon, who's Baltimore's backup running back?
I don't know why I'm eluding his name right now.
The hell is his name? I got like 3 computers.
He plays enough too. I can't believe I forgot his name. He plays all the freaking time. He's in all the time. He's on third downs all the time. Throws touchdowns. He does his shit. Baltimore's a good freaking team. You're gonna have to watch out for them this year. I'm really curious who this pick is right now.
Baltimore's always a good team.
Justice
Keaton
Hill.
Mitchell.
Oh, Keaton Mitchell.
Thank you, Simon.
Keaton Mitchell, yeah.
Simon knows the most obscure football players. Like, who's the 9th string offensive tackle on the Miami Dolphins? He'd be like,
I love that shit.
John Smith. He'd be like, oh, okay, I'll take your word for it because I sure as hell don't know.
Well, I sure as hell don't know where Baltimore's going. This one's one of the confusing ones for me, but we're getting down to the nitty-gritty over here with a few teams left and maybe some trades still alive. Here in Green Bay first.
Only one line.
I did call that there start to be some action later on, the end of the draft. So
yeah,
at least I'm holding up my little bit of weight here on the show.
Guys, only one linebacker has been taken off the board and no safeties.
No safeties. Nope.
Well, we knew it wasn't a deep linebacker draft. I am shocked that both Starks and Emenwari are still on the board.
Yeah.
And Will Johnson. I'm kind of, but
Will Johnson too. Jahad Campbell.
It's the turf toe. It's all about the turf toe.
The only linebacker that we thought might have gone in the first round still on the board, Jahad Campbell.
My top.
Yeah, he is still on the board, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Do
the Ravens dare? That's a Ravens guy. That
would be a Ravens move. They love linebackers too. That's another thing. They just love defense in general.
6'3".
Look at their needs.
35.
It looks like Mike Green is the guy.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's Mike Green. That makes sense. What if they don't have a lot of good wide receivers? Do they think that Luther Burden is worth the pick? Or maybe one of the other guys? I don't know.
Only 4 edges have gone off the board.
How many receivers? 3?
Because I think more offensive line. Well, no, because it's actually pretty balanced. I would think.
They
so
took
far.
Malachi Starks. There you go. Told you. Ravens take Malachi Starks.
That's a Ravens.
There you go. There you go. That makes sense.
So Simon says, do you think the Lions will go Will Johnson if Baltimore passes? Jason brought that up, Simon. I'm not 100% sure. I still think you have to go edge rusher because your defensive back room is starting to look like Green Bay's wide receiver room. And it's getting a little crowded in there. So you at some point, you still got Rick Shaw, who was injured most of the year. You still want to see where you're at with him. You got Terrion Arnold, Brian Branch, you got Kirby Joseph, who you just signed an extension to. They just signed 2 other, so they got they're like 6, 7 defensive backs in that room. If they went Will Johnson, I'd be surprised. And according to Kenny, turf toe is everything.
Yeah, and you don't want to go to the Met.
What's
You don't want to go to the East Rutherford if you have an injury history.
No. He's saying, well, they go to the Lions.
Oh, well, they're in the
I think John Campbell's a good fit for the Lions, actually. I think that they can use a linebacker like that.
No, they got Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell, man. Don't you
Yeah, they
dare.
do.
Well, Alex Anzalone's
Being
a good player.
sarcastic.
Alex
Yeah.
Anzalone's a pretty good player. I do like him.
Well, and then you re-signed Derek Barnes too, who was injured a lot of last year, and he's decent. I would, all things being equal, I'd rather have Campbell than Derek Barnes.
Jack Campbell.
So I wouldn't be mad at that pick.
Simon would be happy with Mike Green for sure. Alexander George is saying Mike Green from Marshall is going to be the pick. It wouldn't shock me if Detroit goes that way.
I thought I had in my revised one I had Booker. I think in my other one I had Gray Zabel. So
The Lions pick is in. We're just waiting now for them to stop hugging.
Make your way down the aisle. Let's go.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say Armand Membo to the Jets. Not gonna work out. I don't think
That was a quick one.
it's gonna work out.
Guy got drafted 2.5 hours ago. It's not going to work out.
Malachi Starks.
Lost think on it. I was like, Jets. Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Usually things are with them.
You know what's crazy? 1 running back off the board. 1.
No, 2.
Omari and Hampton. Yeah.
Yep. Those are
But
the
that's
two
what we thought, though. We thought those would be the 2 that
We
win
said
the
that.
first round.
They were both
We
in their
said
own
so.
category.
How many wideouts? Just Golden and Tet?
No,
Golden
3.
Tet,
If
and
you
then
count Hunter.
Ibuka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Ibuka went. Yeah.
Well, Hunter, Egbuka, and Tet, right? And Golden.
Yeah.
What
Depends
do
how
you think Jacksonville does with Hunt? I think Jacksonville should make Travis Hunter predominantly a cornerback, but have 15 to 20 plays for him on offense.
package for him. Yeah.
You don't go all the way up to 2 and do what they did and give up what they did if you're only going to play him on one side of the ball, in my opinion. I think they're going to use
believe Jackson Dart, I can't believe, was the second quarterback off the board, guys.
Yeah. I
still can't believe they gave up all that draft capital to get him.
So are you mad about your picks then, Primetime? Because I'm mad about our pick.
The Abdul Carter pick, I'm happy with. The Jackson Dart pick, I would have been okay with if it would have been in the second round. You're not in a position right now, man, to give up all of that draft capital. You're just not. It's not like Jackson Dart, and then it's a player that you're not even going to be able to use or play right away.
Right.
So if this was a move for, Emin Wari or somebody like that can come right in and make an impact, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. But you're giving up all this draft capital on a team that has so many holes to fill. It boggles my mind. I'm not happy with it. I like Jackson Dart, but I just wish we didn't have to give up so much to get him.
I'm sorry. Prime, I'm sorry about what happened.
I want the 49ers to draft back in. I want the 49ers to go ahead and take either the Washington Commanders or Buffalo Bills pick and go ahead and take Nick Emenwari. The Niners have to figure out a way to do this. They have to figure it out. Get back in this draft and get this kid.
The elite talent in this draft is about to disappear in a couple picks. So
I'm telling you, man. But we talked about some good running backs that we're going to find later on. Maybe a good couple of wide receivers too. But when we're talking about the big boys over here, Niners, let's do something. We got a lot of picks over here. You didn't really hit a home run on number 11. Let's get back in here and do something, man.
Simon blames the Jack Campbell for the Lions playoff loss. Yeah, that was a consensus around here for a little bit.
I blame Washington's offense.
I blame their defense against the Eagles. That was horrible.
Yeesh. Luvu jumping over the line 75 times.
That was insane.
Freaking touchdown for not even scoring.
I didn't even know that rule existed.
Oh,
did you know that rule?
No, hell no. I had no idea. No idea. What is this? I'm saying, I don't see a team that would have taken Dart, maybe Cleveland. I'm kind of with
the top 4 defensive tackles were the top 4 defensive tackles, and that's who's gone: Mason Grant, Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon.
Yep, they were all on my board. They're all gone now.
Lions might take an offensive lineman here, guys.
Josh Simmons is available.
Yeah, he is.
Yep. The Lions might take an offensive lineman. They're getting a little long in the tooth. Brand
that'd be a good
Glasgow,
move.
Frank,
It was
right now.
the draft. They did Tyleek Williams. Meh. From Georgia, Tyleek Williams. Ohio State. My bad.
Yeah, who?
He's
I
a
had him-
defensive tackle.
What's funny is that he was.
Oh, Ohio State. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ohio State.
I had him 43 to the Niners.
Wow.
Oh, all right. Really? That's interesting.
So here we go. The
I don't
top
like that
5 defensive. No, he was an Michael Williams was an edge, right? So this guy's a D tackle, and Tyleek Williams. Those were my 5 top defensive tackles. Are all gone. Those were my top 5, and they're gone.
Your screen changes an awful lot throughout the show.
No, it doesn't. These were posted.
It was a white screen before.
That's the original.
Did it just change to nighttime? Is that what happened?
Yeah. Here, it's the same thing. Jason Grant, Kenneth Grant, Derek Harmon, Walter
Oh,
Noah.
you crack me up. Tyleek Williams. All right.
Dude, you don't understand. I didn't sleep last night because I had to release these shorts before the draft, or I would, would have been. It wouldn't have mattered if I didn't do that.
You know you're not Adam Schefter, right? You could get a little nap and take.
Not yet.
Hopefully one day, man. And if you do get there, take me with you. I'm coming.
That's what I said.
Oh.
McKnight said the same thing. I'm like, McKnight, if I become a scout, I'll give you all the money. I do it for free. So same goes for you. Plus, I get all my meals covered by the team. So.
How about that, right? Company dollar. Well,
Wow. 3% chance that he would be available at the 28th pick.
To be fair, guys, I don't think they were really hard picks, the top guys. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't, even if I got all these things right, I don't think it makes me look smart. I think everybody had all these guys going.
I think Mason Graham going to Cleveland, that was a little like, wow, I'm surprised that
That
happened.
is a little weird, but
That was a weird one. You know, I feel like they could have got another, I don't know, just move back a few. I like the Panthers taking Ted McMillan. I think that was a good move for them. Got to have Bryson. Got to get balls. Got. And the Saints, they didn't succumb to the Shador Sanders pressure. They went Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive line.
So
do they
now,
those green?
Say
now
what?
we're just- go ahead. I'm
Redskins?
sorry.
Do you think they go green for the Redskins?
They could. I mean, they've done some things on the D line already this year. I would be more looking to protect my asset at quarterback. So maybe, again, I've said his name like 4 times in the past
Josh.
5 minutes. But Josh Simmons again, or if there's other good offensive lineman out there, maybe that I'm missing right now.
I'd
Maybe
go
we-
receiver.
Luther Burden.
I'd go
Yeah,
receiver
they
or
all-
edge rusher. They need Terry McLaurin's good, but I think to keep that.
You see, originally I had Washington taken Emeka Ibuka. Now he got taken earlier. Who took him again? Was it?
I think edge. Ibuka went to the Tampa Bay Bucks, I think.
Yep.
Okay, right. Yes, he did. That's exactly right. He went to the
Campbell
Bucs.
to the Tommies, I hear some people saying.
Yo, watch out for Tampa Bay's offense, bro. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
that's disgusting. You're going to go Baker
Oh,
Mayfield
man.
quarterback.
Oh,
That's
my
why
God.
I tell people, whoever thinks that the Lions are just going to cakewalk it again this year, it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to be.
The
I think
teams that matter are getting better.
They are. And I think the Lions are still going to be really good, no doubt. But Minnesota, I believe, will still be a good team. Washington, Philly. Let's see.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, no doubt. The Rams. They're
The
still really good
Falcons?
teams. I'm
Nah,
not ready yet.
not
I'm
yet.
not ready yet.
All right.
Not
Because
yet.
remember, I picked the Falcons to win that division last year.
And well, I mean, they weren't that far off.
No, they were just right behind Tampa.
I didn't expect Kirk Cousins to completely play like shit.
It was kind of his fault that they didn't really.
I mean, I did tell you, I'm like, that's the biggest joke in the world.
Why even do that?
Kirk Cousins is
Just
gonna
bring
make a-
Penix in. It wasn't
Come
like
on,
that.
man.
He had weapons over there and stuff. So
Who's this, Simon?
Who
11
you
and a
talking
half
about,
sacks in
Simon?
4 years and 5 of them.
Oh, he's
came-
talking about the Ohio State, the Lions pick.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's not such a great pick then.
no,
I don't know.
Tyleek Williams is not a bad player by any means. I just think it's a mad pick. But if he's there, it's a good value.
No, he's gone now. Well, we
Yeah,
got
but there's,
four
but you
picks.
could have, if you're going defensive lineman, you could have maybe, and a lot of times what, Brad Holmes, there's a method to his madness. So maybe there's a, I don't think a Trey Hendrickson type thing coming. Maybe they trade up in the later rounds or something, maybe hoping that Ezraku or somebody like that is going to fall to them. I still think they need to address the edge position on the defensive line because, like I said, Aleem McNeil. They probably did the who the hell they just picked.
The Commanders' pick is in.
I think they go receiver here.
Eminwari? Is it Luther Burden? Is it Josh Simmons?
Dude, Luther Burden, Debo Samuel, and McLaurin, that's friggin' nasty.
Yep.
Sure would be nasty.
That's nasty. And then they also got...
And Zach Ertz.
Here they got a tight end last year, and then they
Zach
got
Ertz. Ertz hurts.
They
But
picked
who
up
do-
Laramie Tunstall,
Yeah.
Javon
Kinlaw.
Kinlaw, Will Harris.
And listen, Javon Kinlaw, say what you will, as long as his knee is okay, he's a good person to have right in the middle there.
He's a good player. He's not what we thought when the 49ers drafted him. We were hoping a little bit better with that pick, but
Well, we were putting a lot on his shoulders, and Eric Armstead was hurt that whole year, remember? So that had a lot to do with probably, and his knee wasn't like 100% yet. So.
right.
I hate to destroy the guy because I made a short about him that I would miss him, and it's still up there. People love it.
All right, the pick is in for Washington.
All right.
Commanders trying to assert themselves as one of the better teams in the NFL, being one of the Final Four last year.
With 29th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Josh Connerly Jr. Bro, yes.
Oh, wow.
I love
Okay,
it.
offensive lineman. Good move.
This is fantastic.
That was the other guy I was thinking of, Simmons and then Connerly. I like that. I like it. Very, very good. So Washington makes a good move. You got to protect your asset. You got Jaden Daniels. He's already proved to you that he's going to be your franchise quarterback. You got to block for him. And you know what? You got Josh Connerly, a guy from Oregon. I know you love Oregon. They're
Connerly, Simmons, Mambeau. Those were my top five. I'm telling you, bro, he should have gone before this, is what I'm saying.
Well,
This guy is awesome. If the more you research this guy, the more you'll see, like, what the hell? Why is he not gone before now?
It's a really good pick for the Commanders right there.
Really smart. Really smart. Give Jaden Daniels more time.
Absolutely, man. And geez, look, the amount of times that they went for it on fourth down and got it last year is ridiculous. You can't expect that shit to happen again. So they're going to have to do better on first and second down. And you know what? Maybe running the ball a little bit might actually do that. Give yourself another lineman to help out. Okay.
I love this kid, bro. You watching this kid in the front and the short? That'd be like me at that age. I'd be doing that shit right in front of the TV. Yo, that's a fucking great pick. Right now, I think that's one of my favorite picks of this entire draft, bro.
It's a great value pick for sure.
Yeah. Really is. He's not going to let anybody touch Jaden, bro.
We'll see how it works out, but so we all think it's a really good pick.
Look at this dude's face, bro. He's not fucking around.
All right, is there any doubt that Buffalo Bills don't take Eminwari?
They're going to
they have to take
They have to. They don't have a choice.
Will Johnson, they play outside in Orchard Park, don't they?
Yeah, but isn't that turf?
Yeah, they got a turf. Yeah.
They got that field turf.
It's
University
synthetic
of Michigan
turf.
stuff.
They get that weird ass shit. Yep.
Yeah, that's not going to work. And the snow, I don't think anybody wants to play there, bro.
I mean, if you're used to playing, if you're a Big Ten type player, yeah.
Well, I've been to Buffalo 2 times both for New Year's, and
Why?
It's fun there, bro. I'll tell you that much. It's
They're
fun.
not having fun in that
The only thing I know about, I know my brother used to live in Buffalo, but the Buffalo's claim to fame is that it starts snowing in August, and it doesn't stop until May.
It's
and people talk about like Michigan winters. No.
Yeah.
You talk about lake effect snow. They don't measure it in Michigan. We get 5-6 inches of snow. They measure in feet.
Yeah.
They get like feet of snow like it's nothing.
The snow there covers like delivery trucks, bro.
It's insane, man. But it'd probably be a cool play if I went there and gave it a shot. As long as I wasn't there during the wintertime.
That's when we were there both times for New Year's, and we were walking everywhere, and it was freezing. But everywhere you went, like all the bars, all the restaurants, they were really fun. Everybody was super fucking really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a good scene, man.
That's cool.
And, wings. So.
Yeah, right. Heard they make good pizza there, too. I was watching one of my Food Network
still New York,
shows, and they were...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to... I mean, I know that what's-his-name is out there, but they also need an edge. And the Bills, Mike Green could be a problem out there, bro. They need that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too, playing on turf, I think adds a lot to, a defensive end's abilities as well. It's kind of just as important to them as is like a wide receiver to get those first couple steps so you're not slipping and sliding in mud or anything like
I
that.
just compare it to a basketball court. When you got you got spit on the bottom of your shoes and you hitting on the court and you get that good old, you get that real cut. Yeah. So I could see Green go in there and being very disruptive for some quarterbacks in AFC East. Which is probably why they got. Luckily, the Jets have Membo now.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing, man. This is a really good draft. It's not overloaded with superstars, but there's a lot of it's a starter draft, not a star draft.
Yep.
If that makes any sense at all.
Yo, listen, if you want to come out, either one of you guys want to pop in tomorrow, hang out with us on McNiner's show. Jason, I don't know if you heard me. If you guys want to pop in at all tomorrow on McNiner's show, I'll send you the link and you guys can pop on. It's going to be super fun. Same for Saturday. Saturday, we're going to be on all day. So if you guys want to pop in, please do, because we actually do take breaks there. And we have people come in and you can like talk and take over the show, and we will leave and shit. So it's up to you.
Send me the link, man. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'll put the link in our thread.
What time is the show?
Well, whenever the draft is. So I think tomorrow. I think it's 4.
No, I think it's 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7 for you and 4 for us here.
Yeah, all right, 4 for you.
And then Saturday it's like 9 in the morning here. So it's 12 noon at you for you, I think.
Yeah.
So, real quick, Alex asking, by Pittsburgh not taking Shedeur Sanders, does that mean they go hard in getting Aaron Rodgers now?
I don't
think that happened already, right?
Well, Simon says they better, or they're left with Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
The return.
I mean, that's it, really.
But I also heard that they're very confident with Mason Rudolph.
I've been hearing Jalen Milroe into them a little bit too.
You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that as a Pittsburgh fan, but that's what I heard Tomlin say. That's the rumblings from Tomlin. That he's very comfy with Mason.
How pissed off do you think Dion is right now? He's like, my boy is dropping out the first fucking round.
You know what though? It's never mind. I love Dion, so I don't want to. I'm not going to slam. Plus plus the name right there, kind of, So, but it's he is probably pissing bricks right now. If that's even an expression, I don't even know. That's some. I don't know. But he's probably mad as hell right now. He's probably looking at Shedeur like, "What the hell did you say to them people in them rooms?"
Yeah, really. What's the matter with your damn interview skills, man? Jesus Christmas.
Yeah, some kids aren't like that, man.
It's so funny how a month ago, or even 3 weeks ago, Shedeur was selected to go number 2 to the Cleveland Browns, and now he falls out of the first round.
Mel Kiper had him number 1 player in this draft for 2.5 months.
Yeah, and number 1 quarterback. 2 quarterbacks went before him. Love it already.
So Maxwell Hairston went to the Bills, and Maxwell Hairston.
Pick.
That is incredible.
That's another guy that came out of. I mean, he was an early. I had him 36 for Jacksonville, but that's a guy that kind of creeped into.
Wow. See, I struck out on that one. I had Maxwell Hairston ranked 7th in cornerbacks.
Okay. See, I had him going 26 to the Rams, who traded out.
He's actually. You're actually Kenny. If we look at all the corners, he's probably the 4th corner off the board.
Yeah, so Hunter's gone, Barron is gone. No, he's the third. Because Will Johnson and Amos and Morrison, they're all still there.
That's crazy.
Not that I didn't like the guy. Don't get me wrong. I was just thinking what other teams were going to take. It's not that I didn't like him. I would love for him to be a Niner. I'll tell you that much.
So, guys, let's just ask the question: Who takes Shedeur? Where the hell does he go now?
Hey, the Browns can take him.
Yeah, I think the Browns take him tomorrow, unless the team trades in with either. No, it'd have to be Philly because Kansas City already made their pick, I think.
Yeah, and Jacksonville already has a quarterback, so they don't need him. But remember, guys, when I asked you both how I could trade up so that when I was the Jags one night for a GM, I wanted to get Shedeur and Travis Hunter.
Yeah, that's right. Hey. Oh, look at this. Actually, Philly traded up a spot with Kansas City.
They would do that.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think Josh Simmons is now going to go to the Chiefs. What do you think?
I'm
Where is
wondering why they trade up just one spot.
For Mike Green, probably.
Makes sense. Mike Green makes sense.
Yeah, but would Mike Green have made sense to? Well, actually, he probably would have, because all you got now is you got Chris Jones, you got Karlaftis, you got Nick Bolden.
Yeah, Nick Bolden.
So yeah, you could probably beef up. So Kansas City might have snuck Green in there. So
We
Philly
actually
probably,
We actually called this. We called that Green or Nolan would fall to the Eagles. I don't know if they're going to take them, but we said that one of those guys would fall there.
A good point by Simon here. 2 of the first 4 picks in the second round for the Browns, unless they trade those.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
You got to think one of them is a quarterback, right? I mean, geez.
Yeah, there has to be.
Well, the Eagles made their pick. It's in. Let's see what they do.
And remember, there was Kirk Cousins rumblings going to Cleveland as well. So
that's been my thing all this time. I think
you've already
they might package one of those
position a million times. Why not do it again?
I mean, but
Right.
the problem with Cleveland, I think the only reason I don't see that move happening is that you're already eating all this Deshaun Watson money, and now you got to come in. You're probably going to end up having to pay 80-90%, or maybe or maybe all of what Kirk Cousins has left with Atlanta. So are you really, you're $200 million in quarterbacks again, just when you're starting to get towards the end of the Deshaun Watson debacle. So that's the only reason I see Kirk Cousins maybe not going to Cleveland, just because the money's not working.
Oh, that's the thing. That's why Atlanta's not ready to trade him right yet, because they owe him a shit ton of money, and they know that another team is not going to take all that money on. So
and
they're
if
kind of stuck.
Ouch.
Yeah, they're stuck right now.
Yeah, they're paying him a ton of money to just sit there. That's the best situation you could be in as a quarterback.
Kirk Cousins has done it right. If anybody has made money in the NFL, nobody's done it like him. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I tell people, I put it out there as much as and I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan, but the way that he has manipulated himself into about almost $300 million in his entire career, plus what Atlanta still owes him. Hats off to Kirk Cousins.
For at best a mediocre quarterback.
Yeah.
At best a mediocre quarterback.
Simon says Dave's always saying that. I always preach the Kirk Cousins thing. It's amazing how he works the system, man.
Unreal.
You know what, guys? I didn't, get everything right, and this is my first year doing this, but I'm really proud of myself because I said John Campbell would fall. I said Will Johnson would fall. I said Sanders wouldn't go in the first round, and I said Mike Green would have a long ass night, and that's pretty good.
Well, you got an A in my book, kiddo.
That green room is there's probably pretty tense back there, because now because I was going to ask at the top of the show, do they keep going back and forth to Shedeur Sanders like they did when Brady Quinn and Aaron Rodgers kept falling in the draft? It's like they keep going back to him like, okay, he's still here. He's still here. He's still here.
They show Shedeur quite a few times, but I think Deion's getting pissed off now. Be like, all right, get the damn cameras out of here. This shit's not working out.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Milroe because he also was there tonight, wasn't he?
Well, they decided to invite him to the draft because they thought that there was a possibility he would get picked.
I heard Shedeur wasn't there tonight.
No, he's not. He's not at the draft.
Okay, these guys know, bro. I think they all know this shit already, bro.
I think a lot of them have a really, really good idea of what's going on. But then again, we've interviewed some guys who have said that, when they were drafted, some of the teams that some of the players that we've talked to, they didn't even necessarily talk to that team who drafted them. It's weird.
Right.
But then again, you get like Richmond Webb, who we've interviewed, and he knew he was going to Miami. He's like, oh, I knew I was going to Miami. This was a done deal. And he got drafted 9th overall. So, yeah, these guys know something. They know something, man. How they know, I don't know, but it's amazing. They know. It's like they know the whole draft order before it even comes out. As we wait for the Eagles pick, and then we'll see if Kansas City keeps theirs or if they trade again. They'll probably trade again.
I think I'm going to pick up a copy or online of the all right, Simon, thanks for chiming in, man. I'll see you at work tomorrow.
We appreciate you, bud.
I think I'm going to pick a copy of the New York Daily News tomorrow just to see what the hell the fans in New York think about about the Jackson Dart thing. That's insane.
New York radio will be buzzing tomorrow, bro.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it will.
Wow. No doubt about it. Jeez. Yeah, the Jets went safe with the safe pick, so they're not going to really talk about that much. But the Giants, what they gave up when they probably did not have to.
Yep.
Damn, man. Wow. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what kind of word they got and who they got it from.
And I don't see, like I say, the teams behind them. I don't see anybody else that would have.
No.
Cleveland wasn't going to probably trade up to get Jackson Dart. Like
No.
you say, they'll probably take Shador first pick tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex, we're all in lockstep on that, man.
Yeah,
The Giants
we agree,
gave up
Alex.
way too much for Jackson Darts. But it's desperate times call for desperate measures, man. And the Giants have been in the toilet for so long. They're reaching right now, but I still think that you gave up too many assets that you could have used later on in the draft to beef up your team. Considering the fact that you already had Russ and Jameis, I think that may have been able to bridge you until next year or whatever, the year after, because the next year's quarterback draft's pretty good. You'll probably end up winning just like you did this year. You won one too many games or you would have had the number 1 pick overall. You'll probably do that again next year to where now you won't even be able to get Arch Manning. Now you probably don't take him now because you got Jackson Dart.
Trade another first rounder in 2027. Sorry.
So I don't know, but I was just telling Jason Kenny, I'm going to get a copy of the New York News tomorrow and just see. I'm interested to see how they react to. Yeah, I'm interested. Yeah. The Lions fans are probably not going to be too happy with this Tyleik Williams pick.
My Rams guy shut it down, bro. He was like, "Screw this, I'm shutting down." He's like, "We're not watching this bullshit."
He's not getting any picks, so that's it for him.
That sucks, huh? All right, the pick is in with the 31st pick in the NFL draft. The Eagles select Jahad Campbell. Wow.
There he goes.
Yep.
Wow, another linebacker over there to join Nolan and Nakobe Dean. That's interesting.
Let's see.
Another linebacker.
Okay, first 2 linebackers off the board are Kenny's top 2 linebackers. Let's go.
He's so funny.
I'll give you credit, you mother scratcher.
Look,
he's a very fast typer.
My mom had one,
all right.
So I need a lot of like pats on the head now. My mom's not here anymore, so she was the only one who ever cared.
I just don't know why we haven't seen this before the picks came out. I don't know why we see him after the picks come out.
It's kind of like those Nostradamus predictions where they come out after the 9/11. Oh, okay, yeah, he predicted that in 1817 or 1500 or whatever the hell he was.
You just got to look at the shorts. They came out at 6 a.m. this morning, baby.
Oh, jeez.
This just in, the New York Giants eliminated for the 2025 season. I agree with you 150%, my brother. We'll have to keep in touch just so we can commiserate.
Jalen Milroe and Shador Sanders will not be first-round picks. The Chiefs are keeping their pick, and they are going to go with
likely Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons. That's what I'm thinking.
They got it. They have to. That's how they lost last year. They have to do it.
Or would they go ahead and get a Will Johnson?
I mean, why?
Look how far Will Johnson has fallen. Nick Emenwari fallen.
Yeah, that's.
I can't believe Starks went before
Emenwari.
I'm having a hard time registering that one. If I built a safety in a lab, it would probably be Nick Emenwari.
That's exactly right.
But different strokes for different and Georgia's got that reputation, so it's not too surprising. But I'm still a little that he didn't. When you look at the picks, he didn't even get a sniff. If you were to just kind of look at everything generally speaking, it's like, nope, he'll be there. But like you say, they know more than us, so somebody probably figured he'd be there tomorrow.
No kidding, man. Unbelievable.
Hey guys, to be fair, we didn't go into the players like that. We just didn't do that this year. We didn't come on before the draft and talk about our top 10 linebacker or our top 10. So
that's true.
We didn't have
draft.
Yeah.
I started doing research, really heavy research
hard.
in the last couple of weeks or so. Is when I really started. You watch the guys during the season and you do your little mock drafts and stuff like that. We did ours, we did the guests, but then it really wasn't until the last maybe 3 weeks when I really just kind of started putting the pedal to the metal and kind of ranking guys out and grading guys out or whatever, because I really
weren't
the
hard
first
pick.
year I've really
I didn't go with them here. These guys were going there anyway. You know what I mean? They were top guys.
Oh, it is so hard to get the stuff right. It's so again, we usually have a pretty good idea of around the first 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 picks. If there are a lot of quarterbacks usually, but then after that, forget about it. It's a free for all.
Yeah, it went. We were like, I'm pretty sure we all had the right picks for like 5-6 picks, and then it went off like on another like
just-
level of like
That's
just
what
crazy.
happens. Shoop, right out of there. Amazing. Oh boy. Oh, who's going crazy over there in the
What the hell is
tunnel?
this? His brother or something? Or... oh, that's the Eagles.
The Eagles pick. I thought he came out already.
That was next to them, right?
Unless they're showing a replay or something like that.
No, Jahad Campbell. I never saw him come out and celebrate. I
I
guess
could have swore I saw him come out. I'm so confused right now. Okay.
the fact that the Eagles get Jahad Campbell,
Oh, they did. That was a replay.
it's so insane.
The Eagles get Jahad. Oh my God, the rich get richer, man. Holy shit.
Wild, man.
All right. Well, the Chiefs.
Well, it only cost them a fifth to move up
That's it.
that one spot.
That's
Yeah,
it.
they also picked up a first rounder. I'm sorry, the Rams picked up a first rounder tonight, which is really irritating to me.
Freaking Rams. Jeez, they're not
They
going to
don't
go away.
To help,
They might draft a quarterback like a little bit later on. You know,
I thought they were dark for a minute.
it's possible. I'm thinking maybe Tyler Shuck for them at this point. I don't know, but
Shit, he's the same age as Stafford, so let's go.
yeah, right.
Tyler Shaw.
That's great.
That's who
What
does
is Adam
Funkins?
Spector reporting now? Why don't you report the pick, the last pick of the first round? Yes, my boy. I'm going to take you out for a walk.
Yeah, he's probably got to go pee-pee.
Oh, yeah, he's got to go for sure. He's being a good boy. He's been laying down. He's been a good boy. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Yeah, he didn't make a sound.
Nope. You've been chilling.
If I'd have had my dog, she'd be all over me in the camera,
Yeah,
looking me in
your
the face.
shoulder and like bark.
Well, I definitely wore him out. I played with him for like an hour, and then I walked him for like a half hour. I'm like, all right, let me get you good and tired. So by the time the show starts, I can do my thing, and you can just chill right here. Relax.
I was gonna dress in Niner gear, guys, but I knew the pick was gonna be straight trash. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I still had to bust mine out. I've had this shirt for probably 30 years, man.
got a brand new Run CMC shirt, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna be.
Hey,
shirt.
don't forget, Jay, we still got to do that Lions shirt
Simmons, guys, Josh
that
Simmons.
you and I talked about, that Rhythm and Bruise.
Yes, I know.
We got to do that, man. Josh Simmons, Ohio State. There you
That
go.
was an easy one.
Yeah.
Look, that's not right that the Eagles and that the Chiefs are getting these quality picks like that. That's messed
amazing.
up.
That's
Just
amazing.
the rich get richer, man.
Yeah.
And
Yep,
that's how
another
it goes.
Ohio State player drafted.
This is
Cleveland
why
has
smart teams
stars on the
stay
clock.
smart and stay relevant.
Yep.
That's
Howie
what smart
Roseman is it safe to say he's probably the best executive in football right now?
teams-
Or not.
probably.
It used
Yeah.
to be other people too, and then that faded. You know how it is.
It's in cycles, but these last 5 years or whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, they lose both coordinators. They still make have an off year and then go right back to the Super Bowl.
Right.
They've
well,
had more success.
Would you say it's because they didn't really have much competition in the NFC though?
Because
If
the Lions are
Detroit-
Johnny come lately.
Yeah. If Detroit hadn't been hurt with 24 players, they probably would have been a little more of a factor, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, it went like 16-1 anyway. But I'm saying like
that's crazy, man.
So now, tomorrow you got the Browns waiting, and I think they're the first pick, and you got Mike Green to put on there with Garrett and Mason Graham, or they can take Shador Sanders, or they can take Will Johnson. It's wild, bro.
Yeah.
It's like the first round all over again. You got just as many
Incredible.
quality players
They're really
in the second round as you did in the first round. It's
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
man.
exciting.
It
No,
is.
it will.
This is a good draft. This is a
Yeah.
good draft.
It's a good draft. Again, not like the most star-studded draft, but like you
No.
said, starters.
Yep.
People that are going to play. These guys are going to really good, man. I cannot believe that we did this for almost 4 hours.
That's
unbelievable.
the most insane thing. That's the stat of the night, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
3 hours and 42 minutes and counting.
Thanks
Check
to-
the clock.
Yeah, I got the link, David. I'm gonna pop over for a little.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, definitely. Kenny, definitely send that to me, man. This has been a ball. I'm glad we did it, man. This is the first time I've gone all night doing the draft with anybody, so I got you guys to thank for this shit. That was fun. Appreciate all you guys, Alex, McNiner, everybody for chiming in. Really, really appreciate it. Your boy Simon, great stuff, man.
Yeah,
Awesome job. Appreciate you guys sticking with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, New York,
really.
nowhere to be found in the second round. Yep, Alex, we will. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I don't even know what
Yeah.
to say at this point.
Still going to be a little while.
It
and
is.
Take away all that
It
for a
is.
guy who's not even going to play right away. Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about it more next week, man. But we got more draft to go over. Kenny, I think I might pop on for a bit tomorrow, so that should be fun, bro.
Awesome, man.
I appreciate
Yeah, I'll
it.
throw the link in this thread that we all have on the text, and then if that
Yeah,
doesn't
do that.
work,
And if I got a few,
can email
I'll
it to you,
pop
too.
in.
Oh, that'd be great. All right, good stuff. All right, boys. All right, well, Power 32 podcast did the whole damn draft live, man. Had a great freaking time. Unbelievable stuff. You never know how it's going to go, but it went, and there it is. And now it is time for me and Mr. Primetime to get to our respective beds in our respective states because we have to wake up in respectively 2 hours. So,
All right. Thanks everybody for chiming in. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow, chime in, get notifications, Twitter. Soon we'll be on Facebook Live. We'll be on Twitch. We're going to be everywhere, but you know you can see us every night, every Thursday night live right here on YouTube. Power 32 Podcast. Kenny, Jason, peace out, brothers.
beautiful
Peace,
thing.
guys.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. Love you all. See you next time.